On day 1, I spawned as a baby Zoglin. Oh, I'm pretty adorable. But I only had 3 hearts. I was small, but I had a super strong sense of smell. I could smell everything I was seeing. Whoa! Great rivers of fire. I'm in the nether. Cool. Oh, look, there's a group of Zoglins. That must be my family. I went over to them. They were nice and shared their crimson fungi with me. Life couldn't have been better. That is until a hungry illager came looking for some bacon.
Run for cover, little Zozo. We'll take care of this. You're too small for battle.
But I want to stay and fight.
Leave it to the real warriors, you shroom sniffer.
Bebop, knock it off. He just likes to pick on other Zoglins. He's a bit of a bully. You will join us one day, but not today. You must grow bigger first. Now hurry, before they turn you into lunch.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran as fast as my little hooves could go when suddenly I was covered in purple smoke. I had no clue what was happening. Suddenly, I was dropped near a river in a green field with blue skies. This didn't look anything like my home. Where am I? I looked around and saw a squirrel with sunglasses on.
Bro, you just dropped out of the sky. For real, for real.
I don't know where I am. This isn't the nether.
No, little dude, this is the overworld. You must have gone through a portal or something. All I know, bro, is it got all purpley and then poof, there you were, dude.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the squirrel was saying, and I didn't know how I got into the overworld.
Whoa, bro, something's up.
I started to see red, blinking red. I felt weird. Something was happening to me. I was changing.
You're going zombie, my dude.
Zombie? The blinking red stopped, and I could tell my whole body looked different. You could see my bones, and my mane had gone flat. Oh no, I'm a Zoglin now. What will my family think? How will they want me back now? I guess it's kind of cool to be a zombie.
100%, my dude. It's the gnarly bones for me.
Well, any ideas what I should do now?
My guess is to find a portal to take yourself home. I bet you could find one in the forest. Just be careful out there, little guy. Here, take this.
He handed me a potion of strength.
Only use it when you're really in a jam. Good luck, bro. I gotta go gather my nuts I dropped when you popped out of the sky.
Thank you, Mr.
Call me Squeaks.
Thanks, Squeaks. It was nice to meet a cool squirrel like you. He hopped away and I started towards the forest, passing by a river. My thoughts were suddenly interrupted by a shark that popped out of the river behind me. Luckily, I jumped out of the way just in time. Someone was feeling bitey today. I then continued making my way into the forest. On day 2, I wandered through the forest to find a portal. I wasn't sure where to go next, but that's when I remembered my nose never failed me. Even though I was a zombie, my nose was just as powerful. I took a whiff around. That's an interesting smell. I followed my nose to a llama eating some berries. I decided to ask her if she had seen the portal, but she just ignored me. Hey, I'm talking to you. The llama turned and spit right in my snout. Okay, you're asking for some drama, llama. I wasn't going to let her get away with spitting in my face. I ran at her full speed and attacked. Unfortunately, I was too weak to do any damage. I didn't even have a weapon.
Oh, how sad. Why don't you cry? Wee, all the way home, little Zoglin. You're much too small to be on your own.
Really cool picking on someone smaller than you. Listen, I'd love to go home, but my home is in the nether, and I can't get home without a portal.
Oh, the nether. I heard they have great crimson fungi there.
Yeah, they do. I pulled out a crimson fungi and flashed it at her.
Okay, kid, fine. I'll tell you where a portal is if you let me have that.
How do I know you aren't lying?
You'll just have to trust me.
You spit in my face, and you want me to trust you? Tell you what, I'll give you one now and one later if you take me to the portal. She thought it over and finally agreed to the deal.
The last portal I saw was up ahead at a waterfall.
I threw her a mushroom and she chomped down on it.
A little spicy with some smoky flavor. I like it. All right, come on, follow me.
On day 3, we came to a clearing, and up ahead was a glistening waterfall against a big cliff.
There it is. The portal is up ahead. This is where we part. Time to hand over the other half of that mushroom.
I handed her the rest of my mushroom, and she gulped it down.
You know, kid, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad yourself, llama. Thank you for showing me the way.
Well, let's not get all mushy. Good luck, and try not to get in any more trouble.
The llama trotted off into the forest, and I headed towards the waterfall. It was so beautiful that I forgot to pay attention to my surroundings. Out popped a snake from the long grass. Mind if I slither on by? I guess the snake did mind. The snake was trying to strike me, but I was determined to get to the portal. I didn't have a weapon, but I had my tusks, and I was bigger than the snake. I hit him good and hard, knocking him out. Your history, snake. As he disappeared, I saw he left behind eggs. Oh, nice. I better hold on to these. The portal was just up ahead. I could see it now. Unfortunately, I could also see a pack of wolves. Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get back home through that portal. I can pay you in eggs?
The Horned Enderman has commanded all Zoglins to be taken to him. You're coming with us.
Just then, a bunch of skulls came shooting at the pack of wolves. The wolves backed up, but stayed close, guarding the portal.
Come with me if you wish to live.
This dude was a little creepy looking. I'm sorry, who and what are you?
I'm a wither. My name is Smithers. Now come on, those wolves are going to try and take you to the Horned Enderman. We have to get you out of here.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I don't want to be eaten by wolves. So yeah, let's go. On days 4 to 5, I followed Smithers into the shadows of the jungle.
You need to make some weapons, little Zoglin. Now's a good time. After that, I have a quest for you. I need you to find the Mushroom Field Islands. Only a special hoglin can find them.
But I'm trying to get home. I need to get to the portal.
If you find these islands, I will help get you home. For now, all the portals are being guarded. I think you are the Zoglin the Horned Enderman is searching for.
Me? You got the wrong Zog. I'm just your average ham.
Yeah, you might not be special, but we shall see.
How will I know the way to the Mushroom Island?
Follow your nose. If you really are the chosen one, you will have extra strong smelling powers.
With that, Smithers flew away. It left me with a million questions. And what was that about smelling powers? I always had a good nose, but no, I couldn't be the one they were looking for. One thing was for sure, I needed to be able to defend myself. I started mining wood, stone, and coal. Then I made myself a crafting table. After that, I made a bow, an axe, a sword, and a pickaxe. Take a look at me now. All will tremble before me. Just as I was really getting into being dramatic, I caught the scent of something nearby. I wasn't alone. I looked up and noticed eyes staring back at me. An ocelot jumped down from the tree. He crouched, getting ready to pounce. Easy, little kitty. You wouldn't want to eat me. I'm rotten and don't taste good. But the truth was, I was scared. Those claws were no joke. How would I ever be able to win this fight? Oh wait, the potion! I quickly pulled out my potion of strength that Squeak gave me and drank it. I grew a little bigger and got extra hearts. It's a good thing I met that weird squirrel. The ocelot pounced as I tried to get out of the way. We kept swinging at each other until I was able to push him out of the way. Luckily, I noticed that there were some arrows nearby. I guess an explorer left them here. I hurried and got on my bow and then started firing. It didn't take too many hits and I was able to take him out. So much for cats having 9 lives. Just then, my nose picked up a different scent on the tree. Cocoa pods. Oh, these will be great for making a color or a snack for later. It was then that I could hear a crunching sound coming from somewhere in the jungle. I decided to follow the sound. I rounded some trees and saw a thicket of bamboo. It wouldn't be a bad idea to collect some of that. The crunching continued and I soon saw a panda relaxing on the ground, enjoying some bamboo. I hope he wouldn't mind if I took some for myself. Hey there, I'm Zozo. Could I take some of that bamboo? The panda looked up at me and shrugged, then went back to munching. Sweet, that was easy. It was definitely a relief to come across an adorable animal that didn't want to attack me. I mined a good portion of the bamboo, but made sure to leave some for the panda. I was very excited about my new supplies. Goodbye, Mr. Panda. Thanks for the bamboo. On days 6 to 8, I decided I liked the jungle so much that I'd take a couple days to go jungle glamping. After all, who knew if that wither was even trustworthy? The mushroom fields could wait. I sniffed around for a good spot and went to sleep in a cavern. Later, I woke up and decided to explore some more. Hey, check it out, a wild patch of pumpkins. I'm pumped. This would be a cool spot to build my glamping base with my bamboo. I'm thinking a yurt would be cool. I even found some melon seeds while cutting down plants. I trotted happily to the patch and began to make my jungle yurt. This would be a great little place to sleep and hide from mobs. Once I had the outside done, I put some finishing touches inside, including some jungle plants. Then I put a little fence around the pumpkin farm, melon farm, and my yurt. I also built a small melon and pumpkin farm outside. Yurt, sweet yurt. Ouch! Something had just hit me. A monkey was in a tree. He was throwing stuff at me. Hey, knock it off!
As you wish. I'll knock all the blocks off your little house thingy.
It's a yurt, you uncultured baboon. Now stop! The monkey didn't stop. He just wanted to be naughty and aggravate me. Alright, enough monkey business. I grabbed my bow and fired a warning shot. The monkey screeched and swung off the tree. Hopefully he had learned his lesson. With the monkey gone, I could focus on some much needed dinner. Pumpkin chocolate bean cookies sounded good. I'd better hurry. It was getting late and mobs would be showing up. I crafted the cookies and went outside to enjoy the mood. Hey, this is pretty peaceful. It's just me, the trees, these pumpkins, and that horned enderman over there. A horned enderman! A very tall horned enderman was staring at me from outside the fence.
Well, hello, little Zoglin, without a care. I am the Horned Enderman. No need to fear.
You're that evil enderman trying to capture all the Zoglins, and you probably are the one who teleported me here.
I searched for the perfect Zoglin, but as for this teleportation, that is the wrong accusation.
You're very poetic for an evil jerk.
And you are very cheeky for a Zog who is not very beefy. You are coming with me. Do not try and flee.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. There's nothing that won't make me win. Oh, look at that. He even got me rhyming. I whipped out my bow and shot at him, but he teleported and suddenly was right next to me. I pulled out my sword and tried to attack him with that, but it was no use. The enderman punched me so hard that I was stunned. There was no way I could do anything to fight this guy. Just as I lost all hope, the enderman was hit with a big rock in the head. Something kept hitting the enderman with all sorts of objects. Eventually he got fed up and teleported away. There was that crazy monkey sitting on the roof of my yurt. Whoa, you saved me. You chased the enderman away by being annoying. Most impressive. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Would you like some pumpkin cookies? The monkey liked that idea and threw a banana banana at my head playfully.
Aren't you glad I didn't throw a rock?
What a silly monkey. I'm glad he decided to come back after all. Soon the monkey left, and I went to sleep. On days 9 to 10, I thought I'd sniff around to see if the mushroom field was anywhere nearby. I set off around the jungle. I didn't smell mushroom fields, but I did smell a village nearby. I figured I could sniff it out. Maybe there would be some shops. I exited the jungle and kept sniffing and walking until I finally found a village. I walked into the village, and all the villagers were looking at me. They didn't seem too excited about me being there. I walked into a shop, and the shopkeeper didn't want to sell me anything. He said Zoglins were dangerous to have around because it might bring the horned Enderman's cronies around. Man, this Enderman is ruining everything for me. I was about to leave the village when a chicken went flapping past me. The villagers were upset. They chased the chicken around, but it got away and ran out of the village.
She is gone. The heavenly hen has left us. We will be cursed.
Hey, maybe I can help.
You? What are you going to do besides bring the horned Enderman around these parts?
I've got a very sharp-smelling nose. I can follow her scent and track her down.
Very well. Find the heavenly hen.
Okay, but if I do, I get to pick some things out of your shops for free, okay?
Fine. Whatever you want. Please hurry. And whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes and don't threaten her, or you will regret it.
Okay, that's strange, but fine, I won't. I had seen some really cool armor in the shop, but I probably couldn't afford it, so this was a good deal for me. I headed back towards the jungle to find the chicken. On days 11 to 13, I trotted toward the jungle mountains. I climbed up a hill covered in foliage. It was kind of hard to see, so I started chopping down some of the jungle leaves. Whoa! Oof! The leaves were so thick, I didn't see the quarry below my feet. Oh no, I disturbed a nest of scorpions. Yuck, these guys were nasty. I'm in a real pinch. I tried to tell them that I meant no harm, but they were not going to leave me alone. I did not want to get stung. I swung my sword to get them to back off. Yikes, that was a close one. I jumped above them and pulled my bow out, hitting a few of them. I wanted to just get out of there, but the problem was, I smelled the chicken down there. Maybe she got eaten, but it was just then that I saw a mine shaft below. Maybe the chicken had hidden inside there. I'd have to take these guys out. One by one, I finished them off, except for one. It was gold, and turned out to not be a scorpion at all. It was a scorpion-sized gold statue. I decided to enter the mine shaft and check the statue out. On day 14 to 16, I was inside the mine shaft and had a smell around. It didn't just smell like chicken, there was something else too. Oh, jackpot, so many resources, but most importantly, iron. Something was a little creepy about this place. Okay, Zozo, ignore the creepy feeling and just keep mining, just keep mining. After that amazing song, I created a crafting table and furnaces to smelt the iron I just collected. I had enough iron that I could craft myself some iron armor and tools really quick. Something told me I was going to need it. I continued deeper into the cave to find the chicken. Hold up, what's that? I pulled my axe out. It was a spider. But wait, it was another gold statue. What is going on here? I just need to find this chicken and get the creep out of here. Soon enough, from the shadows, crawled a mob of spiders. I knew my spidey senses were tingling. They weren't deterred. They just kept coming. One of the spiders hit me good. It was a big hit. I swung around like crazy and finished off all of the spiders. He left behind a bunch of webs, a crafting table, an iron sword, and some arrows and a slime ball. I guess some explorers must have left in a hurry. I collected them all and made a lead out of some of them. I kept walking down into the cave and eventually saw some lava. Across from the lava was that crazy chicken. You are lucky you aren't fried chicken by now. The chicken stared at me with angry eyes. My body felt weird. I suddenly remembered what the villager said about not staring at the chicken in its eyes. I tried not to look directly at it and started making a bridge across the lava over to the chicken. Listen, Miss Hen, I'm just trying to help you. I've got some cookies for you. I'll give you some if you follow me out of here. She didn't say anything because she was a chicken, but I assumed she was okay with this. She ate them and then followed me across my bridge. Well, that worked out. Come on, let's get you home. Everyone is worried about you. On days 17 to 19, we had made it out of the cave and were on our way back through the jungle when the ground under my feet felt funny. It was so soft and squishy. Then I realized I was sinking. It was blue quicksand. Help! The chicken just stared at me blankly. She was no help.
Quack, what's wrong?
It was a group of parrots. I'm sinking.
Quack, what are you thinking about?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, might have been about to die, but that was pretty punny. Nice one.
Thanks, we have been working on the stand-up routine.
Neat. Well, I'm thinking about how I need help getting out of here.
We have the sinking feeling you are in some real trouble, but what can be done?
Do you think you could pull me out of this quicksand with my lead? The quicksand had almost swallowed me up by this point.
Sure thing, hand us the lead.
They were able to pull me out just in time. Phew, that was a close one. Thank you for saving my life.
Quack, no problem.
I was just escorting this chicken home.
Quack, quack, what chicken?
I looked around and the hen was gone again. Oh no! I told the parrots thank you, but had to run off to find her. I followed my nose. She was close, but so was an ocelot. Look out, chicken! The chicken stared at the ocelot with angry eyes. I took out my sword, but before I could do anything, the ocelot turned to solid gold. Did you do that, Miss Hen? I can see why you're so special now. She pecked at the ground. Come on, let's get you back home. On days 20 to 22, a fox was watching us run back to the village and tried to cut us off. Sorry, Fox. Shucks. Trust me, you don't want this chicken for dinner. I ran at him and punted him into the sky. I knew I was doing him a favor, better than dealing with Gold Winger over here. We made it back to the village, and the villagers were super stoked. I was super stoked about picking out some items from the shop.
Our sacred hen has returned. What is your name, Sir Zoglin?
Zozo.
3 cheers for Sir Zozo.
Shucks, I just followed my nose. At the shop, I picked out diamond armor and some TNT. Mission accomplished. With my swanky new treasures in hand, I was ready to go back to my yurt. On the outside of the village, I was stopped by an iron golem who offered me a puppy. He told me his name was Geo. He was a super nice guy. I told him I had to get back to my yurt before it got much later. As I came out to my yurt, it had already gotten dark. Oh, just fantastic. My yurt is swarming with creepers and red-eyed spiders. It's a jungle out here. Time to test out this armor and explosives. The mob saw me and started coming for me, so I ran into the trees. I set the TNT on the ground and then punched it, running for my life. As the mobs came by, the TNT exploded. It didn't kill them all, but it took out a lot. I handled the rest of them with my weapons. With the mobs gone, I trotted back to my yurt. I checked on my melons. They were growing well. I'd harvest them tomorrow and then set out to find that mushroom island, or field, whatever you want to call it. On day 23 to 26, I woke up and went outside. To my surprise, Geo was standing around my garden. Hey there, Geo. How did you find me?
Geo here, big boo. Geo come to save Zozo.
That's super nice of you. I tested out some TNT on some mobs. Sorry to worry you. I explained to Geo that I had to go on a mission to find a mushroom island. Geo insisted on accompanying me. He said he could help protect me from the horned enderman. I agreed, then harvested my melons and pumpkins. I took a bite of the melons, and it helped me to grow some more. Ooh, check out these tusks. Then I went inside to get some more materials. After that, we were ready to set off. My nose led us out of the jungle and across some icy plains and glaciers. There were a lot of polar bears. I was relieved Geo decided to join me, because there's no way I'd be able to fend them off by myself. When some of them wanted to give us trouble, we gave them trouble right back. Geo was able to fling them up like pancakes. Hey Geo, wanna build a snowman? I decided I might as well mine some snow while I was there. It might come in handy. I threw together some snow and a pumpkin head to make a snow golem. Geo clapped excitedly.
Snow friend, snow friend.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Ice Golem. My name is Zozo. This is Geo. What's your name?
Burr.
Burr, huh? That checks out.
Play with Burr.
Sure, we can take some time to play. Hey, I know. What if we build a snow fort out of snow?
Play.
Burr, play.
I made a little snow fort and we had a snowball fight. It was very fun, but Geo was a little too strong and hit Burr too hard, and he poofed into a giant pile of snowballs. Don't worry, Geo. Snowmen don't last forever anyways. We collected his snowballs and added them to our supply. At least he could always be with us now, in a weird sort of way. On days 27 to 31, we wandered to the seaside. The smell of Mushroom Island was super strong. I was led to the seashore. We looked out and saw an island with funny red trees. I think that's it, Geo. Now to get over there. I crafted a boat, but it wasn't big enough for Geo to come with me, so Geo agreed to hang out on shore until I came back. As I sailed closer, I realized the red trees were actually giant mushrooms. I started to drool. Someone was on the island already. It was Smithers.
You found me. You truly are the chosen one. Only a Zoglin with the strongest sniffer can find this secret place.
Why does the Enderman want me?
I will explain everything, but let's show you around first.
I ran around the island exploring its resources. This ground was so spongy and bouncy. Oh, look, cows. Wait, those are mushrooms. That gave me an idea. A huge statue would be pretty cool in this field. I gathered up some supplies and started working on the first part of the statue. The cocoa beans would also be perfect for some brown dye. I'd want some red though too. I'd need to get some red flowers on the mainland. Smithers showed me the base he had made. It was a nice little cube. You know, Smithers, this is awesome, but are you okay with me doing some renovations? Just so it's big enough for all of us, including some of my friends I've met along the way.
I mean, this is already a pretty elaborate cube, but okay, I'm cool with it.
Great, I'll start tomorrow. On day 32 to 35, I decided to make the base look like a giant red mushroom with spots. I wonder what gave me that idea. First, I'd need to make the stem. It would be a staircase, and then I could make the top a big mushroom-shaped room with a loft above that for bedrooms. We'd have a nice view of the island while we hung out in the base, and we could keep an eye out for danger too. I wandered around the main area inside. There's so mushroom in here. Get it? Mushroom? Mushroom?
You should stick to sniffing and leave jokes to someone else.
I can't please everyone. Outside, I created an awning for Geo to stand under and keep watch. Our base was ready for action. On day 36 to 39, I went back to shore to get Geo. Once on land, he and I mined some flowers and some other things for the base and statue. I smelled something familiar. Hey, I smell another Zoglin. I wanted to follow the scent, so we went looking. I had to see if they were okay. I followed my nose to a pillager base. A fire was roasting, and there sat a Zoglin chained up to a log. The pillager was humming and wandering around the yard. We walked up to the hut. Excuse me, but what are you planning to do with that Zoglin? The pillager nearly jumped out of his skin. He hadn't seen us sneaking up on him.
Geo, kill pillager.
Have at it, Geo.
Geo, smash.
That pillager didn't stand a chance against Geo. Wow, nice going, Geo. And look, there's an emerald on the ground now. I picked it up and put it in my supplies, then walked over to the Zoglin. Hey, my name is Zozo. I could smell you from miles away. I'm here to rescue you.
Thank you. My name is Hogatha, the Horned Enderman Enderman sold me his dinner because I wasn't the Zoglin he was looking for.
That's rough. I told Hagatha how to find my base and invited her to meet us up there. She liked that idea. There were voices in the distance. A mob of pillagers came into view. We better get out of here. We don't need that kind of trouble.
Yep, time to run. I'll find you later. Good luck.
On days 40 to 43, I was back at the base, and Geo and Hagatha had joined us. Hagatha added some grass around the base. It was looking pretty gnarly. I went over to the statue and kept adding to it. Things were coming together for this epic statue, but it wasn't done yet. Do you know what it's going to be? I'll have to keep working on it later. Smithers called me into the base meeting room to finally tell me all about what's been going on with this horned Enderman dude.
It all began with greed.
I could tell a flashback was coming because the music got all dramatic.
Flashback.
Called it.
The Horned Enderman had been taking over the overworld, enslaving and destroying. He seeks to control this world, and the Nether too. Everyone is afraid of him. He summoned the Witches of Fate. He asked them to reveal the location of a weapon called the Black Trident. It was powerful enough to raise up an army of the undead. They didn't tell him the location. We only know it's somewhere in the ocean. They did give him a prophecy of a Zoglin with a powerful enough nose to sniff out the location of this weapon. But they also said that this Zoglin could be his undoing. I believe that Zoglin is you. I know this because I was there. I was part of the Horned Enderman's close advisors. But I couldn't stand by any longer and see him destroying so many lives. I deserted him and went in search for you myself. We can't let him find that Dark Trident.
I would never lead him to it. If you can get me home, you won't be able to use me.
Fate has brought you here, my boy. You must give in to your destiny. And your destiny is to rise up against the Horned Enderman.
I've run into him before. I couldn't defeat him. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to find a cure for my zombie form and go home.
You will find a way.
This was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how I felt about it all. Of course I wanted to help, but how? Thanks for telling me all about it. I need to do some thinking outside. I went on a walk around the mushroom field at night to think about everything. The mushrooms were grazing in the field with their babies. Hagatha came and joined me.
You okay?
Not really.
Want to talk about it?
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight Endermen at all, let alone an ultimate Enderman bad guy.
I know that Endermen don't like water. Maybe that can help.
That is something. I was hoping I could just cure myself and get home. Do you have a family, Hagatha?
No, the Horned Enderman took them all. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I guess he really does need to be stopped. We sat and looked at the ocean. It was so peaceful to watch the waves and smell the mushroom aroma. Hey, do you see that light out there? I could make out a small roof on the mainland. There was purple smoke coming from the chimney, just like I had seen when I teleported here. Maybe it was where the witches lived. Maybe they could help me. I decided to go investigate in the morning. On day 44 to 49, I got into my boat and set sail across to the hut. It didn't take too long to find it in the daylight. The purple smoke smelled just like when I teleported. This had to be the witch's cottage. I made my way up the stairs. I knocked and there was some scuffling around inside, and then the door opened and a wand was shoved into my face.
Who are you and what do you want?
I'm looking for the Witches of Fate. Is this their cottage?
Of course it's not. This is my cottage.
Who are you?
I am Flimflam, the mediocre wizard. So don't try any funny business or I'll turn you into a mediocre newt.
Did you by chance cast a spell recently that could teleport someone from the Nether to the overworld?
How did you know that? Bless my soul, my spell did work. You're the Zoglin I summoned and then promptly lost.
I think you better explain some things to me. The mediocre wizard let me into his hut. He had all sorts of magical looking items. He then suddenly shot his wand at the wall. I turned around and saw a call to action. An action to subscribe, that is. Which you should do. And also search for more of my videos. Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. Anyway, Mr. Mediocre, you were explaining something?
So you see, I knew I needed to get to you before the Horned Enderman did. I admit that although I've been practicing magic for a long time, well, I mess up a lot. So I found this spell to get you over here, but then I wasn't sure if it worked because you never showed up.
It worked, but you dropped me into a random place in the overworld. I wish you wouldn't have done that. I used to be a handsome hoglin. Now look at me.
Oh my, yes, I can see what you mean. But you know, there's a cure for that.
There is?
Of course. I know it takes a golden carrot and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And if you got me here, you can get me back home, right?
Of course, but I brought you here for a reason. We need to find the Dark Trident before the Horned Enderman does.
If I help defeat him, can you cure me and send me home?
You got yourself a deal.
I was so glad I was finally getting answers. All this excitement really tuckered me out. I asked the wizard if I could sleep off some of my exhaustion. He was cool with it. On days 50 to 53, I looked around the wizard's hut and saw so many magic potions and wands.
I see you are admiring my collection of magical objects.
I like your wizard hat too.
Oh yes, this hat is awesome. I can use potions and they last forever. Maybe one day you can get a wizard hat of your own once you've learned some things.
So do you have a plan for how to defeat the Horned Enderman?
Of course, you. And that was as far as I got.
I bet some of your wands and potions will come in handy. Can I try one of your wands? The wizard agreed and selected an ice wand. I was pretty excited and I ran to the water to test it out. Abracafree stuff. I froze the water into ice cubes. I definitely like this idea of learning magic. I think you should come with me and meet our other friends. We have a mushroom base across the way. We can all make a plan. Can I take this wand with me? The wizard agreed, got in his own boat, and we sailed off. As we sailed across, we noticed something splashing on the surface. We got closer and saw it was a mermaid surrounded by a shark.
Looks like it's a good time to use that wand, Zozo.
I jumped out of my boat and jumped on the rock the mermaid was on, and excitedly took out the wand and started pointing it at the water around the shark. The water was turned into ice, and the sharks were frozen in ice cubes. You sharks need to cool it. Are you okay, mermaid? The mermaid came closer to me.
Thank you for helping me out. That was a close one. Who are you guys?
My name is Zozo, and this is Flimflam the wizard. We are just some friends who are trying to stop the horned enderman. You probably don't know who that is, huh?
Actually, yeah, I do. Those sharks work for him. They were trying to get me to tell them where the Dark Trident is.
What? Are you serious? That's why they want me too. We were just meeting up on the Mushroom Island to make a plan on how to stop him.
How about I follow you over there? I can team up with you.
That's a great idea. Follow us. We were assembling a pretty epic team. On days 54 to 57, we sailed up to the Mushroom Island. I told the mermaid to wait at the shore and walked up to the base. I introduced Flimflam to the group. Smithers and Flimflam were both suspicious of each other at first, but after some explaining, they both realized they were on the same side. I took some time to break away from the group and work some more on my statue. I added some good red coloring to it. I was halfway there. I made my way back to the base, and then I heard splashing in the water. I almost forgot about the mermaid. I went and spoke with her at the beach. Her name was Dolphine, but she went by Dolly. Dolly told me about why the sharks were after her. She knew of a portal called the Whirlpool of Want. They wanted the location.
This whirlpool takes you to the Witches of Fate.
I didn't think you could get to them.
That's what they want you to think.
What if you take us to this whirlpool? Maybe we can ask the witches if there's a weapon that can destroy the Dark Trident. Dolly agreed to this plan, and I went and let the team know where I was going. Before we left, I did what I could to make sure my health and weapons were shipshape. I was ready to follow the mermaid to the Whirlpool of Want. On days 58 to 62, we were out in the middle of the ocean when the mermaid pointed ahead.
There it is. Just sail straight into it.
You sure this will work? I didn't want to get stuck at the bottom of this whirlpool. Besides, I hardly knew this mermaid. This could be a trick.
Pretty sure. Here, let me go in ahead of you. Let me see what happens.
She swam right into the whirlpool and it swallowed her up. I waited for a few minutes. The whirlpool started to gurgle and out popped the mermaid. There she blows! Well, it looked like it worked. Onward! I jumped off the ship and into the whirlpool. The whirlpool had a portal at the bottom, and it spat me out onto dry land. I was in the end?
And what do we have here? A wayward Zoglin.
A voice cackled from the sky. It seemed to come from all around me.
You seek how to destroy the Dark Trident. We know everything about all of you, but we don't do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We are witches. We make trades. What did you bring to trade?
I panicked. I didn't know I needed to trade something. 3 witches appeared in front of me.
Well, what will it be? If you want the Wand of Weather, you will have to give us something that interests us.
Wand of Weather? This wand will destroy the Dark Trident?
You bet your little Zoglin britches.
I offered them my wand, my swords, my potions, anything I could think of that seemed really neat, but they didn't want any of it. They already had piles of that stuff. I wonder if they would take something that only has sentimental value. I offered them the poppy that Geo had given me.
A poppy? You have got yourself a deal.
Poof, they disappeared, and in their place was a wand.
We forgot to mention one little thing. Only a true heroic act can activate this wand.
Their voices trailed off. A heroic act? I do those things all the time. That doesn't seem too difficult. I wanted to stick around to sniff around, but suddenly there was a whole mob of zombies headed my way. I ran for the portal and jumped through. On days 63 to 66, I was ejected out of the whirlpool. I told Dolly about everything and then sailed back to our base. There was smoke on the horizon. We got close to the island and saw our base had been attacked. The horned enderman must have discovered our base. I jumped out of my boat and made my way to my base entrance where I saw Smithers. I found out that they had kidnapped Hagatha. They thought she was me. No, Hagatha, I will rescue you.
I will fly fast and try to find her. You need to continue on your quest. If you can defeat the Horned Enderman, Hagatha will be spared.
I wanted to go with Smithers, but I knew he was right. Smithers would take good care of the situation. He quickly flew away. I was going crazy with worry, so I had to distract myself. Those henchmen had really done a lot of damage. We had so many repairs to make. There was only one way to handle this situation: a rebuilding montage. We upgraded a lot of things and then got started building a moat around the base. Flimflam suggested that we add a water path for Dolly to be able to swim in and out, so we added that too. Afterwards, I stepped back and admired our work. It's amazing what you can do when you're motivated. Just then, I wondered if my statue had been destroyed. I ran over to the field, and luckily it was just how I left it. I finished off the face. Can you tell what it is? I guess it's pretty obvious now, but I still needed to add the pièce de résistance later. On days 67 to 70, I tried out the Wand of Weather, but couldn't get it to do anything. Maybe it only worked around the trident. We had better locate the trident to try and destroy it. I hoped it would work for me. Flimflam appeared behind me and said,
Zozo, you're the one with the magical nose. Where do you think we should go to find the trident.
I closed my eyes and I sniffed the air, focusing on where it could be. All I smell is Hagatha. I'm worried about her.
I'm right here, silly.
Hagatha and Smithers were back. Smithers had found her wandering back to the island. They had let her go after realizing she was the wrong Zoglin, but Hagatha was certain they were tracking her.
We can use that to our advantage. We can have Hagatha stay here as a decoy while you sneak off to get the trident.
I didn't like the idea of potentially putting Hagatha in harm's way, but she insisted on the plan. Everyone else would stay at the base to protect Hagatha. Meanwhile, Dolly and I would go on our quest. I got on my boat and followed the faint scent of the dark trident. We eventually came into a desert with cactus and pyramids on the shore. Dolly pointed out that there were ancient ruins in the water. Perfect spot to find a trident, and I can tell we are close. Just then, my ship started to shake. What was that? I looked over the edge. Dolly, there's a lot of angry noodles wiggling around the water.
I don't think that's a noodle, Zozo. I think it's a giant octopus.
Yikes, we would have to think fast. I shot arrows at it, but that just made it more mad. It hit my boat and busted it. Oh no, he even managed to hit me a few times. He really packed a punch. I would have to swim my way out of this.
I'll use my siren song to lure it away. You head for a cove to hide.
What about you?
I'll be fine. I can outswim these guys.
Dolly started singing and the octopus was put in a trance-like state and started following Dolly. Meanwhile, I booked it for the shoreline. I saw a cove that had a very strong smell coming from it. I knew I was hot on the Trident Trail. Dolly was nowhere to be seen though. I hoped she was okay. The cove wasn't empty though. A pirate ship was there as well. Where there is pirates, there is treasure. I looked around and sure enough, I found not one, but 2 treasure chests. What does this one have? Whoa, it's a Respiration 3 helmet. Now that's convenient. I opened the other one up and it had a heart potion. I moved topside and took it and got 10 more hearts, and I grew into a large-sized Zoglin. Now we're talking. I was ready for some underwater exploration, but Dolly hadn't showed up yet. Well, I hope she can find me. On day 71 to 74, I started to swim through the shallow waters of the cove that led to a watery underground cave. It was very dark. I noticed some obsidian floating around in the cave and picked it up for later. The dark trident had to be around me somewhere. The scent was so strong. I could also smell trouble. I dove under the water to have a look around, but it was so dark. Suddenly, someone grabbed my hooves. Ah! Oh my goodness. It was just Dolly. She had found me. You scared the ham right out of me. I'm glad you're okay though. She held out her hand.
Sorry, Zozo. Look at this. This is a glowstone. It will help light our path.
Awesome. It was so nice having Dolly to help me. She set the glowstone on the floor of the cave, and we could see a little opening. We swam through it. It led into a big space with large wall ruins. There were lots of tall vines growing all over the ruin.
Hey, look.
The dark trident was just sitting on top of a mound of sand. Just then, out popped hordes of drowns. I didn't come this far to be beaten by a bunch of water zombie punks. You're going down. We fought with all our might and wits. We had to win. There were many, but we were mighty. Sure enough, we were able to take care of all of them. Hi, Finn, Dolly. We gathered around the trident. I got out my weather wand and nothing happened. We had just defeated all these drowns. That was super heroic. Shouldn't that heroic act have activated the trident?
Were those witches lying?
I don't know.
Well, grab it and let's go. We can try to destroy it some more back at the base.
I was hesitant, but I agreed.
Now that you have obsidian, you can build a portal back home.
Really? That will be awesome. Although, I'm still a Zoglin. We need a cure so I can fit back in at home.
I like you as a Zoglin. I think you look cool.
Thanks, Dolly. I just don't know what my family will think. Suddenly, everything started to shake. I reached and grabbed the trident. We had to get out of here. We swam back through the hole in the cavern wall and back up to the surface, and then back to the mouth of the cove. Everything was crumbling. We barely made it out in time. On days 75 to 78, I sailed back to our base. I thanked Dolly for all of her help, and she told me she needed to return to her kingdom before her family started to worry. I'll never forget you, Dolphine. At the mushroom base, I peeked through the window and saw my friends had finished my statue for me while I was gone. It looked great. It was a mushroom with a pumpkin on top to remember Burr by. You guys are the best. After that, we all gathered around the trident. I needed to destroy this thing quickly. I tried the wand again. Nothing. I've done so many heroic things. Why wasn't it working? I pointed it at the sky and thought about my awesome friends and how brave they always were. This time it jiggled a little. A few clouds came out and made it rain a tiny bit. Well, that was something.
You'll get the hang of this in time, Zozo. I believe in you.
I was so distracted by the wand that it took me a while to notice the strong odor of evil floating into the base. The horned enderman had to be near. I picked up the trident, started sniffing around, and went into my base. On day 79 to 84, I looked outside our window. A bunch of endermen surrounded our base gate, and there was the horned enderman standing there. You have got to be kidding me.
Little Zog, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your basin.
That dude is terrifying, even when he speaks in rhymes. I'm going to start building that portal, and maybe we can take the trident to the nether.
You escape with the trident. I'll fight them off.
Smithers ran out of the room. I built and lit the nether portal.
You can't do this alone.
Agatha joined him to fend off the base. I thought to myself and decided not to run. I had to be a hero if I wanted this wand to work. I told Flimflam to guard the trident. I pulled my sword out and ran out as well. After fighting for a bit, I swapped my sword out for the bow and started shooting. With each arrow I fired, the enderman teleported away. But suddenly, they charged me, and I took a big hit. Ouch! I started swinging my sword, and I did my best to take them all out. At long last, all of the Endermen were defeated. Where was the horned Enderman, though? I noticed he wasn't around. I looked up into the mushroom base windows, and there he was. He was in the room with Flimflam and the trident. Oh no! Smithers, the trident! Smithers flew up where they were. By the time I got there, Flimflam had been injured, and Smithers was facing off with the horned Enderman. With ease, the horned Enderman grabbed the trident and teleported out of the base. Smithers followed him outside, and I did too.
The dark trident can only work with a heart of pure evil. Watch as I turn this thing lethal.
With that, the horned Enderman hit Smithers with the dark trident. No, how could he? I pulled out the wand of weather and pointed it at the trident. Storm clouds gathered and it started to rain pretty hard, but it didn't seem to do anything to the trident. The rain did, however, scare off the horned Enderman since he teleported away. With the enemy gone, I ran to Smithers' side.
This is the end for me. Promise me you'll stop him.
Then Smithers disintegrated, leaving behind a nether star. I was so sad and picked up the nether star. I placed it down at the entrance of the house. It would forever shine bright on us, as Smithers did. On days 85 to 89, Hagatha and I went through the portal to the nether. We knew time was short. The horned Enderman would be marching through with his undead army at any moment. We landed in the Crimson Forest. Welcome to my homeland.
Wow, everything is so hot and spicy looking here.
Home, sweet and spicy home. I miss the smell of lava. We started to walk around a bit when suddenly a mob of piglins was coming toward us. Well, looks like it's never a dull moment. Let's kick some hams. We used our arrows, swords, and strength to take down the mob. We continued exploring the nether for a bit until we got to the edge of a cliff. The lava was hot below us. I carefully laid down dirt to get across. I noticed more piglins coming at us, so I broke off a brick of the block bridge so they couldn't follow us.
Well, that was a very lava-hot welcome. Where's your family?
They aren't far. I can smell them. On days 90 to 94, I heard some low oinking. It was my family. They were munching on fungi, as usual. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Who the oink are you? Oh, great. It was Bebop, the bully. It's me, Zozo. I look a little different now. I'm bigger and
freakish looking. You're not one of us anymore.
I just returned from the overworld, so I got zombified. But I'm still Zozo, and these are my friends. We have come to warn you.
Warn us about what? Are you threatening us? You think you could just disappear one day and then come back and act all tough? That's it. No one threatens us.
No, I'm not threatening. Bebop came charging at me. I put my head down and got ready to return his blow. I hit Bebop a lot, and he simply backed off. I'm bigger and stronger than you now, Bebop. Time to stop picking on others, or I'm gonna have to teach you another lesson. I told the rest of the Zoglin family what I'd been up to and where I went. These are my friends. They've been helping me. You see, we got a weapon that can stop this evil dude from coming here and destroying everything. He's known as the Horned Enderman. Bebop must not have learned his lesson because he butted in.
We will never believe you. You're just a bunch of freaks.
I'd much rather be a freak than a boring old piece of bacon. I pity you. You can't see past your own snotty snout. I used to worry about what you all would think of me as a Zoglin, but now I don't care. I'm proud of who I am on the inside and out. My friends taught me that. You can either show respect for me and my friends, or you and I can settle this again, for good. Hog to Zog. I pulled out my wand of weather. It was suddenly glowing and surging with energy. I had been heroic by standing up for myself and my friends, even against my own kind. I was done being ashamed of what I looked like. I loved my zombie self. I held the wand into the air and created rain in the nether.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't pick on you or anyone else. Please make it stop.
I put the wand away and the crazy weather stopped. It was all the proof the Zoglins needed. On days 95 to 98, we decided we would make a big hill with a fortress on top so we could have the high ground. Flimflam also came over from the overworld and insisted on making me wear his wizard's hat. It would keep my health up even after being attacked. Our hill fortress was looking pretty cool, and we were able to recruit some other nether mobs. We got mobs of piglins and wither skeletons. We set up inside the fort. It was then that the sky opened a portal and outpoured all sorts of undeads. Drowned necromancers, skeletons, zombies, zombified piglins, and husks. Fight hard and stay safe. We just need to stay alive long enough until I can attack the trident. The Zoglins attacked with their tusks to punt them away into the lava. The mutant piglins used their quality swords to cut them down. The mutant husks smashed with their fists. We were all fighting hard, but still, some of our allies didn't survive. I needed to find the Horned Enderman. The longer this went on, the more deaths there would be. The hordes of undead just kept coming too. But we fought with all of our might. After defeating some of the undead creatures, the piglin commander gave me a health potion. I drank it and my hearts leveled up. I got 20 hearts, and then I became even bigger. I couldn't lie, I looked pretty intimidating. After that, we returned to the fort. On day 99, I heard something happen at the portal again and ran out. The Horned Enderman finally emerged from the portal. Horned Enderman, you are going down.
What are you going to do? Sprinkle me with water? Oh no, how will I ever survive such hullabaloo? Ha! See my mighty undead army. This world is doomed. There is no way to disarm me.
Go ahead and laugh, but this is for Smithers. He threw the trident at me, breaking my armor. He was terribly powerful.
Thank you for bringing me this trident. I think this is a death well spent.
I heard my friends shout, and they came to my side.
For Smithers!
Their chant brought me strength. I shot the wand into the air. For Smithers! It started to rain. Thunder boomed loudly, and there was a mighty zap. A powerful bolt of lightning struck the trident. The horned enderman exploded, and the trident shattered. We did it! Just like that! The wand had worked! We all cheered and celebrated. On day 100, after we had finished celebrating and honoring those who had fallen, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my Zoglin years. I said goodbye to my family and promised to come home every Sunday for Crimson dinner. I would be the Zoglin wizard of the newly named Smither Island. But in the meantime, I would study more magic and defend the weak, always keeping a balance to good and evil. And most of all, I'd spread heroic courage, a love for others and oneself, freakish looks and all. I knew Smithers would be proud. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby robot. Whoa, I'm a tiny robot, but where am I? Why am I in a cage? I looked around and saw there were a couple other bigger robots nearby. They must be my parents. I decided I would go ask them what we were doing here. But before I had a chance to ask them, the door to the cage opened and a giant rat walked into the cage.
All right, you junkers, time to get to work.
We're tired of taking orders from you. We can't stand by and watch this factory pollute the world any longer.
You think you can rise up against us? Sounds like I need to teach you a lesson, pal.
The rat lunged forward and started fighting my robot dad. As they were fighting, my robot mom came up next to me.
Zozo, the door is open. Move quickly and get out of here. We will hold him off.
But I don't understand. Why are we working for this guy? What are we doing here?
There's no time to explain, but he isn't even the one in charge of everything. I hope you never run into his boss. Now hurry, get out of here.
My mom hurried away to help fight off the rat, and I took the chance to rush out the door and escape. As I drove away, I turned around and saw the rat destroy my dad. Dad, no! I thought about going back, but I noticed I only had 6 hearts. If I was captured or killed, my dad's sacrifice would be in vain. As I drove away, I noticed that I had just escaped from a huge factory. There were big pillars of smoke coming out of it, which must have been causing all of the yellow haze. I better get out of here before that rat shows up, or worse, his boss. I was driving away when suddenly I started beeping, and my battery started to drain. Oh no, my battery is going to run out in 30 seconds. What's going on? In a panic, I backed up into the sunlight and saw that my battery immediately started to recharge and returned to full. Whew, that was scary. I must be a solar-powered robot. I'll have to be sure to stay in the light when I'm out and about. I soon found a good place to build a shelter for the night and quickly put up some walls. I made sure to leave the roof open so I could power back up in the morning. On day 2, I woke up to a full battery and sunlight coming into my shelter. Looks like my shelter kept me safe through the night, but I have a lot I need to figure out today, starting with rescuing my mom, if she's alive. I knew I wouldn't be able to get back into the factory without gearing up first, which is when I noticed that my arm was a permanent drill. I'll bet I can break all kinds of blocks with this arm. I'm going to try and go get some supplies. I stepped outside my base when I was suddenly attacked by some kind of tiny animal. Ah, what the heck are you? Get back! I swung my drill arm and quickly defeated the enemy. That looked like some kind of mutated bunny. I wonder where he came from. I'll have to keep an eye out. I headed over to a nearby hill where there were some trees growing and collected some wood and stone. Then I set up a crafting table and made an axe, shovel, and sword. My drill arm was pretty handy though, so I decided to start building a mine inside my base. I drilled into the ground and saw I was able to break a bunch of blocks at once. Whoa, mining is going to be a breeze. I was digging down and my battery alarm went off again. I was so excited about my drill, I almost forgot I had to stay in the sun. Luckily, I was able to get out before the timer ran out too quickly. Looks like I'm gonna have to be a lot more strategic every time I want to leave the sun. On day 3, I decided to venture out a little further to see if I could find some more supplies. I knew I still wasn't strong enough to break my mom out. As I got closer to a nearby cave, I saw something strange inside. What is that? It looks like there's a deactivated robot in there. Their battery must have run out. As I got closer to investigate, I was attacked by a mutant pig. Whoa, get back! The mutant pig had come out of nowhere, but I was able to quickly fight them off. As they disappeared, I saw a whole horde of pigs coming over the hill. I better get out of here. As I was driving away, I couldn't help but wonder what was happening to all of the animals and who was in that cave. Maybe they would be able to help me in the fight. I'd have to try and come check on them later. On days 4 and 5, I was running away when I stumbled across a small farming village, but noticed none of their crops really seemed to be growing. I decided to try and get more information, so I headed to the house at the top of the hill. Hello, is anyone home? The door opened and a farmer stepped out. Hey there, I'm trying to find out what's going on around here. What's wrong with your crops? She explained that the smog coming from the factory was killing all of her crops. Not only that, the smog was also turning all the animals into mutated versions of themselves. She explained that the only way would be to take out the factory's boss, Fat Cat, but everyone was too scared to get close to the factory, so she didn't know any good ways to do that. Well, I've been there once. I can try and get close and see what I can find out. Thanks for your help. I drove off in the direction of the factory. Hopefully I could learn something new before trying to break in. On days 6 to 8, I started making my way back towards the factory. As I reached the top of the hill, I ran into a mutated sheep. Ah, another one! Take this, you creepy sheepy! By using my sword, I was able to take it down. That farmer was right. The smog is making all the animals crazy. I kept going on my way when I ran into a zombie. As I started to attack him, I noticed he had something interesting in his hand. Are those robot tracks? I'm sure you won't mind me taking those off your hands. After a few hits, he was down, and I was right. He dropped a new set of tracks. I picked them up. Oh nice, these Mark 1 tracks will give me an armor upgrade. Oh, and check it out, they gave me a speed boost too. Now I'll be able to get farther on my limited battery. On days 9 to 10, I rolled up to the gates of the factory and took a look inside. I don't see much on this side. The workers must be inside. I'll go see if there's anything on the other side. As I got closer to the other side, I could see someone in a suit yelling at a robot. That suit, it must be Fat Cat. I looked into the yard and saw who he was shouting at. It was my mom.
We know you helped that little robot escape. You're gonna work overtime until we find him.
My mom didn't say anything. She was so brave. If I was going to help her though, I was going to need to find a way to get in. Just then, I heard some pistons moving and snuck over to where I heard the noise. As I peeked over the edge, I saw an opening in the wall of one of the guard towers, and a couple of rats were talking outside.
What do you think of my secret door? Pretty nifty, huh? Now we can sneak out and skip work. Nobody will know.
I still wasn't strong enough to fight, but knowing this will help me sneak in the future. As I turned to leave though, my new track squeaked, getting the attention of the rats.
Hey, what was that?
The rats rushed over to where I was hiding, but thanks to my new speed, I was able to get away without them seeing me. Don't worry, Mom, I'll come back for you. On days 11 through 14, I was heading back to my base when I realized the sun was starting to set. I started putting together a small hut to protect me for the night when I was suddenly attacked by a giant mutated zombie. Holy cow, this guy is huge! I started to build even faster but couldn't focus as I had to keep running away from the zombie. If he keeps chasing me, I'm not gonna be able to finish my house before the sun goes down. The sun kept going down and my battery soon started to beep, starting the 30-second countdown. Oh no, if I could just finish. As much as I tried, I couldn't finish the house. All I could do was jump into the unfinished build and hope for the best. My battery let out a final beep, then I deactivated. On day 15, I awoke to an unfamiliar face looking at me.
Huh?
Good morning, little friend. How are you feeling?
What happened? Who are you?
Don't be alarmed. My name is Gary, and I'm here to help. I managed to grab you before that zombie could rip you to pieces.
Thank you. You saved me. Whoa, and what's this? Did you upgrade my battery?
I did. I wish I could do more, but I only had parts on hand to give you a 60-second charge when you're out of the sun.
Wow, that's great. How did you know how to do that? The old man sighed before heading into his story.
My wife and I actually used to work at the factory building robots just like you. It was a clean, safe place for everyone, and the factory didn't produce the pollution that you see today. But then one day Fat Cat showed up and turned it into the mess you see now. He mistreats the robots and makes them work non-stop, which causes the factory to pollute the land. My wife and I had to flee for our safety. We planned to save the land from the factory, but my wife got sick and wanted to spend her last days growing her flower garden. But nothing would stay alive. She passed away soon after. I can't take Fat Cat down by myself, and everyone else is too afraid to help. But if you are willing to work with me, I think we can do it.
I'm so sorry to hear about everything you've gone through. Fat Cat has taken enough from us. Let's take this guy down. On days 16 to 19, I left Gary's house and went to find a good place to build myself a base of operations. After a little bit of searching, I found a good spot to start building. I first cleared out the land, then got to work laying the foundation of the house. Then I put up walls to keep the mutants out, and finally, put up the base itself, making sure to leave windows in the ceiling for light to get in. Once that was finished, I filled the interior with everything I would need. Home sweet home. I hope this can be a place of safety for anyone who wants to help in our fight. That reminded me, what happened to that robot I saw in the caves? If I could just get a little stronger, I could fight my way past those mobs and see what was going on. On days 20 to 22, I woke up to sheep sounds outside my base. Oh nice, I could use their wool to build some things. I hurried to my base door and saw a bunch of mutant sheep outside. Oh right, I forgot everything here was green. Oh well, good to know my walls kept them out. I opened the door and started to fight them. I noticed a little mutant bunny was also joining in on the fight. How'd you get mixed up with these bad people? I finished them all off, no problem. After the fight, I could feel a power surge and I suddenly grew into a bigger robot. Alright, I even gained 4 more hearts. I looked closer at my drill. It now had a diamond tip. Wow. I decided to go and give it a test. Looks like I can break blocks even faster than before. This is great. On days 23 to 27, I left my base to try and look for that robot in the cave. I had no idea if they would still be there, but maybe they could help in our fight against Fat Cat. Since I had just gotten my new upgrades, it felt like the right time to try again. Before I got back to the cave, I stopped by an abandoned mine shaft I had seen earlier. I'm going to need a way to transport the robot back, so I can take these old rails to do it. I soon gathered up all the rails and found myself looking over the cliff to the cave. It looked like the robot was still in there, so I rushed down the hill and attacked the mutant pigs. I'm not gonna run away this time. They put up a good fight, but my new abilities were too much for them. I fought as hard as I could and won. Finally, now I can get this robot out of here. Looks like they're deactivated. I quickly laid down some tracks, got the robot into a minecart, and started heading back to the base. On days 28 to 32, I arrived back at the base, and I saw Gary had moved a lot of his supplies in. This will help us coordinate our plans much easier. Gary, I found this robot out in a cave. Do you think you can help her?
Oh, I recognize this model. They call her Eve.
Gary took a look and could immediately tell what was wrong.
Yep, looks like her battery's fried. She must have been caught out in the wilderness.
So what can we do? Do you think you can fix her?
Not with the supplies I have on hand, but I know of a warehouse in the desert that used to have the components. I can tell you where to go to find it.
Gary told me where to go, but before I left, I made some improvements to the base. I added a second layer to the walls and got to work on building Gary a house to work out of. Everything was looking great, and I even built a working drawbridge. No one is going to be breaking into here. On days 33 to 36, I was getting ready to leave when Gary stopped me and said he had something to ask me.
Zozo, I had a question to ask you. Why are you so nice to everyone?
Well, I wish I could take all the credit, but there's a robot I really look up to who has inspired me to be nice and always try and help. He's a sassy dude, but in the end, he always does the right thing.
That's great. I think we should build a statue of this robot as a symbol to everyone, but there are still good in this world.
That would be a great idea. I rushed out and was able to find some non-mutated sheep to use for the build. I led them back to the base and put them in a pen I had made. Then I got to work on the statue. I started with the base, then moved on to the statue itself. After a while, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. I hope you're enjoying it so far too. If you like what you're seeing, be sure to subscribe to the channel. That way, you'll never miss my next adventure. On days 37 to 40, I entered the desert to begin my journey to the warehouse. I can already feel the temperature rising, but that means lots of sunlight for my battery. As I made my way toward a small hill, I heard a strange sound up ahead. I wonder what that could be. As I came over the hill, I saw a group of mutant horses who attacked me. This feels so wrong to be fighting horses. But you guys aren't as nice as your non-mutant brothers. After a tough fight, I was able to finish them off. I made it through, but these mobs were getting tougher. I'm gonna have to find a good spot to build a camp and craft some upgrades. Who knows what could be waiting for me at the warehouse? On days 41 to 43, I found a nice spot against the cliff full of ores. Whoa, look at all these ores. I can use these to give myself an upgrade. I also noticed there was a nice spot in the corner where I could build a camp. I quickly laid down some blocks for a foundation and then set up all the tools I would need. Then I worked on building the walls and finished it up with a glass ceiling. With the base set up, I headed over to the ore deposit and mined out some gold and some iron. I can use this iron to upgrade my armor, and I've got a special item in mind for the gold. I quickly smelted down all the iron in my blast furnace, then got started smelting all the gold. Then I made an iron chestplate, iron leggings, and an iron helmet. With the leftover iron, I decided to make myself an iron sword, axe, shovel, and hoe as well. To finish up, I then made a gold block, which I then mixed with some gold bars in my tire tracks. This let me upgrade my tracks to the Mark II version, which gave me even more protection than before. Wow. I feel like I can take on anything now. Let's go find that warehouse. From days 44 to 49, I left my house to finally find the warehouse. After a while, I could finally see it. That must be it. I hope the parts we need are inside. As I entered the building, I could see the place was in ruins. This place has been completely picked apart. It looks like I might just have to head home and figure something else out.
Hey, you!
A little rat came running over to me. What could he want? What do you want? Aren't you working with Fat Cat?
No, not at all. You think rats want to work with cats? That giant rat has betrayed all rat kind, and I want to take him out. You think you can help?
It sounds like we want the same thing, but how do I know I can trust you?
You came here to this warehouse because you're looking for something, right? The giant rat cleaned all these warehouses out and moved everything to his base. I can show you where it is.
I didn't know if I could trust him, but I agreed to work with him, so we headed off to the base. On days 50 to 53, the rat and I were traveling when a gazelle called out to us from a village. It looked like something was wrong. Hey, what's going on? She told us that a group of husks were attacking their village and they needed our help. If we would help them, she would give me something useful. I'm always happy to do what I can. She led us into the village and I charged at the husks. The rat even joined in on the fight. Maybe I could trust him after all. It wasn't long until we had eliminated all of the husks. And stay down. The gazelle thanked us for our help and told us to follow her to the village workshop. When we arrived, she told me to take what was inside the chest. Whoa, are these blueprints on how to build a focus lens? If I can build that, then I could use it to redirect light into deep holes for mining. On days 54 to 57, I decided I would construct a lens and try to mine for diamonds. I first needed to gather some resources though, so I headed out into the desert. While I was on my way, I was suddenly attacked by a gang of mutant cats. These mutant animals are just getting weirder and weirder. I noticed there was a little mutant bird fighting along them too. A bird fighting with cats and rats are working with Fat Cat? This world is crazy. After beating the mutants, I got to work digging up some sand to make glass. Once I had collected all the sand I needed, I headed back to my base and started smelting the sand. Alrighty, time to start building this lens. I constructed 2 pillars for the base, then put the lens together using the glass I had just smelted. There was a shadow on the ground for now, but once I turned the lens, that should disappear. Okay, let's see if this thing works. I headed over to the activate button and gave it a press. As the lens rotated, I saw the shadow on the ground disappear. I quickly got to work digging a deep hole. It's nice to not have to worry about my battery running out. Once I started to hit bedrock, I built an angled mirror at the bottom so I could do some strip mining. The mirror was able to reflect enough light for me to be able to start mining to the side. Before long, I mined into a room full of diamonds. Amazing, this is just what I needed. I quickly mined all of the ores that I could and then headed out of the mine to craft. On days 58 to 62, I headed into my base to start crafting with the new materials I had just mined. I noticed that while I had been down in the mines, the rat had made himself a small hut off to the side of my base. Pretty cozy. Back at my crafting table, I made a diamond chestplate, helmet, and leggings. With the remaining diamonds, I also made myself a sword. Feels good to know this armor will keep me safer than before. The fight against Giant Rat will be a tough one. On days 63 to 66, I met the rat outside my base. Before we get going, is there anything else that I need to know?
Yeah, you'll need all the support you can get. So anyone who is listening to this should subscribe and like the video. That ought to give you the strength you need.
That's true. That would help a ton. The rat and I headed off to go fight the giant rat. We soon left the desert and entered the Badlands. As we made our way, we suddenly saw a pack of mutant wolves headed right at us. Mutant wolves now? This just doesn't even surprise me anymore. The rat and I launched into attack mode and fought against the pack. The rat was proving to be a good teammate and we were able to defeat them in no time. Nice job. I feel like we're making a great team. On days 67 to 70, we made our way to the edge of a cliff overlooking the giant rat's warehouse. Whoa, do you see that? Running into the warehouse was a huge pack of rats, all carrying different pieces of loot. We were definitely in the right place. All right, buddy, what's the best way in? I waited for the rat to reply, but he didn't say anything. Suddenly, I heard a bunch of squeaking and saw the pack of rats come screaming out of the building. They were headed right towards us. He had betrayed us. No, I thought you were my friend. Soon the rats were on me and I tried to fight them off. Oh no, there's so many of them. I don't know if I can get out of this one. I managed to take a few of them out, but it felt like a fight I couldn't win. And I was right. The rats injected me with something that depleted my battery, and I shut down. While I was shut down, the rats pushed me down the hill into the warehouse and locked me away in a cell. On days 71 to 74, I started the day deactivated in the jail cell, when suddenly there was a huge explosion in the ceiling. The roof blew away, which let light come in, recharging my battery to full. As I turned back on, I saw Gary jump in from the ceiling. Gary, you're here!
Come on, Zozo, let's get you out of here.
Gary set some TNT by the jail doors and blew a hole in the bars. As we jumped through, we were attacked by the gang of rats. You guys aren't going to shut me down again. With Gary's help, we were able to fight off the horde of rats, but since we were out of the sun, my battery had started to deplete again.
Don't worry, Zozo, I've got a solution to your battery problem.
Gary took out his bazooka and blasted a hole in the roof, which let the sun come in. I quickly recharged.
Let's take a look in these supply closets. I'm sure there's going to be some useful items.
Gary and I started looking at all the crates, and there were tons of useful items. Netherite scraps. I can use this to upgrade my gear. I went ahead and grabbed the emeralds too, just for good measure. We continued moving through the warehouse, with Gary blowing holes in the roof as we went. In the next room, we found even more supplies. More netherite scraps, and healing potions. Whoa, and check it out, gold nuggets. Just what I need to make some netherite ingots. We'd gotten some good loot, but we still needed to get parts to fix Eve. There was only one place we hadn't checked, Giant Rat's office. On days 75 to 78, we reached the Giant Rat's office. Watch out, Rat Man, we're coming in. I punched the door open and headed inside with Gary. Giant Rat was inside on his desk. Eve's battery was on the wall behind him. Give us the battery or we're going to have to take you out too.
This battery powers the one robot with the code to shut down Fat Cat's factory. You found it, didn't you? I know where your little base is. Once I've taken care of you, I'll destroy that little robot once and for all.
We'll never let you destroy her. We're taking that battery and shutting the factory down. Just then, the giant rat leaped forward and started attacking Gary. We both pulled out our weapons and started to fight. Stay strong, Gary. We can beat this guy. The giant rat was really powerful, and my health bar got really low. But in the end, we were finally able to defeat him. We did it. Nice job, Gary. Let's grab the battery and get out of here. Gary? I turned and saw that Gary had been seriously wounded. Gary, you don't look so good. Come on, let's get you some help.
There's no time, Zozo, but there's something you should know first. I was the one that hid the robot Eve away. She needed to be in a safe place. I thought telling you what code she contained would put you in too much danger.
The more he spoke, the worse he looked. It's okay. Maybe you should sit down. Gary slumped down against the wall.
You've been a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do this. She would have loved you too.
She?
I had hoped to see her flowers bloom one more time. My wife. Her name was Eve.
Gary put his head down and he was gone. Thank you for everything, Gary. I won't let you down. On day 79 to 84, I grabbed the battery off the wall and left the office. I couldn't believe Gary was gone. As I headed down the stairs, I heard a familiar voice.
So, now that the giant rat is gone, you need a new leader. And that leader should be me.
This whole time that rat was just trying to take over the rats. I couldn't let this stand. You cost me everything. I charged down the stairs and attacked the rat. I was so angry I was able to defeat him in no time. All the other rats were so scared they didn't even try to get involved. I've got to get this battery back to Eve and shut down the factory. I headed out to return to the base. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back at the base and put Eve's battery pack in. After a moment, she booted up and looked right at me.
Hello, what's your name?
Hi, I'm Zozo. Gary told me that you should have code to shut down the Fat Cat factory. Is that true?
That is correct. I would be happy to assist you with doing so. Where is Gary? I would love to see my creator again.
He didn't make it, but he would have wanted us to work together.
I see. I'm sorry to hear it, but I agree. Gary and Eve are my best friends, and I'm sure we will be good friends too.
I agree, which reminds me, do you think you could help me with something? Eve and I headed outside, and I got her help finishing the robot statue. Finishing the statue gave me the courage to be brave. Brave like my robot hero, and brave like Gary. Before long, the statue was complete. This looks amazing. Thanks for all of your help, Eve. From there, I went to work on building Eve a place to stay as well. I made sure to give her everything she needed to be comfortable. Once I finished the outside, I worked on decorating the inside with all the tools she'll need. With everything complete, I just had one more task to finish. Using the nether scraps and gold I had collected, I made a netherite ingot. Then, I used that to upgrade my diamond sword. Nothing's gonna stop us now. On days 90 to 94, I decided I should go through Gary's room to see if there was anything he may have had to help us in the final fight. As I was looking around, I came across Gary's diary. His last entry confirmed his plan to follow me to the warehouse. Under that entry was a note meant for me.
If you're reading this, I didn't make it. The last thing I need to tell you is that Eve knows how to do something special. She can also craft a battery for you. With such a battery, you can function without the need for sunlight.
Wow, what an amazing gift. I'll go ask her. I headed back out and found Eve. I asked her about the battery.
Let me check my data logs. Scanning. Oh yes, I found the recipe. Right this way.
Eve grabbed some supplies from a chest, then headed over to the crafting table. Moments later, we headed outside, and she tossed the new battery pack to me. I put it in. I immediately felt a power surge and turned into a giant robot. My battery pack showed it was upgraded too. Whoa, look at me. I feel great. Fat Cat isn't gonna know what hit him. On days 95 to 96, I headed outside to meet up with Eve. Today's the day, Eve. Let's go save the world. Eve and I took off in the direction of the factory. After a while, we arrived near the edge. Looking ahead, I could see some rats patrolling the perimeter. Once they had passed, we snuck up to the hidden entrance I had seen before. If we hit this button, it will let us inside. I hit the button and Eve and I snuck inside. Once we were in, we didn't see anyone else around. It looks like the coast is clear. Let's see if we can get to the robots inside. As we ran across the open space, we heard a squeak. A single rat guard was standing there. Maybe he can tell us where the robots are. Hey, don't move and we won't hurt you. Where are all the robots?
Fat Cat gathered them all in the incinerator room. He's threatening to melt them all down because one lady robot keeps trying to lead revolts.
That sounds like my mom. Thanks for the tip. We can't risk you giving us away though, so I'm sure you won't mind us locking you up. Eve shot a rat net at him, which put him in a rat sack. I picked him up and put him in my safety compartment. Come on, let's get to the incinerator room. On days 97 to 98, we entered the incinerator room and saw my mom dangling above the lava pit. We have to save her. Hang on, Mom, we'll get you out. I looked across the room and saw a lever that controlled the device, but then I noticed a rat on the other side of the room watching us. He ran towards the lever. Oh no, you don't. I ran toward the rat while Eve started shooting her laser cannon. It was a close one, but we managed to take him out before he could pull the switch.
Zozo, is it really you?
Mom, I'm so glad to see you're still alive. Where are all the other robots? We have to get everyone out.
Fat Cat is keeping them locked in the next room over. I can get them out, but I don't know how we'll get out of here unnoticed.
There's a secret entrance that we use to get in. You guys can use that to escape.
Thank you, Zozo, and be safe. Fat Cat will be in the main factory. I love you. Good luck.
On day 99, we left the incinerator room and made our way towards the main factory. On our way toward the factory doors, we heard a terrifying voice.
Well, if it isn't little Zozo.
Fat Cat was looking down at us from the factory's second-story window. Fat Cat, the madness has to stop. We're shutting down this factory one way or another.
We'll see about that. Rat pack attack!
Just then, the largest pack of rats I had ever seen came charging at us. This must have been every rat in the factory. Time to see how good my upgrades really were. Bring it on, you little creeps. Eve and I threw everything we had at the rats. With my new abilities, these rats didn't stand a chance. Eve shot them with her laser cannon, and I hit them back with my new gear. Before long, we had managed to take most of them out, which made the remaining rats all run away in fear. Yeah, you better run. Eve and I walked up to the factory door, but before going in, I turned to talk to Eve. Eve, I could really use your help in this fight, but we can't risk you getting hurt. We need you to stay safe so you can shut down the factory.
I understand. And Zozo, there's something else I want to say before you go in there.
Yeah, what is it?
I know you'll make it through this, and I just think everyone should subscribe so they can see what you'll do next.
Wow, that really means a lot to me, Eve. Thank you. I'll see you when it's all done. On day 100, I entered the factory and saw Fat Cat looking down at me from the second-story balcony.
It's over, Zozo. I have the high ground.
What?
This little revolution ends today. I don't care how many rats you kill or how many robots you free. I'll never shut this place down.
And just like that, he attacked. As we exchanged blows, it was clear to me that he was way stronger than I could have thought.
You could have had a great life working in my factory and making me rich, but it looks like it's over for you.
My hearts were getting really low. It didn't look like I was going to make it. But just then, a laser came out of nowhere and hit Fat Cat. Eve! Eve came in and started fighting with Fat Cat, which gave me a second to use my potions and heal up. Then I got back into the fight. You're in trouble now, Fat Cat. As I started to fight, I was able to distract Fat Cat and lead him away. While I did that, Eve snuck around to the main factory shutoff and input her code.
No, my factory!
Suddenly, Fat Cat stopped moving and a tiny cat popped out. He was a cat in a robot suit this whole time.
There he is, boys. Get him.
The pack of rats appeared and chased Fat Cat out of the factory. We did it, Eve! I'm sure the world will return back to normal in no time. Now let's go find my mom. We have a lot of catching up to do. I think Gary would have been proud. On day 1, I spawned in as SHREK. I'm a powerful ogre. No wait, I'm a tiny baby ogre. Nice. Just then, I heard a plop and saw a slime was headed right at me. That's when I noticed I only had a few hearts. I've got to get out of here. I took off running. I was in no state to be fighting anything. Just when I thought I had gotten away, I noticed I had almost run into an entire group of slimes. Whoa, wrong way. I quickly turned and ran off in another direction. This swamp is a dangerous place. Luckily for me, I soon saw a cave and jumped inside. Whew, I think I lost them. I better lay low for the night. I looked around the cave and saw there were a few mushrooms. I picked a few of them and scarfed them down. Where is my family? I'll have to look for them tomorrow. I plopped down in the dirt and went to sleep. On day 2, I woke up and headed out of my cave. There's just got to be more people like me out there. I took another bite of mushrooms. Ugh, these mushrooms aren't very good. Ogres like me are going to need something better to eat than that. I'll have to figure that out later though. I started exploring the swamp when I came across a frog sitting on a lily pad. Hey you, excuse me, but have you seen any other ogres around?
I have, but they aren't here anymore. I'm not sure what direction they went though.
Well, at least I know there's some around here for sure. In the meantime, I decided I needed to start getting some tools together, so I started punching trees to collect some wood. With my freshly gathered wood, I then made myself a wooden sword. Then I made myself a wooden pickaxe. I took off into the swamp again, and soon saw a huge tree trunk sitting in a clearing. Whoa, this must have been a huge tree. I think this could make for a perfect place to live. I dug into the side of it and found that it was hollow. I got right to work and started turning the inside into a home. I only had some basic materials, so I wasn't able to do anything super fancy, but it was going to work great for a starter base. Soon, the hut was complete. This will be much better than sleeping in a cave. On day 3, I stepped out of my hut and set off to look for the ogres the frog had seen. To my surprise, I soon stumbled across an entire village of ogres. I can't believe it! I found my ogre family! I walked up to one of them. Hi, you must be my dad.
Your dad? Do I look like a man to you? I'm your mom, silly.
Whoops, that's what I meant. What are you guys doing hiding so deep in the swamp?
You haven't heard? All the king's horses and all the king's men are out here capturing us. The king hates ogres.
Oh no, why would he do such a thing? What happens to the ogres he captures?
He takes them and forces them to live in his dungeon. We don't really know what happens after that.
We talked a while longer, then my mom decided to show me around the village. It was so nice to finally have a family. But suddenly, the village was attacked by a bunch of knights.
Zozo, run! We'll try to hold them off.
I ran and hid while the knights in my ogre family started to fight. They did their best to fight them all off, but it wasn't enough. They took my parents captive and destroyed anyone else who fought back. No, how could they? From my hiding place, I could hear one of my ogre brothers were stuck. Just then, a door opened and I heard a knight run up to him. A block broke as they dropped him through the floor. Am I next? That's when I started to hear explosions as the knights started placing TNT around the village and setting things on fire. Suddenly, I heard some TNT light right by me and an explosion sent me flying. A while later, I emerged from the swamp I had fallen into and saw the village was in ruins, but deserted. Except for a swamp pig, that is.
Oi, ogre! Was it another attack by the king's men?
Yeah, it was. I think I'm the only one left. They took my entire family.
I'm sorry. This keeps happening to ogre families all over the swamp. Someone needs to do something about it.
I agree, but I'm just a baby. Who could possibly fight off a king and his army? I have a hut not too far from here, though. Do you want to stay with me? It might be safer if we stick together.
Safer? Did you see what happened here? The safest place for me is far away from ogres. Sorry, you seem like a nice guy, but I don't think it'll be safe for me.
I understood and left to go back to my hut. I wasn't strong enough to fight an entire army, but the least I could do is make some simple tools to defend myself. I had found a deposit of cobblestone, so I got to work mining out as much of it as I could. Back at my hut, I got right to work, crafting myself a stone pickaxe, sword, shovel, hoe, and axe. Now, let's make some improvements around here. It was time to truly make this hut a home. Using the materials I had gathered, I began fixing up the room and giving myself a few more comforts. I might be here for a long time, so I made everything as nice as I could, given the circumstances. I even made myself a chimney. I definitely didn't want my house to be full of smoke. I also needed to have a food supply, which looked like it was going to be mushrooms for now. I had found a nice damp cave under my base, so I planted some mushrooms there. That night, I was outside of my base when suddenly a bunch of skeletons attacked. Get back, you fleshless creeps! It was a good thing I had made myself a sword because I might not have been able to fight these guys off. I still wasn't very big, but I was still a tough ogre. Soon, all of the skeletons were defeated. Just then, I felt a surge of power and I grew a little bit in size. And check it out, I even gained more hearts. I was feeling good, but it had been a long day, so I headed back into the hut to rest. On days 4 to 5, I went digging in the mine for some coal. It was bad enough having knights attacking ogres, let alone mobs. Once I had collected enough coal, I made myself some torches, then headed outside to set them up. There we go, that should fix my mob problem. Later that night, I was sitting at my table when I heard a noise outside. More skeletons? What's going on here? I fought them off, but realized they must be spawning from somewhere else and walking over. In the distance, I could see more mobs, so I ran toward them, fighting them off one by one. Where are you guys all coming from? I kept following them through the swamp, taking them out as I went. Eventually, I saw a stone structure with a long stairway leading down under the swamp. Uh-oh, this looks like a huge grave. I don't want to go down there, but I've got to clear these guys out. I headed down the stairs, fighting off zombies. When I got to the bottom, there was a huge group of them. Ah, get away, you brain suckers! There were a lot of them, but they weren't very smart. I got them to all get in a line and started to quickly knock them out, one by one. Eventually, I managed to take the last one out. Phew, I'm glad I got rid of them, but where are they coming from? That's when I had a scary realization. What's inside of the tomb? I nervously cleared the top of the grave and saw there was a spawner inside. Oh, that's the issue. I quickly knocked it out. No more zombie problems for me. Just then, I realized I was really hungry, but I was still a long way away from my base. What was I going to do? I did pick up a bunch of rotten flesh from these guys. I guess it's my only option. I ate a bunch of it and started to feel funny, although it wasn't a bad funny, just a funny. Suddenly, I let out a big burp, releasing a bunch of toxic gas. I let out a little fart too. I hadn't even noticed a zombie had snuck up behind me, but the gas attack made him run away. Oh, nice! I think I just discovered a powerful ability. I ran back out of the grave. As I came to the top, I saw a donkey come wandering out of the trees.
Oh my word, it's an ogre! Run!
Whoa, hang on a second! The donkey took off running into the trees. He was running so fast, he ran straight into some mud and started sinking.
Oh no, it's the end for me! It's over! I can already see the light!
I ran over closer to him. Here, catch this! I threw a rope out to him, which he grabbed onto. Using that, I managed to pull him out of the mud.
Oh my word, you saved me! You're my hero!
What are you doing all the way out here in my swamp?
Well, I was out here with my family, but they fell into mud, just like this. There weren't any ogres around to save them, though.
Oh no, that's horrible. The swamp can be a dangerous place. Why don't you come stay at my hut? It's not far.
Oh, you mean it? That would make my year right there.
We started heading back to the hut. By the way, what's your name?
Donkey, just like my father before me. You may be surprised to know it's actually a pretty common name.
We soon arrived back at the hut, which was surrounded by slimes.
Hang on, I'll take them out.
Donkey charged in without warning. He was a feisty little guy, but got hurt almost right away. I had to jump in too. Luckily, slimes weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. Working together, we managed to clear them all out after a bit of work. That leg doesn't look too good. Come on, you can stay inside. Donkey ran inside and immediately jumped on my bed.
This is gonna be fun. We can stay up late, swapping manly stories, and in the morning, I'm making waffles.
Okay, I guess you can sleep in my bed. I walked over to the armchair and settled in for the night. On day 6 through 8, I started the day by working on a house for Donkey. He was a really nice guy, but I wanted my bed back. I was pretty sure he'd be over the moon when he saw it. Right as I finished, he came running over to me. He was super excited about the new house, but also about what he had found. Just behind the base was a bunch of iron. Nice work, Donkey. I'll go check it out. We ran over to where he had pointed, and sure enough, there was a ton of iron there. I got my pickaxe out and got right to work, mining it all up. With my pockets full of iron, I headed back to the base and filled the furnaces up with iron. While it smelted, I headed back outside to do some more work. I got down in the dirt and carved out a nice path between Donkey's house and my own. I felt like it looked really great. Now let's go check on that iron. The iron had finished smelting, so I used it to make an iron shovel, pickaxe, axe, hoe, and sword. I also had enough to make an iron helmet, chestplate, leggings, and boots. I decided to make Donkey some armor too, just in case he went recklessly charging into battle again. I went outside to meet him. Hey Donkey, I made both of us some iron armor. This should help keep us safe in case we get attacked again.
Nice one, but what are we waiting around for? We've got armor. Let's go defeat the king and save your family.
Donkey, you've got to stop being so reckless. If we just charge into things, we're going to get ourselves hurt. Just then, a giant warped toad came hopping up behind us. Right on cue, Donkey went rushing in and attacked. We're gonna have to work on that. I rushed in as well and we started to fight off the toad. He wasn't super strong, but he sure was big. Together with our new gear though, Donkey and I managed to take him out.
See, we make a great team. We can take the king on.
But don't you see how dangerous that was? We can't just rush into things. We'll need to prepare ourselves if we're going to be taking on an army. Donkey understood, but mentioned he was getting hungry. I tossed over a bunch of mushrooms, which he tossed right back.
Mushrooms are nasty. Here, I have some carrots from a farm I used to work on. How about we start our own farm with these?
I thought that was a great idea, so I picked them all up and got right to work tilling the ground. Once the farm was ready, I planted all of the carrots. There we go. Now Donkey can have a feast. On days 9 to 10, I started my day adding some upgrades to the base, including an outhouse. I had been eating a lot of rotten flesh, so it was better to be safe than sorry. I also had this strange dream where I had met a talking gingerbread man, so I thought it'd be fun to make a giant statue of him. I had started to make the first part out of mud, but once I finished, it didn't look quite right, so I went to have a chat with Donkey. Donkey, you said you used to work at a farm near here, right? Was there wool there?
Oh yeah, tons of wool. Enough wool you can make yourself a million winter coats. But don't you know it's hot out here? Why are you making so many coats?
No, not for coats, for a statue.
Oh, well why didn't you say so?
Donkey told me where to go, but warned me that the farmer there isn't very nice, so I'd have to be careful. Later on, I could see the farm in the distance. As I got closer, I snuck up to the farm, but didn't see the farmer anywhere. Psst, hey, do you mind if I grab some of your wool?
You can have as much wool as you want if you can bust us out of here. This farmer is a jerk.
Yeah, sure, I can help you out. Where is that farmer anyway?
What, you didn't see him? You walked right by him.
As I turned to look around, a stick broke beneath my feet and a tiny, angry goblin came charging at me. He was making a crazy sound, too. Oh, what the heck? Where did you come from? This little farmer goblin was nuts. I tried to talk sense to him, but he just kept making his crazy sounds while he tried to hit me. I took a bite of rotten flesh and could feel myself gassing up. I started letting the burps fly and eventually managed to take him out. Before I went to let the sheep out, I took a look around the farm. Inside of the barn, I found some shears as well as some cocoa beans. This is perfect. Now I can dye the wool brown. From there, I rounded up all of the sheep and headed back toward the base. We took a boat to get across the swamp, and I got right to work building them a new pen. Once their pen was finished, I dyed some of them brown and used the shears to collect the wool. I also took a moment to plant some of the cocoa beans so I could make some cookies later. Oh, and I almost forgot. Using some of the wool, I made an extra bed. There was no way I was going to let Donkey sleep in my bed again. I went and put his new bed in his house, which he was really excited about. On days 11 to 12, I was having a crazy dream. In my dream, I was running through a dungeon and could see my family locked behind bars. I tried to open the door to free them, but it wouldn't budge. Suddenly, I was in a tower that had a long flight of stairs. As I got to the top of the stairs, I saw a fancy door, but it wouldn't open. Nearby, I saw the key. Using the key, I was able to open the door. Inside was the most beautiful ogre I had ever seen in my entire life. She told me that the king was keeping all of the ogres captive, and she needed my help. Suddenly, there was a figure in the doorway. It was the king's henchman. I woke up in a cold sweat. That dream felt too real. It couldn't possibly be real, could it? On days 13 to 15, I ran over to Donkey to have a chat with him about my dream. He had a lot to say about it.
A beautiful ogre? What do you mean a beautiful ogre? Can you smell yourself right now? You're telling me there's a beautiful you out there?
I get it. But come on, you've been to the castle before, right? Surely you must have seen something.
Well, I've been to the farms and the dungeons. Sounds like you definitely saw the dungeons. Never been in the castle though, so I can't say if there's a beautiful ogre inside or not.
Well, what about the henchman? Have you seen someone like that before?
Oh, the henchman. Talk about a real creepy creep. That guy never says a word.
I don't know, you're making him sound kind of nice.
That guy will just stare at you, and they say he's never lost a fight. If you think you're gonna go beat him up, you better think again.
Well, maybe we won't go get in a fight, but I think we need to go and just see what's going on there. If my family is really there, I've got to help rescue them. Since I was still pretty small, Donkey let me ride on his back. He kept chatting my ear off until we came to a bridge. It's so foggy here. Let's cross this by foot. Donkey and I started crossing the bridge when we soon came across a troll.
Answer my question on the first try, or get it wrong and prepare to die.
A question? Sure, go ahead.
What is your name?
My name? It's Zozo.
What? But you're the green ogre from that movie. That's not your name.
Donkey, what is he talking about?
Don't look at me. I have no idea.
Oh, whatever. On guard.
The troll attacked us. We couldn't waste any more time with this guy. Did he really think I didn't know my own name? Donkey managed to get him lined up against the railing and headbutted him over the edge.
I'll be back.
Huh, I guess he thinks he'll survive the fall. Come on, Donkey, let's go. Donkey and I continued across the bridge, coming across the other side. On day 16 to 19, we were continuing toward the castle when we saw a village in the distance. Greetings, humans! The villagers immediately started to scream and run away. Donkey did say it smelled bad, but I didn't think it was that bad. Since everyone had run away, I figured I may as well help myself to some of their crops. I managed to get myself plenty of wheat and a nice stack of seeds. But at least now I can start a wheat farm of my own. As I went to grab some more crops, there was a noise in the trees and a huge wildkin came out of the forest. Whoa, no wonder those humans were all running away. They must have been scared of you. Donkey, stay back! I tried to fight him, but he was too strong. I started running away when suddenly a tiny cat came out of nowhere, taking out the wildkin. Whoa, you're super strong. We could use someone like you on our team.
I am flattered, senor, but please, I have my own mission to complete.
It's okay, I understand. We'll see you around then.
You will not see me, but I may see you.
Okay, On days 20 to 22, Donkey and I could see the castle in the distance. As we got closer, we saw that there was a village on the edge that was completely falling apart. What happened to this village? Why is it so run down this close to the castle? Donkey had no idea either. We decided to wait in the village for nighttime, then we'd go take a look around. Once night had come, we snuck up to the castle walls and used some blocks to stack up and look over the top. What I saw shocked me. Oh no, the ogres! The king's knights had gathered even more ogres, and look who was inspecting them. The henchman from my dream. He's real. I wonder if that means everything else is real too. Just then, I noticed someone looking out from the castle balcony. It was the girl from my dream. Wow, she's even more beautiful in real life. Just then, I heard a shout behind me. A guard had found me and was calling for backup. I had no choice but to fight him off. We exchanged blows, but I managed to knock him out pretty easily. Just then, there was a huge surge of energy, and I grew to be even bigger than before. I felt stronger than before too. I looked up at the girl on the balcony and could see she had noticed me. I had no time to say anything though, as I was suddenly surrounded by more knights. I had to get out of there. Here's something for ya. I let out a little fart and jumped off the wall into a pond. Some guards were trying to capture Donkey, so I hurried to help him out. I was too big to ride him now though. We were going to have to run. Donkey, it's the henchman. Come on, let's get out of here. We ran off into the forest, losing them in the trees. Before we got too far away though, I hopped up a tree to get one more look at the princess. That's when a tiny child prince, no wait, it was a man. A tiny man grabbed her and pulled her inside. That must have been the king. He's trying to hide her away, just like my family. I'll be back for all of them. On days 23 to 26, Donkey and I arrived back at the base. I went to go look at the sheep and saw they had made a nice stack of wool for me. Turns out, they had been shearing themselves. Wow, these guys are even smarter than I thought.
Yeah, we heard that.
Then I went over to take a look at my cocoa beans and saw they had grown in. I'll be able to make even more brown dye now. Since I had gathered a bunch of seeds from the village, I also got right to work setting up a wheat farm. Rotten flesh gave me a superpower, but I couldn't just eat that all the time. Not to mention, I'm gonna be able to make cookies. Who doesn't want that? Next up, I got to work expanding the base. If I was going to rescue the princess and have her come back to live here, she needed to be impressed. I decided that I would make my base feel more like a castle, so she would feel just as fancy. With the improvements finished, it was finally time to get back to work on that statue. With my new brown wool, I was able to start building the statue the way I was imagining it. I thought it was looking a lot better. By the way, we're going to need all the help we can get in order to save the princess, so click the subscribe button or we'll never win. On days 27 to 31, I headed out of my base to go look for more supplies. As I explored, I realized the swamp had changed. I was in a mangrove swamp. This place was definitely much more spooky than the swamp I called home. But why are there so many bats? I was so distracted by the bats, I almost didn't see the zombies and skeletons who attacked me. Uh-oh, don't get too close to me, get away! I got some hits in, but there were too many of them. Their arrows were really starting to hurt too. And just when I thought things couldn't get any worse, even more zombies and skeletons jumped into the fight. I think this might be the end for me. When all hope seemed lost, another ogre suddenly came running over. He was really strong too, knocking mobs out left and right. Whoa, where did you come from? This ogre even used a burp ability, but it was way more powerful than mine. He also had an explosive fart attack that was really clearing the place out. Together, we fought off the rest of the mobs and finally had a chance to chat. Thank you for saving me. I thought it was the end for me.
You're strong, but you could be stronger. Come with me.
The ogre led me deeper into the swamp, and we eventually came across a small hut. I like your house, but what are you doing out here all alone?
I used to live with my family, but the king's men came and captured them. I was much weaker then, so all I could do is run away. I've been out here training and honing my abilities, so that one day I could save them.
Well, you seem pretty strong to me. Why haven't you tried to save them yet?
The truth is, I'm too scared. Saving you is the first time I've really tried using my full abilities in a full fight. It works, but I don't know.
Well, maybe if we fight together? Although I'm not nearly as strong as you are.
Well, that's not a problem. I can teach you everything I know.
That would be amazing. On days 32 to 35, my training began. My new friend, whose name was SHREK, had me doing all kinds of crazy exercises. First off, I had to run around a track, which he said would help build up my endurance. After a few laps, we headed over to the bag to get some punches in.
Smack that bag like you mean it. What are you, a pixie?
After that was the scariest one, walking the beam over a pool of lava. SHREK seemed to really enjoy watching me do that one. Next was parkour.
Jump, Zozo, jump. Deliver the unexpected. No one is ready for a leaping ogre.
Next was swordplay with the dummies, but more than that, I was learning to fight multiple bad guys at once. After that, I ran over to the rope climb and made my way to the top. Done! That wasn't so bad.
Yes, good for you. Now do it again.
After many hours of training, SHREK pulled me aside to chat.
Okay, let's see that burp power of yours. What are you using to power it?
I ate some rotten flesh and let out a burp.
That's really not bad. But to truly complete your training, you must defeat the King Slime.
SHREK told me where I needed to go, and I set off for my next challenge. After a while, I could see the King Slime hopping atop a hill, wearing his crown. Bring it on, Slime Ball! I jumped into battle, swinging my sword. I had fought slime before, but this guy was definitely stronger than any of the other ones. His jello punches were certainly powerful. If I can just remember my training, I can defeat him. I thought about the jumping, the balance, the strengthening, all of it had built me for this moment. I swung my sword for a final time, destroying the Slime King. Got him! I noticed that he had dropped something. Suspicious stew. Oh, gross. This is probably made of slime. At least I don't have to eat it. I took off to go tell Grek that my training was complete. On days 36 to 39, I had arrived back at Grek's house. Well, I've done it. I defeated the Slime King.
Very nicely done, but your training is not complete.
What do you mean? I thought I just had to beat the Slime King.
There's still one more thing to be done. That suspicious stew? Eat it.
Oh man, you can't be serious. I took out the stew and drank it down. My stomach started to rumble. This didn't feel right. Suddenly, I let out a huge fart, blowing a hole in the wall. Whoops, I didn't mean to do that.
But now you can mean to do that. Your fart ability is now yours to control.
We got right to work fixing up his shack. I was really excited about my new power. Once the shack was fixed, I invited Grek to come live at my base with me.
Thanks for the offer, but I think I'll stay out here and continue my training. But here, take these enchantments. They will help you be faster in water and do more damage to the undead.
I stepped over to Grek's anvil and added the enchantments to my sword. I was already feeling better about my chances. I soon left Grek's house and started journeying back to my base. Along the way, I ran into some more zombies and skeletons like before, but this time, I was all powered up. With my new fart power locked and loaded, I managed to blow them out of my way while I hit them with my sword. Amazing that only a few days ago this would have ended me, and now I could fight them off with ease. On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at my base, but it was under attack. As I got closer, I could see a Zautar was attacking. Hang on, Donkey, I'm coming to help. Donkey had been doing his best to defend the sheep, but I could tell he was losing. It's a good thing I had gotten there when I did. The Zautar was really tough. Let's see how you like the smell of this. I unleashed my new fart bombs, which he really didn't like. To be fair, no one else around seemed to really like it either, apart from the fact it was only hurting the bad guy. At long last, I was able to land the final blow and destroy the Zautar for good. That's when I saw he dropped an enchanted book. Oh look, it's an efficiency enchantment. I could use this to mine more material faster. Donkey heard what I said and came over to chat.
I saw some funny looking blue rocks in a cave nearby. That mean anything to you?
Sounds like diamonds. I headed over to the cave Donkey had found, and sure enough, it had several diamond blocks. I hopped on down and managed to quickly mine out a bunch of them. These will be great for upgrading our gear. Back at the base, I went over to the crafting table and used my newly gathered diamonds. I was able to make Donkey a new set of armor. Then I used what was left to make myself a new set of tools, including a sword. I'll have to find more later to make armor, but this will work great for now. On days 44 to 49, I wanted to improve the base to look even more like a castle, so I headed out to find some more materials. As I was exploring the swamp, I came across some old ruins. It had the perfect blocks I needed to improve the base. Problem was, it was full of banshees. Oh, you guys are so creepy. The banshee was really scary, but I had a base that needed to look cool, so how could I let a creepy monster like that keep me out? I kept mining out as much material as I could while fighting banshees off along the way. And look at these chests. They have lots of emeralds inside. I'll have to find something good to do with these. Soon enough, I had gathered all of the material I needed and got out of there. On days 50 to 53, I returned to my base and started using the materials I had gathered. I never thought I would be someone who lived in a castle, but the look was really starting to grow on me. Once I had finished with my improvements for the day, I did a little bit more work on the statue. The sheep had given me a fresh stack of wool, so it was the right time to get going on the next part of the build. As I was building, I thought about how funny it would be to meet a talking gingerbread man. That would just be crazy. As I was finishing up the statue, I heard a croak nearby and saw a group of frogs.
Hey, we've been watching you and seeing what you're building out here. It's mad impressive.
Thanks, guys. Glad you think so.
We do. We were also hoping we could live here, too. We've just been thinking, if the king is capturing green things like you, what's gonna stop him from capturing green things like us? We'd feel much safer living here.
It's hard to argue with that logic. Let me get you guys set up. With the frogs ready to move in, I had to hurry and build them their own place. It wasn't anything super fancy, but I'm pretty sure it was fancy enough for a frog. Soon, it was complete, and the frogs were able to all move in. On days 54 to 57, I went to go see Donkey, but he was gone. I looked around and saw a note had been left behind. Looks like he decided to go find me some diamonds. Very recklessly, I must add. I better go find him. He could easily get into trouble. The frogs were awake, so I went over to them to ask if they had seen where Donkey had gone. They said they had seen him wandering off and pointed me in the direction I needed to go. I wandered off really far from the base, but still couldn't find him. Just then, I could hear him crying out in the distance. I ran toward the noise, but stopped before I got too close. Donkey was under attack by a group of knights, led by the henchmen. I watched from a distance as they demanded to know where my base was. Lucky for me, and for the first time in his life, Donkey didn't say a word. They started taking him away. Hang on, buddy, I'm coming to rescue you. But before I could charge in, a Zautar started attacking the group of knights. The henchman quickly swung his sword and defeated it in no time. Oh man, he beat them so fast. There's no way I could take him on now. Best thing I can do is follow them. As I followed the band of knights, we soon arrived in a savannah where I could see they were taking Donkey into a fortress. This must be the the henchman's personal base. I'll have to get geared up and come back. Stay strong, Donkey. On days 58 to 62, I made my way to Grek's hut out in the swamp. I was going to have to get a lot stronger if I was going to save Donkey. I soon arrived and met up with Grek. I have bad news. Donkey has been captured by the henchmen. I need to get stronger so I can rescue him.
Well, the henchmen, you say? I may have something that can help with that.
He explained that he had been working on special ogre armor, but needed some specific materials to finish crafting it. But in order to get it, I had to travel to the Mushroom Islands. Blah, more mushrooms? I thought I had left those behind for good. But for Donkey, I'll do it. I traveled back out into the world and eventually made it to the Mushroom Islands. As I walked along, I was suddenly attacked by a bunch of mungi. Eating mushrooms was bad enough. Now I have to fight them too? These guys were a crazy little bunch, and I was getting sick of them trying to hurt me. I wasn't strong enough to fight the henchmen, but I was more than strong enough to knock these guys out of the way. Just then, I saw something terrible. Is that a giant mungus? The monster was throwing mushrooms at me too. It felt like this entire place was made just to taunt me for my dislike for mushrooms. I managed to get cover behind some giant mushrooms and jumped out to strike. The strategy worked well, and eventually I landed the final blow. That's enough living mushrooms for me. I saw the giant mungus had dropped a deathcap mushroom. This must be what Grek was after. Just then, I felt my strength begin to grow, and I grew into a full-sized ogre. And look how many hearts I have now. On days 63 to 66, I had left the Mushroom Islands and returned to Grek's house.
Zozo, look at you. You're all leveled up. You look great.
And I even got the mushroom you were looking for. Grek was so excited, and he quickly got to work. After a few moments, the new armor was ready, which he gave to me. This new armor fits great, and is so strong. I can't believe mushrooms could be used for something I'd actually like. I asked Grek if he was sure he wanted to stay here, and this time, he agreed to move to my base with me. He said after I had left, he was feeling a new kind of loneliness, and decided he would be happier with me and everyone else. Back at the base, I got right to work, constructing him his own place to live. I was glad he had decided to move in with everyone. No one should have to live such a lonely life. Soon, I had finished building his place.
Thanks for this, Zozo. I'm glad you were so weak I had to save you.
Aha, very funny. But I'm glad you're here too. How do you feel about going on a second rescue mission? I feel like I'm ready to save Donkey.
I'm sorry. I wish I could, but I don't think I can. I'm just too scared. There's something about that henchman that makes it too hard for me to face him. I'm sorry.
That's okay. I know that with all of your training, I'll be able to do it. He smiled as we both looked off in the distance. I had subscribed to his methods and was rewarded. Now you just need to subscribe so we can keep adventuring together. After a long day, I headed back to my house. That's when I realized I could no longer fit through the front door. Oh man, this is no good. Well, just one way to fix it. I backed up and charged at the doorway, breaking the block with my head. Now I was able to enter my house and close the door. Ah, perfect. On days 67 to 70, I had arrived back at the henchman's fort. It was time to save Donkey. I feel like with my strength and armor, nothing can stop me, even the henchmen. I ran up to the fort, knocking guards out of my way. I used every attack I had, doing my best to take as little damage as possible. The new armor was pretty amazing though, and I felt very protected. There were a lot of knights here, but I wasn't afraid. Don't worry, Donkey, here I come. I kept pushing and knocking knights out of my way. As I fought, I had also picked up a crossbow. I figured that might come in handy at some point. Eventually, I had made it outside the henchman's room. It was time. On day 71 to 74, I stepped into the henchman's room. I could see him sitting on a throne. Donkey was nearby too, trapped in his cage. He was pretty happy to see me.
Zozo, you're here!
Let my friend go, or prepare to be destroyed. The henchman didn't say anything. I guess you really don't talk, do you? Aha! We leapt into battle, exchanging blows. It was made clear really quickly I wasn't ready for this fight. Even with my new strength and armor, I was getting beat. I tried my burping attacks and my farting explosions, and nothing seemed to hurt him. But just then, Donkey called out with some advice.
Zozo, the switch! Hit the switch on the wall!
That's when I noticed that it was connected to a cage hanging from the ceiling. I got the henchman lined up under it, then hit the button, dropping the cage.
You did it! I'm saved! Free at last! Free at last!
I broke Donkey's cage, letting him out. I saw that there was a treasure chest nearby, so I went over to search it. This thing is full of netherite. That must be how his armor is so strong. I collected everything so I could use it later. I also opened a note from the king. According to this note, the ogre from the castle is an actual princess, not just a princess to me. Now I really have to rescue her. On days 75 to 78, Donkey and I busted out of the fort and made our way back to the base. Once we were back, Donkey pulled me aside to chat.
Oh man, Zozo, I feel terrible. I'm glad to see you didn't get hurt trying to rescue me.
It's okay, Donkey. You've just got to be more careful next time. That reminded me, I could never be too careful and needed to upgrade my gear. Using the netherite I had taken from the henchman, I was able to upgrade my pickaxe, shovel, sword, and axe. Next up, base improvements. Enchanting was a key part of improving my equipment, so I decided to add in some bookshelves to beef up the enchantment table's abilities. Then I headed outside and worked on the entryway, replacing all the woodwork with stone. Now I could have a proper door, too. Later on, I was inside my house when Greg came to talk to me.
Someone has been busy. This place looks great. I found something that I thought you could use.
Greg tossed passed out a fire aspect book. Oh, awesome, this is just what I needed. I grabbed the book and headed over to my enchanting table. Using the enchantment, I upgraded my netherite sword. Now it had a cool fire effect to it. Now I'll be too hot to handle. On day 79 to 84, I was too tempted to try out the new sword, so I took it out to the swamp. There were some jungle zombies nearby, so I got right to work putting it to the test. Oh man, this thing is a beast. I can't wait to use it against some castle knights. Just then, a creeper snuck up behind me and exploded. Ah, that really hurt. But what's that? The creeper's explosion had opened up a hidden cave. As I looked over the edge, another creeper exploded behind me, knocking me in. As I went into the cave, I saw it was filled with monsters. Oh, why couldn't it have been full of jewels? Or even better, cookies? I kept fighting my way through, taking some good hits, though my new equipment was next level, and I was able to cut through many rounds of baddies. As I continued fighting, I soon saw the cave open into a bigger room with a big mushroom in the middle. What's the deal with all the mushrooms everywhere? Suddenly, the mushroom exploded, revealing a monster. Wow, why is this here? What was going on? It's like my entire life was mocking my distaste for mushrooms by making all the mushrooms I came across attack me. This just wasn't cool. Back off, you evil demon mushroom. Trust me, I don't want to eat you. This guy was super freaky, but I would rather eat a mushroom than be destroyed by one. I swung my fire sword and finally took it out. As he disappeared, I saw it dropped a giant mushroom. I picked it up, but saw its inscription said that I should eat it only in times of need. Who knows? Maybe it could come in handy. On days 85 to 89, I had made it back to the base and went to talk to Greg. I told him all about how well the sword had worked and even about my battle with the mushrooms. I don't think he believed me, but he said he did. I finally feel like I'm ready to try and rescue my family. It was then that I remembered how the ogre princess will need somewhere to live once we broke her out, and this place was far from being nice enough for royalty. So with that in mind, I got to work, adding even more upgrades to the base. Hopefully no one else would want to attack us, but if they did, we'd need to build a decent wall. It was going to be a simple addition, but I think it made a big difference. Speaking of builds, I decided it was time to finish the statue. I was really liking how the gingerbread man was looking. It was almost like he could start talking at any moment. As I finished up, I remembered I had planted ingredients to make my own cookies. I knew what I had to do next. On days 90 to 94, I spent the days gathering up as much wheat and cocoa as I could. I was going to need a lot of ingredients for all the cookies I had to make. If I'm going to bake these cookies right though, I need a proper kitchen. I thought the place looked a little classier with a better kitchen too. Once the kitchen was complete, I made as many cookies as I could. With all the cookies baked, I then spent the day passing out all the cookies to my new friends. I told them all how I was sad my family had been kidnapped, but was grateful for each of them. We really felt like a big, happy adopted family. With all the cookies passed out, it was time to go to the castle. Before I could leave though, Donkey came to talk to me.
Zozo, you really think I'm gonna let you go charging in there all alone?
You'll have to let me, Donkey. You remember how dangerous it was, and plus, if things go wrong, everyone here will need someone to lead them. I can't think of anyone better than you. Donkey was really grateful to be so trusted and thanked me for being his friend. That was that, and it was time to go. On days 95 to 97, I was traveling back toward the castle when I came across a weird robot stuck in the sand. Hang on, little guy, I'll help you. I rushed over to him and dug him out with a shovel. Yahoo, thank you. I was worried my battery was going to run out. Hey, wait a second. Have we met? Are you serious? Of course we have. I'm you. Oh, that's right. I almost forgot I spent 100 days as a robot. That was one of the craziest adventures. That fat cat was so greedy. Oh man, tell me about it. It was also sad. We lost some good friends along the way. Very true. I'm hoping I can save some family and friends right now. Wait, you're in the middle of an adventure right now? What are you talking to me for? Go, go, go! The little robot zoomed away. Yeah, I better get going. But seriously, after this video, go check out my robot adventure. A while later, I arrived back at the village outside of the castle. I could see the place was full of knights who were being mean to the villagers. Hey you, leave them alone! I charged in and started taking out all of the knights. I wasn't afraid of anyone now that I was big and strong. Soon enough, the knights were all defeated and some villagers came over to me.
Thank you for rescuing us. But you're an ogre? We had always heard ogres were evil.
Yeah, well, it might be best to not always judge people by how they look or believe everything you hear. Some people might surprise you. Just then, I noticed more knights and rushed off to fight. I couldn't believe people could say such mean things about ogres. I had to hurry and save everyone. Then they'd see how nice ogres really are. On day 98, I entered the castle grounds. The guards continued to swarm in, attacking me like a pack of hornets. As I fought them, I noticed that I was being watched. Up on the balcony, I could see the tiny king and the princess. Don't worry, I'm coming! The tiny king pulled her back into the room. I had to hurry. I managed to fight off the rest of the knights, then headed into the tower. I entered the throne room, but the king wasn't there. The henchman, get out of my way. The henchman stared at me and said nothing. You give me the creeps. What do you think about this? I walked up to him and threw out a cookie. He picked up the cookie and stared at it. Even though he didn't say anything, I could tell he was confused. Distraction! Hi-ya! I swung my sword and hit him, lighting him on fire. He swung back and the fight was on. I couldn't back down this time, and there was no cages to trap him in. It was either him or me. How can you support the king? He's hurting innocent animals and ogres. The henchman didn't care and kept hitting me with his heavy blows. I was stronger, but he was still just as dangerous as ever. Our fight had led us to the top of some stairs and into a narrow hallway. It was a close battle, and I was starting to wonder if I could actually beat him. I managed managed to land a good hit when suddenly his helmet disintegrated and he was revealed to be an ogre. What the? You're an ogre? But wait a second, why do you look so familiar? Just then, the wall exploded and SHREK came through the wall.
Zozo, wait! This ogre, he's my brother.
Your brother? Just then, the henchman spoke. SHREK, you old softy, get out of my way.
No, SHREK, I've been too afraid of you for too long. Zozo here has taught me what it means to be brave.
Oh, how cute. You've got yourself your first friend. No wonder, you're both losers.
Zozo, you go on and save the princess. I'll handle my brother. His greed has caused him to forget what matters in life.
Handle me, will ya? I'll show you. I hurried and ran out of the room as I heard the two ogres begin to fight. I had to get to the princess. On day 99, I ran into the next room and recognized it as the tower from my dream. That's when a bunch of knights started attacking me again. You little tin heads better get out of my way. I knocked them out left and right, throwing them down the stairs. I was going to make it to the top no matter what. Eventually, I reached the top and opened the fancy doors. The king and princess were inside. How can you call yourself a king, hurting innocent animals and creatures in your kingdom?
A king? Please. I am a lord. Lord Farquaad.
All right then, Lord Farquaad. Your cruelty has gone on long enough. This is the end.
Not so fast, ogre.
Suddenly, Lord Farquaad pulled out a potion and drank it down. He grew and turned into a horrible-looking monster, blowing the roof off the castle.
Oh, who is the big guy now? Wait, why is my voice an even higher pitch than before? Whatever. Bye-bye, ogre.
He attacked. I don't know what he drank, but he definitely wasn't the little guy anymore. His hits really hurt. I managed to get some hits on him, but even on fire, he couldn't be stopped.
You pesky ogres, your time is over.
Just then, I remembered something. The magical growth mushroom. I was really hoping I'd never have to use this. Hopefully it helps. I gulped down the mushroom. It was disgusting, but it worked. I grew to a massive size, and I gained even more hearts. Oh yeah, I'll show you who the big guy is.
It doesn't matter. I'll still defeat you.
We jumped at each other and continued to fight. He was strong, but I was stronger. Why are you doing this? Why are you keeping all these ogres as prisoners?
You see that ugly brute standing over there? I paid good money for someone to go and pick her up for me. And when she arrived, she had been cursed by a witch. How could I ever love something that looks like that?
Wow, this guy was such a jerk. How could he be so mean? He had started doing ground attacks too, which did some real damage.
They told me that she would look like that until she fell in love. Can you believe that? So I figured I could just get her to fall in love with another ugly ogre. Then once she was back to normal, I could take her back. But you ogres aren't just ugly, you're violent too.
Clearly you don't understand how love works, and you definitely don't understand ogres. It was time to end this. I focused as hard as I could and landed the final blow. The fire then finished him off. He was defeated. Princess, are you okay?
Yeah, I'm fine. Thank you for getting rid of him. By the way, my name is Fiona.
Fiona, it's great to finally meet you. I'm Zozo. I'm sorry to hear you've been cursed. Is there anything we can do to help that?
No, unfortunately, curse rules are curse rules. Only way to break it is if I fall in love. But you know what? I actually really like being an ogre. Every ogre I've talked to has been so nice. And besides, love takes time to blossom. It's not something that can happen overnight.
That's true. Hopefully you find the right person someday. But in the meantime, could you help me? I have to rescue my family.
I know where the ogres are being held. Follow me.
On day 100, I followed Fiona down and into the dungeons. My family was all here. Guys, it's me, Zozo. I'm here to rescue you. Fiona and I broke all the cages, letting everyone free. They couldn't believe I had made it all the way here to rescue them. It was a great reunion. Before I left, though, I met back up with SHREK. He was looking over the balcony and was sad. SHREK, what happened with your brother?
We had an epic fight, and I managed to corner him on this balcony. It was clear I was going to beat him, and he jumped over the edge and escaped. Before he left, though, he said he was going to find himself out in the swamp. I can only hope he finds himself a good friend like I did, who can help him become a better man.
Wow, I hope so too. By the way, this is Fiona.
Charmed to meet you, lassie.
Likewise.
Maybe love could blossom faster than we thought. We soon left the castle and returned to the base. Donkey was really excited to see me, and we all celebrated. It looked like the swamp was once again a safe place to live. For now. On day 1, I spawned in as a stray cat. I've only got a few hearts, but look how quick I am. I noticed that I was starting to feel hungry, so I immediately started looking for food. As I explored, I soon saw a small village up ahead. I checked one of the houses and noticed that there was some meat on the table. Oh, perfect, just what I need. I hopped up on the table and grabbed it.
Hey, get out of my house!
The human clearly didn't want me here. I wasn't ready for a fight, so all I could do was run. I kept running until I was back in the woods from before. Why was he so mean to me? This is going to be a hard 100 days if no one wants to be my friend. I kept exploring the woods when I saw a group of cats up ahead. More cats! Hi, guys!
Oh, hey, you must be new around here. We were just trying to figure out how we were going to get some dinner.
You're telling me? I just took some meat from one guy's house and he chased me all around. But here, I'll share it with you guys. The cats were really thankful and excited about the meat. They must have been really hungry. I was glad to have met them. We were going to have all kinds of great adventures together. Before we had realized it, night had fallen. That was when we were suddenly attacked by a zombie.
Quick, into the trees!
My new cat friends had all climbed into the trees, but I wasn't fast enough. I had no choice but to fight. Luckily, the zombie wasn't very strong, and I was able to fight him off. But that was just one, and a whole group of skeletons were suddenly on me. I've got to get away! I ran off and soon saw a thick tree. I hurried and punched a hole in it where I was able to crawl inside, away from the skeletons. That was way too risky. I'll have to stay in here for the night. On day 2, I woke up to one of my new cat friends punching a hole in the tree.
Come on, Zozo, we've got to start looking for food.
What do you mean? I thought cats got to lay around and be lazy all day.
That's just house cats. Strays like us have to work hard all day to survive. Come on.
I hopped out of the tree and got to work punching some trees and collecting wood. With the wood I collected, I made a crafting table, then used the crafting table to make a wood pickaxe, shovel, axe, and sword. I'm gonna have to get even more wood if I'm gonna make myself a proper base. Using my new wood axe, I got to work chopping down some more wood. That's when I heard the sound of a spider and was suddenly attacked. Back off, you creepy crawler. The claws were still stronger than a wooden sword, so I swung them and managed to take the spider out. Not too much later, even more spiders attacked. I was really quick and nimble, so I had no problem taking them out too. Alright, that's enough spider fighting. I need to get working on that base. I climbed up a nearby tree and started working on a treehouse. It was hard enough that we would have to scrounge for food. We didn't need to be constantly fighting off mobs too. Speaking of food though, I saw a small bird had landed on the other side of my treehouse. Ooh, that bird looks delicious. I positioned myself, then sprang forward, missing the platform. There was a loud crunch as I hit the ground. I landed on my feet, but falling from a big height still hurt. To my surprise though, my health started going up. That's when a counter appeared, showing that my 9 lives were now down to 8. Just then, my cat friend came running over.
Oh, thank goodness. I heard you fall and was worried it might have been your last life.
Nope, I've still got 8 to go.
Oh, well, you're lucky. The rest of us have been strays for a while, and we're all down to our last one. Hopefully you're never in our position.
There was no time to talk though, as suddenly a pack of wolves came out of nowhere and attacked.
Zozo, run!
We all split up and ran off in different directions. Why were these wolves chasing us?
Come here, you little snack.
Oh, because they wanted to eat us. Of course. I managed to jump into my tree and climb up to the top. Thankfully, the wolves were too big to fit in my tree.
You got away this time, but we'll be back. You can't get away from our boss.
I didn't like the sound of that, but at least for now, they were leaving me alone. As long as I can climb trees, I'm sure I'll be safe. Later, my cat friends climbed up with me, and together we all watched the sunset. At least we all had each other. On day 3, I woke up to a terrifying sound. The sound of wolf howls. It was scary, but we were still safe in the trees. But that's when I saw him. What is that? A giant wolf monster was headed our way. This must be the other wolf's boss.
You can't hide from me.
The monster wolf climbed up the side of the tree, up onto our platform. Watch out, guys, run! We all ran off in different directions, but it was too late. The wolves managed to get all of my friends, knocking them out one by one. No, my friends! There was nothing more I could do. Somehow I was the lucky one, and they didn't notice me up in the tree. As the wolves left, all I could think about was how alone I felt. Those wolves are gonna pay for what they've done. Mark my words. On days 4 to 5, I woke up in my unfinished base. It's not safe here in the forest. I'll have to find a new place to live. I left the forest and headed off. I had heard once that cats were originally desert animals, so I decided I would find a desert far from here to live in. I'm sure wolves won't like the desert heat too. A desert will be twice as safe. As I entered the desert, I decided that I was going to build the greatest cat tower the world had ever seen. Plus, it would be really safe to live in. Triple safety. If I'm gonna do this, I've gotta get stoned, and lots of it. I found myself a nice cave and snuck down into it, mining up as much stone as I could. While I was down there, I also made sure to grab some coal that could be used to power my furnace later. Let's get crafting. Using a crafting table, I used my new stone to make myself a stone pickaxe. I also made myself a stone shovel, sword, and axe. Next up, wood. I needed tons of wood, so much that I cleared out an entire area of trees. With my inventory now full of all the building supplies I needed, I started to build the first level of my cat tower that would also double as my starter base. Once I had finished the outside, I got to work filling up the inside. I put up some pictures as well as all the tables I was going to need. Soon, the first level was complete. All right, I think this is going to be a very safe place for me to live. Just as I was saying that, there was an explosion that blew a hole in my wall. What was that? I took a closer look and saw that the base was under attack by creepers. Luckily, there was only one more, so I tried to fight it off. It exploded too, but at least it didn't cause any additional damage to the base. Looks like I better put some torches out. I got right to work, surrounding the base with as many torches as I could. I didn't even want to risk having more creepers blowing me up in the night. Once all the torches were out, I was feeling a little hungry. That's when I saw some desert rabbits hopping around nearby. Dinner! I ran around after the rabbits until I finally managed to take one down. I cooked the meat back at the base, then chowed down. That sure was tasty, but I'm gonna have to find out an easier way to eat if I'm going to live here much longer. On day 6 to 8, I got up and headed out the door. It was enough delay. I needed to start getting ready to fight back against the wolves. It wasn't too long and I found myself heading down into a cave. Time to find some iron. Just inside the cave were several iron veins, so I got right to work mining them all out. After a while, I had gotten plenty of iron, and I heard a growl behind me. Who's there?
What are you doing in my cave? Leave now or I'll be forced to take you down.
Please, I just wanted to collect some iron. These evil wolves destroyed all of my friends, and now I have nowhere to call home.
I know your pain. My family was taken from me when I was young too. Not by wolves, but by poachers at a nearby village. I've been all alone ever since.
Why don't you take revenge on those poachers? Have you seen yourself? You're a big, powerful lion.
I never really thought about it. I guess I didn't realize just how big I've gotten.
Yeah, let's do it. Although first I've got to drop this stuff off at my base. You can come along if you'd like. The lion and I ran back over to my base. When we arrived, the lion was impressed.
Wow, this is quite the place you've got here. Much better than my cold cave.
Thanks. Give me a bit here to get ready to go. I tossed the iron I had collected into the furnace and smelted it all down. When it was done, I got crafting and made myself a full set of iron armor. I even made myself a full set of iron equipment, which the lion was really impressed by. Turned out he was actually really nice. Oh, and his name was Lenny. On days 9 to 10, Lenny and I traveled to the village where the poachers were living. As soon as we got there, we could see the poachers. There were tons of small animals in cages, and they even had the lion's family's heads mounted on the wall. These guys were sick. Lenny wasted no time and attacked. I tried to jump in too so that I could help as much as possible. Lenny was so strong and managed to take most of them out. Suddenly, a couple of poachers surrounded him, and it wasn't looking good. Heads up! I jumped down from above and managed to take out the poachers. There were a few more left, but together we were able to take them all out. Nice job, Lenny. I know it can't replace your family, but at least justice has been served.
Thank you for encouraging me, Zozo. I feel much better than I did before. I also feel hungry. These little birds look delicious.
Oh, hang on. I know we like to eat meat, but these guys don't deserve the same fate as your family. Let's let them go. Lenny was disappointed but agreed, so we let them all out of their cages. I'm pretty sure some of them got away from Lenny just a little faster than they normally would have. We then headed over to the nearby farm and gathered up as many seeds as we could. If we really wanted to help animals, it looked like we might have to get used to a little more grain in our diets. Except when it comes to chickens. I took out a few chickens to eat later. I was still a carnivore after all. With all that out of the way, I asked Lenny if he wanted to live at my base with me, to which he happily agreed. Back at the base, I got right to work making Lenny his own bedroom. I felt bad he had been living in a cold cave alone all this time, so I did my best to make it really nice. On days 11 to 12, I went to find Lenny to ask him some questions. I asked him if he knew anything about the huge wolf that had taken out his family, but he said he wasn't sure. There was, however, a wise elephant that I could ask. I made my way to a nearby savanna to find the elephant. I tried asking all the animals I passed, but none of them seemed to know who I was talking about. As I was looking, I was suddenly attacked by a pack of hyenas. Leave me alone, you giggle freaks! I managed to hurt some of the hyenas, but there were way too many of them. I was still just a little cat and had to get out of there. I managed to make it out of there, which is when I saw a baby elephant. Oh, I bet they know something. I ran over to them. Hey, I'm looking for a wise old elephant. Do you know where I can find them?
I do. Come with me. I can show you.
As we traveled, I noticed she seemed kind of sad. I soon found out why. We arrived in an elephant graveyard, and she brought me to a grave.
This is the elephant you're looking for. She was my grandmother and raised me after my parents died. I'm sorry to say, but she passed recently.
I'm sorry to hear that. I heard she was able to help a lot of people.
She was. In fact, she taught me how to help people the way she did. She would look into the water and could see things.
Do you think you'd be able to help me? A wolf has been destroying all of my friends and their families. I need to find him and stop him.
I would, but I'm too scared to try it by myself.
Before I could say another word, though, the hyenas from earlier attacked. But this time I couldn't run away. I had to protect my new friend. As I was fighting the hyenas, the baby elephant ran away. It was a hard fight. These guys were strong and there were a lot of them, but I couldn't fail now. I mustered up the courage and destroyed them all. On days 13 to 15, I went off to search for the baby elephant. That fight must have really spooked her. I've got to let her know everything is okay. As I ran across the land, I soon saw her at the stream. She was really scared. Hey, I'm sorry about that back there, but everything is okay now.
You fought off all of those hyenas? That was really brave of you.
Thank you, but can I let you in on a little secret?
What's that?
I was actually really scared. They had attacked me before, and the first time, I ran away.
Really? Why didn't you run away this time?
I thought about it, but I knew you needed my help, so I did my best to be brave. The elephant thought about it for a bit.
Okay, I will try using my abilities. You want to see where the wolf lives? I'll see what I can do.
We looked into the stream, and she started to explain what she saw.
It looks like he built himself an ice fortress in the Great Tundra. He'll often lead his wolf pack out to attack other animals, like cats. But he isn't doing it for food. He's doing it for fun. This doesn't look good.
Thank you for doing that. I know it wasn't easy, but you were great. I have to defeat him, but I know I'm not strong enough yet. Say, what's your name?
Oh, it's Delilah.
Delightful. Would you want to come live at my base with me? It might feel safer there.
Oh, thank you, but I feel like I'm not ready to leave the land of my grandma yet. But please, come see me anytime.
I thanked her and took off. As I was crossing the stream, though, I was suddenly attacked by a crocodile. I already hated water enough. Now there were things attacking me. Come on, you little snapper, leave me alone. I tried to run away, but he was too quick. It looked like my only option was to fight. It wasn't too long, and he managed to take me out. That's when I saw my life counter change from 8 lives to 7. Oh no, that's not good. Problem was, I still couldn't run. The croc was vicious and wouldn't leave me alone. Suddenly, I had lost another life. I can't take much more of this. Luckily for me though, I had been getting hits in, and even though he had taken 2 of my lives, I was able to finally take his. And he only had 1. And stay down. I decided to explore the bank a little more, and soon saw the nook where the crocodile must have been hiding. I looked inside and there was a chest. Oh, look at all these fish! My favorite food. And in the middle, there was a mystical fruit salad. I don't really like fruit, but I'll give it a go. I scarfed it down and it turns out, it was delicious. Just then, I felt some power surge through me and I got bigger with more hearts. Wow, maybe there's something to this eating fruit thing. On days 16 to 19, I arrived back at the base. I met up with Lenny and he told me that he was feeling really hungry. Hey, you can have some of this fish I just got. He was pretty happy about that. Then I decided I should start planting seeds, as we would need to have a good food source. I decided to build the farm into the tower and thought that worked really well. This farm looks great. I was thinking about the fight with the crocodile and how I had lost so many lives. I was going to have to be more careful. So to do that, I decided to craft myself a bow. That way I won't have to be so close to danger all the time. But first, I'm gonna need some string. I took off in the direction of a nearby cave and soon found some spiders. The spiders weren't nearly as happy to see me as I was to see them, and in no time, I had gotten myself enough string to make my bow. Now that I had everything I needed, I was able to quickly put together a bow for myself. It was just in time too, because a black bear had walked up behind me. I hope this thing works. I started firing the bow, landing hits with my arrows. The bear was angry with me, but I was feeling way better with my ranged weapon. Soon enough, I had taken him out. On days 20 to 22, I had the urge to build. It was statue time. But in order to do that, I was gonna need some wool. I went and talked to Lenny about it, and he told me there was a herd of sheep nearby he was thinking of hunting. No, you can't hunt these guys. We'll need their wool. Lenny was disappointed, but agreed. He wasn't taking to a plant-based diet as easily as I was. I headed off in the direction Lenny had mentioned and soon saw the sheep. I took out my wheat and led them back toward my base. When we arrived, I quickly put together a pen, then locked them all inside. That's when Lenny came around the corner.
Okay, dinner.
Lenny, wait! You promised you weren't going to eat them, remember? They're for wool, not food.
Ah, shoot. Fine.
Next up, I needed to get some dye to turn the sheep into the proper colors. I went to the plains biome and found some cornflowers. Using the flowers, I was able to make some blue dye and dye the sheep blue. Now it was time to get started. Using the wool, I started on the first part. I feel like this one is going to turn out even better than anything I've built so far, but you'll have to be the judge of that. Soon, the first part was complete. And don't forget to hit the subscribe button and hit the bell, otherwise you'll miss out on all my future adventures. On days 23 to 26, I felt like it was time to learn more about this wolf monster and travel to the Arctic where he lived. As I got closer, I heard some wolf howls and hurried up into a tree to hide. I'm not letting them catch me off guard this time. Just then, I saw the wolves come by, and as they got closer, I saw that I had a good shot with my bow. If only there weren't so many of them. I decided it wasn't worth the risk, especially with the wolf monster there. But now I knew for sure that he lived here. As I watched them, I saw them go toward a snowy village. They attacked some of the villagers and took out their livestock. These guys were horrible. They continued through the village, taking everything out. When there was nothing left, they left the village. Why would they do something like this? Now that they were gone, I went to investigate the village. There were some crops here, and it didn't look like the villagers were going to be needing them anytime soon, so I picked up as much as I could. As I was going through the village, I suddenly ran into a baby wolf. What are you doing here?
Hey, you, leave me alone, or else. I'm super mean because I'm a wolf.
Look, buddy, you're not fooling anyone. All the other wolves are gone. Fight me if you want, but we know how it's gonna end.
Ah, shucks, you're right. If the other guys knew I was gonna get shown up by a cat, they'd bully me so bad, even worse than they already do. Why do you think I'm here? They're always leaving me behind and being so mean.
I couldn't help but feel bad for this little guy. Look, it's okay. I remember what it was like being a little cat. Why do you say you come join me instead? These guys don't sound like they really care about you.
You can say that again. You know what? I'm out of here. Just because we're all wolves doesn't mean I have to put up with them.
He was pretty fired up, but I was glad I could help him out. We took off, back to the base. On days 27 to 31, we arrived back at the base. The baby wolf, whose name was Willie, immediately tried to eat the sheep. Hang on, those are our friends, not food. Here, let me get you something. I tossed him some fish, which he was happy to have. That's when Lenny came walking up to us. It turned out he had really been starting to enjoy the veggie life and wanted to share some with us. We headed up to the garden and Lenny tossed some new food out for us. I took a bite. Oh wow, these are really good. You weren't joking. Just then, I grew a little bigger and gained more hearts. Well, would you look at that? Eating veggies is actually good for you. You get more hearts and stay healthy. Nice. I then realized that Willie had nowhere to stay, so I got busy building him his own section of the base. It wasn't big, but it would be perfect for him. Since Lenny was so interested in farming now, I decided I would put a barn together for him too. This way he could put all his farming tools in one place and hopefully continue to not eat the sheep. Soon, the build was complete. I was starting to run low on wood, so I headed over to the nearby birch forest to stock up. I collected all the wood I needed, then decided to head back. On my way back, I was suddenly attacked by a giant cockroach. How gross! If I would have known there were bugs like this here, I wouldn't have chosen to live here. I had managed to make my way into a tree where I was able to pick them off with the bow. But suddenly, Willie came running into the fight. Willie, no, stay back! Willie ignored me and kept fighting. But it turned out, he was actually a really good fighter. Soon, we had taken them out. Whoa, nice moves. Those other wolves better watch out. You'd be able to kick their butts. Willie told me I was being too nice, and we headed back to the base. Later on, I had gone into the mines where I found some iron. I figured Willie could use some armor, so I collected as much as I could. Back at the base, I smelted down the iron, then used the iron ingots to make him his very own set of iron armor. I went and gave it to him, which he was very excited about. On days 32 to 35, I woke up to the sound of meowing. Could that be more cats? I went to take a look and it turned out there were a bunch of cats out there. Oh, hey guys, how did you find me?
There's a giant cat tower in the middle of the desert. How could we miss it?
Yeah, that's a pretty good point. They asked if they could live here, and I of course agreed. That did leave me with a problem though. I couldn't fit all of them in my room. So I got right to work making them their own rooms at the top of the tower. I couldn't believe more cats were around. I would have to keep an eye out for some more of them. Once I had finished building their houses, I went to work on the statue with Willie. I had to get the next part done. If my cat tower was drawing people in, I'm sure a big statue would bring them in too. Soon, we finished the second part. Back at the base, I decided to check in with the cats. They had settled in nicely. Hey, do you guys know of any other cats? I'd love to help as many as I can.
Well, there is this one woman we had heard of who takes in cats and cares for them. We were actually on our way there when we found your base. You could try checking there.
They explained to me where I needed to go. I wanted to make as many cat friends as I could. We would be stronger together. On days 36 to 39, I arrived in the desert the cats had mentioned, but I didn't see a house anywhere. Let me see if someone can help me. I talked to every animal I ran into, hoping they could point me in the right direction. But everyone I talked to said they hadn't heard of her. That's when I suddenly stumbled upon a huge desert pyramid. Well, it's not the house I'm looking for, but maybe there's something useful in here. I headed into the pyramid, which is when I saw a horde of zombies at the bottom. Luckily, I still had my bow, so I used that to hurry and take most of them out. Then I jumped down and finished the rest of them off with my sword. As I explored, I came across more zombies, but I was able to fight them off. Just then, I saw a button with a sign next to it. Just a normal button, trust me. Okay, I hit the button and another button rose up out of the ground. I shrugged and hit that button. I heard a noise in the other room and ran over to see a hole had opened up in the ground. Oh, what could be down here? I went down in the hole and found another button. This is getting a little ridiculous. I hit the button, which revealed a hidden room full of gold. Wait, seriously? I thought for sure this must have been a trap. I entered the room and started picking up all of the loot. This was some good stuff. I checked the chest and saw there was an enchanting book for Punch 2. Oh, now my bow is really gonna be able to knock people back. I was feeling pretty good about things, so I headed back out of the pyramid, off to try and find the woman's house. On days 40 to 43, I was running through some hills when I saw a group of llamas. Hey, do you guys know where I could find a cat lady's house? To my luck, they knew exactly who I was talking about. Turns out the house was just over the hill. They told me to be careful though. The lady was pretty weird. I ran in the direction they had pointed and soon saw the house in the distance. I ran up to the house when a woman came running out.
Oh, it's another kitty. Here, kitty, kitty. Here, kitty, kitty.
Oh wow, you're super friendly. I heard you had a bunch of cats here and I'd love to meet them.
Oh, yes, I love cats. They're the best. Maybe you can even stay here with me.
Oh, well, maybe. I've kind of got my own thing going, but I'd love to say hi to everyone.
Well, please come in. Let me show you around.
The woman led me into her house and showed me around to the different rooms. I could hear some cats, but none of the rooms we went into seemed to have any cats. Something seemed off, but maybe it was just how much she seemed to love cats.
And this final room is my favorite. It's where all the cats live.
Finally! I stepped into the room, but all of the cats were in cages. What was going on?
You can be my newest friend!
Suddenly, I was hit with a potion and went to sleep. On days 44 to 49, I woke up inside of one of the cages on the wall. The crazy cat lady had captured me. I tried my best to break out, but she had taken all of my tools. Is there anyone out there?
Yeah, man, I can hear you. Just give up. There's no way to get out of this place.
What do you mean? How did you guys end up here?
We all thought this was going to be a good place for us strays to live, but she keeps us locked up in cages. She likes cats, but she likes them so much, she never wants us to leave, even for a second.
The cat lady had come into the room and was going around feeding the other cats. This might be my moment to escape. As she came to my cage and opened it, I pounced. Out of my way, lady! I saw a chest nearby. My stuff must be in there. Inside, I could see I was right and tried to grab as much of it as I could, but it was no use as I was hit by another one of her potions, which put me back to sleep. I woke up again, back in the cage. Tried punching the walls again, but it was no use.
I told you, it's better just to give up. This is our life now.
How long have you been in here anyway?
Oh, I don't even remember anymore. It's been years.
Years? I can't be here for years. What's going to happen to all my friends without me? On days 50 to 53, I awoke in my cage to the sound of panting. It was Willy. Willy, what are you doing here?
Something about this cat lady seemed fishy to me, so I followed you, just in case.
Boy, am I glad you did. Willy opened the cage and I hopped out. I was free. I ran over to the chest and grabbed all my stuff. Just then, the cat lady came in.
Is that a wolf? I hate dogs and especially wolves. I'll take care of you.
The cat lady drank down a potion and turned into a witch. All right, Willy, we can take this lady. We all jumped into battle. She might have been crazy, but she was also crazy strong. Even with our combined power, we couldn't defeat her. Suddenly, I lost one of my lives. Oh shoot, now I'm down to 5. I can't let her beat me. I focused all of my energy and took her out. Just then, there was a surge of energy, and Willy leveled up. Whoa, Willy, look at you! You're even stronger than before! Willy was super excited. Next, we decided to take a look around the house and managed to find an enchanted diamond helmet. Oh, nice! I'm going to be even more protected than before. Maybe I can hold on to my remaining 5 lives now. I then met up with the other cats and invited them to come live at my base with me. They happily agreed, and we set off. On days 54 to 57, I made it back to the base and got right to work making additions to the base. With all the new cats, we were going to need some serious upgrades. They had spent so long in cages, I wanted to make sure they had a nice place to live. Soon, their room was complete. Later on, I was chatting with the cats when they told me how hungry they were. I was pretty much out of fish, and I couldn't ask them to stick to a plant-based diet. Although to be fair, Lenny had really gotten into it. Hang on, guys, I've got an idea. I headed back down to the base and went over to the water. Using my shovel, I dug out the land until I was able to connect the small pond near our base to the river. Now the water would run right by our front door, and fish could swim right up. I felt like it still needed something though, so I got to work building a fishing dock. We could store our fish and relax here, while the cats could cast a line into the water. Once the dock was complete, I led all the cats over to check it out. What do you guys think? We should be swimming in fish in no time. They were all happy as they threw their lines into the water. They'd never have to be hungry again. On days 58 to 62, I collected some wool off the sheep, then headed back over to the statue. I got to work on the next part. I'm sure it's pretty clear what I'm building at this point, but what do you think? Was this what you were expecting me to build? Once I had finished my work on the statue, I remembered I had gotten some enchanting books. Using my new book, I was able to add the punch enchantment to the bow. This will certainly pack a punch now. My bow was great, but I was going to need armor to match, so I left the base to go to a nearby mine. At the bottom of the mine, I could see a bunch of monsters, so I decided to take the new bow for a spin. It was working great, and I managed to take out a ton of them. Some of them got really close to me, but I still managed to take them out, one by one. Whew, hopefully there's not any more of them down here. I kept exploring and soon came across another group of creepers. Oh no, not more of these guys. I tried to take them out, but couldn't stop them all from exploding. Ouch! But what's that? I noticed the explosion had revealed an unnatural block and could hear skeletons on the other side. I broke a block, which revealed the entrance to a dungeon. On days 63 to 66, I knocked out the rest of the blocks and was immediately rushed by some skeletons. Oh, get out of here, you psychos! These skeletons were fast. It's a good thing I came prepared. They tried their best to take one more of my lives, but I managed to fight them all off. Alright, let's see what's going on back here. I entered the dungeon and could see more skeletons. Using my bow, I quickly fired at them and took them out. That's when I noticed a button in the middle of the room. What does this do? Unfortunately, it was a trap. More skeleton archers rose up from the ground. I was surrounded. They fired their arrows as I jumped to get out of the way. Luckily, I could take some cover, but even as I jumped out to hit them, it was still too hard. Oh, wait a second, they're stuck. I can just leave. I headed into the hallway. I guess whoever laid that trap didn't think it all the way through. I went and explored the hallways. I wasn't sure where to go next. Then I came across a sign that said treasure room. Oh, that sounds great to me. I ran into the hallway, falling into a hole. It was another trap. Oh man, I should have known that would happen. I landed in a stone room where there was no way out. Suddenly, the wall across from me started moving. I was going to get crushed. There's gotta be a way out. I noticed some different looking blocks and started mining. At the last second, I burst through and fell down another hole. This time though, I landed in a pool of water. Oh, this place is crazy. I've gotta watch my step. Up ahead, I hit a button to open the door and walked through as lava fell from the ceiling. Luckily, I made it through the door quick enough before it could hurt me. The next room was full of lava with platforms I had to jump to. That would have been easy, except the place was full of skeleton archers. I tried to cross, but they knocked me into the lava. Ooh, hot, hot! I managed to crawl out before the lava burnt me to a crisp. I started shooting arrows at the skeleton, taking a couple of them out. That's when I noticed there was a chest and some diamonds up ahead. Oh, I've got to get to that. To reach it though, there was one more archer. I took careful aim and fired, taking him out. The treasure is all mine. I hopped the rest of the way up and opened the chest. Inside there was a diamond block as well as a bunch of diamonds. This is exactly what I was searching for. With everything out of the chest, I then mined out all of the diamonds in the wall. My pockets were now overflowing with goodies. Now how do I get out of here? I hopped across the room and saw a door, which I barely managed to get through after grabbing onto some vines. I swam up a waterfall and followed the hallways until I saw another room with a chest. Okay, there's gotta be a trap in here. I stepped forward slowly and set off a trap. That arrow nearly took my head off. I think there's only one way through. I took off at a sprint as the arrows flew by. Inside the chest was more diamonds, as well as some XP potions. I ran back through the traps, then loaded up on the XP. I went back through the hallways and soon saw another path through. I guess this must be the way out. I stepped forward when suddenly a bunch of lava came falling from the ceiling, trapping me inside the room. That was way too close. As I looked into the room though, I saw it was full of skeletons, including a big buff skeleton. There was no time to lose. I immediately started shooting my bow, taking out as many of them as I could. I got some hits in, but it was getting dicey. I didn't notice the buff skeleton had me in his sights, and after a good hit, he knocked out one of my lives. Oh no, now I only have 4 left. Over half of them are gone. I didn't have any other choice though. I had to keep fighting. I had managed to hit him a bunch, so he couldn't have had much health left. I hid behind a pole, then struck him with my claws, taking him out. Yeah, who's the tough guy now? And we'll just pretend that you didn't take one of my lives. That's when I noticed that I had actually picked up his head. Ooh, creepy. I wonder what else is in here. I ran around the room and saw a chest, which had an infinity enchantment in it, as well as some gold. In another chest, I also found a brand new bow. I knew just what to do next. At a nearby anvil, I added the infinity enchantment to my new bow, which gave me endless arrows. By now my pockets were filled with goodies, so I used some cobblestone to block the lava and left the dungeon. Back at the base, I stuck my mutant skeleton head above my door. Now everyone knows that this house belongs to one tough kitty. Now that I had a bunch of diamonds, I went over to the crafting table and got right to work, crafting myself an entire set of diamond armor. I was going to be super protected now. With the armor done, I also made myself a full set of diamond tools. It was just about time, as the iron tools just weren't going to cut it anymore. With all of the tools finished, I grabbed Willy and we got to work on the next part of the statue. It was time to add some details in, and I was excited to see how it was going to look. It didn't take too long, and we soon finished the next part. Back at the base, I was feeling like I was almost ready to take on the wolf monster, but asked Willy if he had any ideas of what I could do to power up.
Well, there's a special set of claws I've heard about. They're strong enough to rip through wolf hide.
That sounds like just what I need. Where do I find them?
There's a fort pretty far away from here that they are rumored to be in, but it's got some tough mobs defending it. I can show you the way.
That would be awesome. But first, let me go check with Lenny to see if he has any new veggies for me to take on the journey. I went up to the garden with Lenny, and he gathered me a fresh set of food. Thanks, buddy. You've gotten good at this. On days 71 to 74, Willy and I had reached a snowy taiga biome when suddenly we were attacked by a polar bear. I had just upgraded all of my gear, so the polar bear didn't really stand a chance against me. Together, we defeated him easily. Yeah, that was so easy. Suddenly, a bunch of polar bears came running out. Oh, this is not easy! The polar bears were really mad at us, and we were taking a lot of hits. This situation was all too familiar, and I suddenly lost another one of my lives. Oh no, only 3 left now. I had lost another life, but we had made good progress, and together, we were able to take out the last of the polar bears. It helped that Willie was now a full-grown wolf. We soon found a cave and settled in out of the cold. Thanks for coming along with me, Willie. I thought all wolves were bad, but you've shown me that's not the truth. Willie didn't say anything and started walking around in circles. It was kind of strange, but maybe he just wasn't comfortable expressing his feelings. It was getting pretty cold when Willie set out a campfire. Oh, just in time. We both settled in for the night. On days 75 to 78, Willie and I reached the snowy fortress deep in the taiga. This must be where the claws are. We entered the fort, but as we walked through, I couldn't help but notice the place seemed empty. There might have been a battle here long ago, but there was definitely no one here now. As we entered another section, the doors closed behind us. Oh no, it must be a trap. Get ready, Willie. That's when I realized it wasn't an enemy who set the trap. It was Willie.
I'm sorry, Zozo, but I can't resist my natural instincts. I tried, but cats are just too delicious.
What are you saying? Come on, we're friends.
I have a lot of respect for you. I didn't know a cat could be this strong. But I have to do this. And once you're gone, I'm going to lead the pack to all the other cats in the base.
Willie, get a hold of yourself. This isn't the right way.
I'm sorry, Zozo, but it's the end.
And just like that, we began to fight. Willie had gotten really strong, and his blows really hurt. I couldn't believe his instincts were this powerful. Please, Willie, it doesn't have to be like this. But it was too late. He was done talking, and I could see his wolf instincts had completely taken over. He kept swinging at me and managed to take another one of my lives. Ugh, only 2 left. I hurried and climbed up some trees, making my way to the top of the ruins. From there, I started firing arrows, landing some blows. Willie ran around, trying to avoid my arrows. It was making him really mad. I wasn't going to be able to finish it this way, though. I had to land a blow up close. I hurried and climbed higher into the ruins, firing arrows as I went.
Get back down here!
I climbed out the side of the ruins as Willie continued to look up where I was before. I snuck up behind him and delivered a sneak attack. It was just a few hits more, and he was finally defeated. Willie, why? I'm sorry it had to come to this. I ran outside and picked a flower. I carried it back inside and laid it where Willie had disappeared. I'll see you in the next life, my friend. On days 79 to 84, I was feeling really sad about the loss of Willie. I couldn't help but think though, Willie was super strong, and he was just a regular wolf. What chance did I have against the wolf monster? That's when I remembered Delilah the elephant could help. I traveled back to the savannah, and just in time too. Up ahead, I could see Delilah had been captured by poachers. You thugs, get away from my friend! I charged in as the poachers turned to fight. I had no time for these punks, and I had to save my friend. There was no way I was going to lose 2 friends in such a short amount of time. I was way stronger than the last time we had fought poachers, and so at long last, I took them all out.
Oh, Zozo, you showed up just in time. I don't know where I'd be without you. Or well, I guess I do. I'd be dead.
You mustn't talk like that. But I was hoping you could help me with something.
Oh sure, anything.
I need to defeat the wolf monster still, but I'm wondering if there are any special items out there that could help me. Could you take a look? Delilah agreed and took a look into some nearby water.
Okay, I can see the nether. There's a huge fortress there. And inside, oh, there's some claws. They look like they're strong enough to rip through wolf skin.
So those claws are real. Do you know how I can get there?
It's showing me a path to the nether portal. It's actually not that far from your base.
Wow, that's great news. I'll have to go get them. But before I do, are you sure you still don't want to live at my base? There's so many poachers out here.
Oh, I've definitely changed my mind. I would love to live there.
Delilah and I headed back toward my base. As we got closer, she caught sight of my statue.
An elephant. I love it. It reminds me of my grandma. I miss her so much.
I wish I could have met her. I'm almost finished with that statue too. Just one more part to go, but I think you'll think it's pretty cool. From there, I got right to work building Delilah her own room at the base. The poor girl kept getting attacked, so I was glad she decided to come and live at the base with us. Her room was going to be at the top, so she was definitely going to be safe. Soon, her room was complete. Here you go. I really hope you like it here. Delilah assured me she would, and she especially loved the view out of her window. On days 85 to 89, I headed straight for the nether portal. I had to get those claws. Oh no, it looks totally destroyed. Hopefully there's some more obsidian in this chest. I opened the chest and luckily, there was everything I needed. Someone must have been here before. Just then, a snapping turtle came walking right over the chest and attacked. Ah, you're so slow and creepy. He wasn't very strong and I took him out quickly. Then another animal attacked me out of nowhere. This guy wasn't strong either and I took him out too. All right, enough. Let's do this. I quickly fixed up the portal, replacing all the missing obsidian blocks. I stepped into the portal and was teleported to the nether. I stepped out into a soul sand valley and could see a few endermen roaming around. As long as I don't look at them, I should be good. But as I got closer, they turned and started to attack me. I guess they just really wanted me to stay away. Once I had taken them out, I took a look at my surroundings. That's when I noticed some ancient debris in the wall. Oh yeah, I can make some netherite gear with this. I mined out the debris and stored it away for later. It was time to explore. I took off into the nether, traveling across dangerous terrain and fighting off endermen. I found some more ancient debris too. There were also some ghast that showed up, but I was able to take care of them with my bow. Soon, I saw it in the distance, the fortress from Delilah's vision. There it is! I just need to get across this lava, and the claws will be mine. I started jumping across the broken path, being sure not to fall into the lava. As I entered the fortress, I was suddenly attacked by a hellhound and a couple wither skeletons. I should have known something would be waiting for me. I tried to climb up some platforms as quickly as I could and started taking them out with my bow. The wither skeletons were getting too close for comfort, but luckily I was able to take them down. Now it's your turn. I jumped down and started swinging my sword, showing the hellhound who was boss. Even the dogs in a different dimension are mean. I kept swinging my sword and finally took the hellhound out. That was a tough fight. He destroyed most of my armor. But the important thing was that I had won. I went over to the chest and took a look inside. There was tons of loot, and most important, the claws were inside. I can't believe it, I got them! I took out the claws and equipped them. That's when I felt the energy surge through me, and I grew into a huge, super buff cat. Whoa, I'm extremely ripped, and I have way more hearts. It was time to take the fight to the wolf. On days 90 to 94, I returned to the base to see all of my new friends. It was quite the sight to see everyone so happy. We had all been affected by the wolf monster in one way or another, and it was great to see that despite it all, we had all found a place to call home. I was too big to fit in the door now, so I knocked out a space and grabbed some supplies out of a chest. Then I made myself a fancy new moving door. Ah yes, this will work perfectly. Now that I had a functioning door, I took the ancient debris I had collected and smelted it into some netherite scraps. Then I took some of the diamonds I had collected and made an entire set of diamond armor. Now I'll need a smithing table. I got the smithing table put together and then combined the netherite scraps with some gold bars to make some netherite ingots. Using the new ingots, I was able to then convert all my diamond gear into netherite. Now let's finish the statue. I headed outside and finished putting all of the details on the elephant. I thought it looked really nice and I was glad that it reminded Delilah of her grandma. Well, what do you think? Is this your favorite build I've done so far, or did you like another one more? With the statue complete, it was time to say goodbye. I met with all of my friends outside. Thanks for all of your support, guys. I'm going to go fight the wolf, but I'm still not sure how I'm going to beat him.
I was thinking about it, and didn't you say that crazy cat lady threw a potion at you that knocked you out? Maybe she had other potions that could come in handy for your fight.
Oh, that's a great idea. I'll have to go stop by there and see what I can find.
Good luck, Zozo. I know you'll make us all proud.
The rest of the animals chimed in. I never could have done it without all of their support. Time to get that wolf. On days 95 to 97, I arrived back at the cat lady's house. Alright, let's see what's going on in here. I ran up to the house to get inside. As I tried to take a look around, I realized I was too big for the doors, so I knocked out the walls to make myself some space. Something tells me she's not gonna mind. As I checked around the house, I eventually opened up her bedside table and found a bunch of blindness potions. No wonder she always had these on her. The lady literally slept next to them, but these will help in a fight. With the potions in my pockets, I headed off toward the wolf monster's base. I soon reached a snowy area and could hear the howling of wolves in the distance. But this time, I wasn't running. This time, I was heading straight for them.
Hey, you boys, check out this cat. He thinks he's real tough walking into our land like this.
Your pride will be the end of you. I'm gonna take down your entire pack.
Oh, cry me a hairball, fuzzbag. Bring it on.
We lunged at each other and started swinging. These guys thought I was weak because I was a cat, but they quickly found out I was super strong. I could tell they were scared, and soon, only one of them was left.
You're no cat, you're a freak. Just wait until the boss hears about this.
The last wolf ran off to tell his boss. Yeah, not even a warning is going to save him from me. The wolf wasn't very smart though. He was leading me right to their base. Soon enough, I saw a large fortress in the distance. This must be it. I walked up and started to explore. I could feel something behind me. I turned around and saw there was a huge sub behind me. Quick, subscribe to the channel. We must win this fight. On day 98, I charged into the base and was immediately attacked by some wolves. Out of the way, you mangy mutts. I swung my massive arms and knocked the wolves out. With my strength, these guys were a breeze. Soon, the room had been cleared. That's when I noticed something horrible. Is that what I think it is? On the stairs, there was a mounted animal head. These guys were a bunch of sickos. They had to be stopped. In the next room, there were even more wolves. Get a load of this, chumps. I smacked the wolves as they crumpled beneath my blows. They were able to get some hits in, but they were no match. No one was going to stop me from reaching my goal. Once they were all destroyed, I noticed what was on the table. More animal heads. I won't let them add any more. As I left the room, I noticed a button on a nearby wall. I hit it and a wall opened, revealing a storage room. Oh, nice. I bet there's something good in here. I started opening up chests and found a lot of gold, including some golden apples. Then I saw something out of the ordinary. There's warnings on this chest. Must be something good in here. I opened the chest and saw it had several potions of leaping. That would surely give me an advantage in the fight. Now I just had to find the monster. On day 99, I wandered through the halls and eventually walked into the Great Hall. The wolf monster was seated on a golden throne.
Oh, what is this? A cat walking right into my house? Who do you think you are?
You know who I am. You destroyed my entire group of friends.
Yeah, you'll have to be more specific. I do it all the time. It's literally all I do.
I'm Zozo.
Oh, Zozo. Yeah, I still don't know who you are.
It doesn't matter. Today is the day I take my revenge.
Yeah, get this cat out of my sight.
Suddenly, the wolves around the table charged. He might not know who I am, but he was about to find out. I knocked out his wolves in no time.
I always knew I was surrounded by a bunch of weaklings. I'll do this myself.
The wolf monster charged at me. The fight had begun. This was ending today. He was still strong and was really knocking me down. I ran away to try to get some space, eating some food to heal.
Get over here, you little cat.
I tried fighting him as I went, getting hits in here and there. I soon made it up a set of stairs, turning in time to start firing down arrows at the wolf monster.
Oh, knock it off!
I kept firing arrows until he had reached me. He kept hitting me, and eventually I saw my life counter appear again. I only had 1 life left. I had to make it count. I kept running through the castle, trying to play it safe. Every now and then he would catch up, and I would swing my claws to knock him back. Some of his wolves even tried to jump into the fight, but I was able to knock them away. My health was starting to get really low though. Alright, let's see what he thinks of this. I took out one of my blinding potions and managed to hit him.
Oh, I can't see. What did you do?
The wolf ran off as I hurried and ducked for cover. I was safe for a moment, so I hurried and ate a golden apple. I had been getting hits in, but it didn't seem to be enough. It was time to try something new. I could hear the wolf in the hallway up ahead, so I snuck up behind him and smacked him. Surprise!
Oh, you sneaky little cat.
We exchanged some more blows, and I ran off, making more space. I was really starting to hurt him now. Just then, we ran into a room with a couple of his wolf cronies.
Get this guy off my back!
I thought wolves didn't run away from anything. As I went back out to fight, I saw the wolf had disappeared. Where did he go? I kept searching around the place until I ran into a strange sign. Place sacrificial heads. Oh, I don't love that, but maybe it could help me. I ran around the palace and gathered up a few of the animal heads. Then I placed them on the altar. Suddenly, a hidden door opened, and the wolf monster was hiding on the other side. There he is! I ran up to face him. Give it up, man, you can't beat me! The wolf shook his head. He wasn't gonna go down easily. We charged as his sidekicks attacked. It was an epic battle, but they were no match for me. I even tried using the leaping potions, which helped me to get to higher ground and use my bow. This is for everyone you've hurt! I swung my claws, hitting him again and again. He wasn't even sorry for what he had done. At long last, I swung my claws, destroying him for good. Goodbye! The wolf was finally gone. Now we could all live our lives in peace. On day 100, I made it back to the base. All of my friends were there to greet me, and I couldn't believe the fight was done. We were finally free from danger. The world was once again a place of peace. On day 1, I spawned in as a little mouse. Ooh, look how cute and tiny I am. But uh-oh, I only have 1 heart. I've got to be careful. That's when I noticed that my hunger bar was half the size of a normal one too. Uh-oh, I guess I have a tiny stomach. I better hurry and start getting some supplies. Right away, I started punching trees so that I could get some wood. Using the wood I had collected, I put together a crafting table, then used that to make a wooden pickaxe, shovel, axe, and sword. I packed up my crafting table and started to look for some food. That's when my hunger bar started dropping. I had to hurry. I soon saw a patch of berries. Oh, thank goodness, this is just what I was looking for. Suddenly, I heard a growl, and a giant grizzly bear came walking over. Oh, he's going to eat me. I gotta run. I ran and ran through the forest until I felt like I had gotten away. This forest was a dangerous place. Just then, I heard some squeaking up ahead. I soon saw a little mice family. Oh, hey guys, you're just like me. Is it okay if we stick together?
A new friend. Yeah, absolutely. Everything is easier when you stick together. My name is Remy.
Remy introduced me to the rest of his family. It was nice to have a group of friendly faces. He told me that they had a nice cave to live in, too. We headed over to the cave when suddenly a fox popped popped out and started to attack us. Oh no, I have to help my new family. Together, we did everything we could to fight off the fox. Luckily for me, our combined power was strong, and we took the fox down. Yeah, you won't be messing with us again. We then all went into the cave. It was small but cozy, the perfect place to settle for the night. I just hoped that tomorrow I could find some more food. Otherwise, I'm in big trouble. On day 2, I headed into the cave to get some coal. I was able to quickly find some and mined it out. I also grabbed some stone. Time for this mouse to get an upgrade. I put down my crafting table and used it to put together some stone tools. I also made some torches. I headed over to our cave and set up the torches. This should help keep the mobs away. My hunger was starting to drop again, so I decided to go out and look for some more food. As I ran through the forest, I could see something on the ground, but as I got closer, I could see it was just a flower. Man, where is all the food? I didn't have too much time to think about it though, as the grizzly bear from before showed up again. Oh, this guy again? I can't risk it with one heart. I had stone tools, but there was no way I could take him on. I soon arrived back at the cave to talk to my mouse friends. Have you guys been able to find any food? Everywhere I look is either empty or has a hungry bear.
You're not alone. We can't find anything either, but that's because of the humans.
The humans? What do you mean?
There's been a lot of humans coming through here, and they've been taking all of the food. It's been hard for us to find anything.
I felt really bad for them, and they agreed to try and go look for food. I wanted to do something to make them happy, so I went outside and gathered up some of the materials. Using everything I had collected, I started to fix up the cave. We might not have any food, but at least we could have some beds to sleep in. It's the best I could do, but I just wanted to say thank you for letting me stay here. I'm really starting to feel like I'm part of your family. On day 3, I woke up to a loud noise. There was a human in our cave! He had put my mouse family into bags, and I was next. Let them go! I had tried to hit him, but he nearly took me out. I had no choice but to run.
You can run, but I'm gonna find you eventually.
I kept running until the human was far behind me. What was I going to do now? How could this happen to my family? That guy was huge. But one day, I'm gonna be big and strong too. Mark my words. I'm gonna save my family from the humans. On days 4 to 5, I set off to find myself a new place to live. If I was going to get big and strong, I needed a safe place to sleep at night and store my gear. I soon found myself a nice cliffside and dug into the side of it. I wanted something cozy like the last cave, but I was gonna make it a little nicer. Time to get some building supplies. I headed out into the forest and gathered wood, as well as all the other materials I was going to need. This was going to be a classy rat's nest. I then got to work building all of the rooms. I decided to build something even bigger than what I needed, including rooms for other mice. I was determined to save my mouse family, and they were going to need a room when they came to live with me. Soon, the base was completed, and I decided to get some rest. In the middle of the night, I heard some noise outside. Uh-oh, I forgot to put out torches. I gotta take care of these zombies. I got right to work fighting off the zombies, but I had to be careful because I still only had one heart. Luckily for me, I was able to survive and took them all out. I better get those torches up quick. The next day, I headed outside to take a look around the area. What is that over there? I went down into the forest and soon came upon a small, half-built structure. Inside was another mouse. Hey, you're just like me.
Am I? Because I'm looking real buff while you're just a skinny little guy. I'm not a mouse. I'm a vole. What are you doing out here?
My family was kidnapped by the humans, and I'm going to rescue them, but I'm worried about getting food first.
Boy, are you right about that. How am I supposed to keep to my all-protein diet with those humans taking all the food? They also got my family too. I think they're keeping them as pets.
Oh, these humans are ruining everything. Let's team up and take them down. Yeah, let's do it. 2 more voles had popped up from nearby. Whoa, where did you guys come from? I thought you were the only one.
Oh yeah, these are my brothers. They're around.
What's up, little guy? You look like you could use a protein shake. Thanks. Well, the more the merrier, I suppose. Come on, you guys should live at my base with me. Tomorrow we can figure out the food. The voles agreed, and we headed out. On days 6 to 8, I was wandering through the forest when I finally came across a berry bush, but it was empty. That's when I saw a raccoon taking off the last few berries. Oh hey, would you mind sparing a few berries? I haven't eaten in days.
Heh, that's just how it works out here, bud. Do I have enough to spare? Yeah, I do, but I guess I'm just a jerk. Sorry, not sorry.
I couldn't believe this guy. Well, you're right about one thing. You are a jerk. I had had enough. It was time to start fighting back. Give me those berries. I jumped into action and started fighting the raccoon. I caught him off guard. He didn't expect a little mouse like me to be this strong. I managed to beat him in no time. As he disappeared, he dropped a bunch of berries. Finally, some food. I took a bite of the berries when I suddenly felt my strength begin to grow, and I leveled up. I had gotten even stronger, and now I have 4 hearts. Awesome. With my belly more full than before, I decided to head into a cave. Lucky for me, I found a whole bunch of iron. By using my pickaxe, I managed to mine a whole bunch of iron, enough to make myself all kinds of iron equipment. As I headed back toward the base, I also came across some sugarcane. Even more food. Today is just my lucky day. I managed to collect a decent amount of sugarcane when suddenly the grizzly bear appeared again. I'm not running away this time. I jumped into action, but it was a mistake. This bear was just way too strong. Okay, looks like I'm running away this time. Today was just not the day to beat a bear, but hey, at least I got some food. Back at the base, I started planting the sugarcane. If I could get some more ingredients, I'd have myself a nice food source. I can also use it to make books. I was hoping to build a library in the base. Once the sugarcane was all planted, I went back to my base and started smelting the iron ore I'd collected. With the iron ingots, I made myself a full set of iron armor, then made all of the tools I would need as well. I'm feeling much better already. ready. I then decided to upgrade the base by adding in a library. I felt like the voles might like it. I just wanted to make sure they were comfortable and happy to be here. Hey guys, come check out the new library. The voles headed upstairs to take a look around.
Reading is for nerds, but even I gotta admit, this is a pretty nice looking place. Good going, Pipsqueak.
On days 9 to 10, I woke up to the voles coming into my room.
Bro, we're starving. We gotta do something about this food situation.
Good morning. I agree, but I feel like I've run out of places to look.
There is this one place, but only someone small and sneaky could go there, like you.
I could give it a go. Where is it?
There's a human farm near here, just full of stuff. If you can get in there and steal some of their food, we could start our own farm.
That sounds a little risky, but at this point, I'm not sure what choice I have. I'll do it. The voles told me where I needed to go, then I went and waited outside for nighttime. Once it was good and dark, I snuck down and soon saw the farm. These humans have so much food. Why are they taking everything from the forest? I quickly gathered as much food as I could. We were finally going to have a reliable food source. Once I had grabbed a good amount of food, I noticed a chest nearby. Inside was a box of hats. I wonder what this is all about. Just then, I heard a bark, and a dog came running over to me. Hey, why are you barking at me? Don't you know the humans are taking everyone's food? The dog stopped barking.
They're taking everyone's food? He's my best friend, but that doesn't seem like a very nice thing to do.
Suddenly, I heard a shout, and the farmer came running out.
Hey you, get on out of here.
I had no choice but to run away. Those humans were dangerous, and I would never rescue my family if they captured me too. After a bit of running, I made it back to my base. I threw some potatoes into the furnace and started making some beetroot soup. I also baked some bread. With all kinds of good food in my pockets, I headed over to the voles' room. I'm back, and look what I've got. I started tossing the food out, much to the voles' delight. We'd never have to be hungry again. After everyone had eaten, I showed them the hat box too. Everyone picked out their favorite hats and put them on. We were all pretty excited about it. The next day, I went outside and started working on a farm. Once it was all set up, I tilled the land and planted all the different plants. Finally, I could focus on my main mission of rescuing my family. On days 11 to 12, I woke up to the voles coming into my room again. But this time, they weren't complaining. They were excited because they had something to show me. Apparently, it was a fancy statue. I went outside to take a look.
So, what do you think? We all worked really hard on it. It's a mouse, just like you.
Wow, guys, that is really nice. Thanks for making this for me. You know what could be really fun?
What's that?
Why don't we make one together? There's more than one of us here, so I think it just makes sense for there to be more than one statue.
Yeah, that sounds dope. But we don't really want to build another one, so you can make it. We can't wait to see it.
First off, I decided to go out and start collecting all the flowers I would need to make dye. I was going to find some sheep later, so I ran around getting everything I would need. Once I had gotten all the flowers I needed, I snuck back to the human's farm. I snuck upstairs and managed to grab some shears out of the chest. Then I went over to the sheep and dyed them all the different colors I would need. I had just collected a decent amount of wool when the farmer and dog came running out. Uh-oh, here they come again. I've got a bolt. The farmer shouted and the dog barked, but I was able to get out of there just in time. Back at the base, I got to work building the first part of the statue. It meant a lot to me that the voles had made me a statue, so I thought it'd be nice to make something too. I still needed some more supplies, so I stopped at the first part. On days 13 to 15, I was out exploring the woods when I came across a beehive. Oh, we could use some honey. This will be very helpful. I gathered it up and then saw another one, so I gathered the honey from there too. That's when I noticed a small house on top of the hill. A house that small must be for a mouse. I ran up the hill to find out. The door opened and inside was a feeble old mouse.
Why, hello, dear. What brings you out to these parts?
Hi, I'm out gathering some supplies for my friends. I've got to search pretty far for special items since the humans are taking all of our resources.
Ah, those pesky humans. They're just the worst. It's high time the Mouse of Myth comes along.
The Mouse of Myth? Who's that?
Ah, have you not heard the story? Legend says that when the humans begin to ruin the Mouselands, a brave and mighty mouse will rise up, growing to be even bigger and stronger than the humans. That mouse will save all mousekind.
Really? Wow, that actually sounds a lot like the situation I'm going through right now.
Perhaps you are the Mouse of Myth then. Ever experienced sudden bursts of strength?
Once, but I think that was because I hadn't eaten in a few days. The Mouse of Myth sounds way stronger than me.
Well, the Mouse of Myth will be confident in himself, so perhaps it's not you after all.
Oh yeah, maybe not. We chatted a while longer, but all I could think about was the Mouse of Myth. I hoped that could be me, but maybe she was right. I didn't feel confident in it at all. I soon left to go back to my base. On days 16 to 19, I woke up to the voles coming into my room again.
Yo, Zozo, you've been proven to be pretty tough after all, so we had a favor to ask.
What's going on?
Some of our buddies got themselves into a bit of a situation, and we were hoping you could bail them out.
I'll see what I can do. Show me the way. I followed the voles out of the base and out across the land. They had soon led me into a dense jungle where we came across some squirrels stuck in a tree. There was a Tasmanian devil down at the bottom, and he wasn't letting them down. Out of the way, mister! I charged at the Tasmanian devil, and we started to fight. Why won't you leave those poor squirrels alone? The voles cheered me on as we continued to fight. This little guy was intense, but I was quick and took him out in no time.
Bro, nice one.
The vole called up to his squirrel friends to let them know it was safe, and they came down to chat.
Yo, that was sick. We thought we were never gonna get out of that tree.
No worries, guys. I'm just glad we could help. Say, if you want, you should come live at our base with us. There's a lot of dangerous creatures out here.
Gnarly, bruh. We'd love to live there with you guys.
Just then, I felt strength coming to me, and I grew in size, and I've gained even more hearts than before.
Dude, nice gains. I didn't know a mouse could beef up like that.
Soon we all left and headed back to the base. I had grown in size again. Maybe I could be the mouse of myth. I'd have to figure that out another day. Back at the base, I got right to work building the squirrels a place to live. I started with some steps and a ladder, then got to work making them a treehouse. I figured they would be happiest living in a tree, so I made it the best I could. Then I filled the inside with all the comforts they could need. Soon, I was done. I really hope they like it here. On days 20 to 22, I got woken up again, but this time, it wasn't by the voles. What is that sound? I ran outside and saw the base was surrounded by zombies. But where had all of the torches gone? I couldn't worry about that now though. I had some zombies to take care of. I ran down the hill and quickly attacked them. They weren't super tough, so I was able to defeat them quickly. Alright, I gotta figure out what happened. But just then, another group of zombies came over the hill. More of them? Oh brother. I started swinging my sword and was able to take a few more of them out. But how many more were there going to be? I don't know if I can fight them off forever. It was close, but I managed to finish them off. Okay, enough of that. I better get more torches. But then, even more zombies came over the hill, and this time, they were covered in iron armor. What is going on? I kept swinging my sword and was getting hits in, but these guys were way tougher with their armor. It was starting to look a little close, but I finally fought them all off. Oh, I can't fight anymore. Hopefully that's it. But it wasn't it. More iron-wearing zombies came over the hill, and this time, they had skeletons with them. Uh-oh, I don't think I can survive this. I started to fight them off, but it was too hard. I ran under the statue for cover, but I was surrounded. Just then, the voles came charging out of the base and attacked the zombies.
Hang on, Zozo. We're here to help.
With our combined power, we were able to start fighting back and start taking out the bad guys. Even the squirrels got into the fight. At long last, the zombies were finally defeated. This time, no more zombies or skeletons came over the hill. Soon, we were back in the base. Thanks, guys. I thought I was a goner.
We thought we ought to help you out for once.
I'm sure glad you did. We've got to figure out what happened to our torches, though. Otherwise, we'll be in big trouble.
Oh, right. We might know something about that.
The voles explained that they had taken all of the torches and put them in the library. Apparently, it was too dark for them to see what they were reading.
It turns out, reading is actually pretty dope, but we didn't think about the zombies. My bad, homie.
I told them it was okay and got to work setting up some new torches outside. We'll have to try and make even better defenses tomorrow. On days 23 to 26, I left my base to go and gather some more supplies. Our base had nearly been taken over last night, and we needed some serious upgrades. First, I dug up a bunch of clay. I was going to make bricks, so I needed to grab as much clay as I could. I then brought it back to my base, where I began smelting it into bricks. Before I started working on the wall though, I decided to build a nice walkway down to the farm. It was going to be much better than having to get wet every time we needed to get a bite to eat. With the new bridge complete, I then got to work on the new walls. There were some natural mountains around the entrance to our base, but I thought it'd be smart to plug up the gaps with some walls. After all, a wall is no good if someone can just walk right through it. Once the walls are finished, my next project was building a guard tower. If we had something nice and tall, we'd be able to keep a close eye out for any more zombies, or even worse, humans. It took a bit, but the tower was soon complete too. As I was admiring the build from the courtyard, one of the squirrels came outside to meet me.
Hey man, nice building. You're really good at this.
Thanks. I just want us to be as safe as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, I'm actually a pretty good cook. If you wouldn't mind building me a kitchen, I'd be happy to make food for everyone.
Oh, that's a great idea. Before I started on the kitchen though, I first grabbed some food from the farm. There was no point in building a kitchen if there's no food to store in it. With all the food in my pockets, I headed inside and got to work on the kitchen. I made sure to set up everything he needed and filled the pantry with all of the food. I couldn't wait to see what he'd make. Later that night, I was up in the tower to see how well our defenses worked. I could see a big group of zombies outside of the gate, but they had no chance of getting in. I'd call that a success. Now I just had to hope nothing bigger would stop by. On days 27 to 31, I was keeping watch from the tower when the bear from earlier showed up. This guy again? I'm so sick of him always trying to ruin my day. I ran down and headed outside the gate. You've tried to take my food too many times. I'm not letting you in here. The bear just laughed and let out a roar. He wasn't much of the talking type, but he was still a jerk. Just then, he charged. The bear was still really strong, but this time I wasn't going to run away or back down. I was stronger, and he was going to have the fight of his life. With my sword in hand, I swung as hard as I could, knocking him back. He let out a roar, but it was too late. I hit him with the final blow, and he was defeated.
Well, aren't you just the toughest little mouse I've ever seen?
I looked up at a nearby tree and saw a crane looking down at me. Oh man, you have no idea. That bear has been trying to finish me off for days. I just couldn't let him win.
Well, it's not every day you see a mouse beating a bear. Have you ever considered joining a fighting league? All of the toughest animals around are in ours, and you'd be perfect.
Oh, I appreciate the offer, but I can't. I'm on a quest to save my family, not become the ultimate mouse champion.
Oh, but you don't understand. This will help you. By showing your bravery, you can inspire the crowd who will want to help in your cause. Not to mention, you can earn some serious money by winning fights. Money that could help you.
Okay. I guess there's no harm in checking it out. Where do I need to go? The crane told me where to go, and I said I would head over there after preparing a little bit. He thanked me and took off. Later that day, I was deep in a cave, looking for resources. If I was going to win any fights, I needed the best gear I could get. That's when I noticed there were tons of diamonds in this cave. I mined out as many as I could. This was just what I needed. With my pockets overflowing with diamonds, I headed out of the cave. Back at the base, I got right to crafting, making myself a full set of diamond armor, a helmet, boots, leggings, and a chest plate. I then used them to make a pickaxe, shovel, axe, and sword. There's no way I'm gonna lose any fights now. On days 32 to 35, I made my way to the location the crane had told me about. Standing outside the entrance was the crane.
Good evening, sir. I'm so thrilled you could make it. You've got quite the challenger tonight, but I think you will do splendidly.
Okay, I'm all ready to fight, so bring it on. The crane motioned for me to enter, and I headed in. The arena was brightly lit, or at least the fighting area was. I could hear a crowd in the darkness though, so I knew the place was packed. As I stood in the arena, I saw a gate open at the other end. It looked like my challenger was a Shiba Inu. I could take this guy. A bell rang and the fight was on. The Shiba was tough, but so was I. As we fought, the crowd cheered. As we both landed blows, they oohed and awed. They seemed like they were really into it. If I can win this fight, all the animals watching will be able to help me rescue my family. I've got to win. The Shiba Inu put up a good fight, but with my new weapons and armor, there was really no contest. I soon defeated him, and the crowd went wild. As they cheered, a bunch of emeralds started dropping into the arena, as well as XP points. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with these emeralds, but I'm sure I can figure something out. This is awesome. Just then, a bunch of lapis and obsidian dropped in as well. Excited, I ran around picking up my rewards as the crowd continued to cheer. I gave one final wave to the crowd, then headed back down and out of the arena to meet with the crane.
Congratulations. I just knew you could win.
Thanks, that was actually a lot of fun. I think all the animals were really excited for me too.
Oh yes, the crowd loved you. Please, feel free to come back soon. I'm sure the crowd was very inspired by you.
I thanked the crane for inviting me, then ran back toward my base. I made a stop by the sheep farm first though, and grabbed a bunch of dyed wool. I was going to need this for the statue. Back at the base, I took the wool I'd collected and got to work on the next part. I kept going until I ran out of wool again. I couldn't wait to see what it would look like when I was done. On days 36 to 39, I was exploring a nearby acacia forest when I saw something strange in the distance. Is that a mouse? She's really beating that wolf up. The mouse soon defeated the wolf, and I hurried over to talk to her. Whoa, nice moves. That was super impressive.
Thanks. I thought I was the only big strong mouse out here, but I see I'm not the only one. My name is Bella.
My name's Zozo. There's actually a whole group of us living just back over the mountains. You should come live at our base with us.
Are you sure? I don't want to intrude.
Oh no, it would be great. We could train together and everything. I feel like I could learn a lot from you.
Well, alright. Show me the way.
We headed off back in the direction of the base. Once we arrived, I got right to work making her room. It was going to be awesome having such a tough mouse around. Soon, her room was complete. On days 40 to 43, I met Bella in the kitchen.
Hey Zozo, I'm going to go out and train. Do you want to come with?
That would be awesome. You can teach me all of your moves.
Right on. Just give me a second.
Bella went over to the crafting table and made herself a new purple hat. It was really cool. She was then ready to go, so we headed out. Back in the acacia forest, I watched as Bella took on a whole pack of wolves. I couldn't believe she wasn't even scared. The wolves were fighting their hardest, but Bella wasn't even breaking a sweat. Soon, she had defeated all of the wolves.
Zozo, why don't you hop in on this next one?
Another pack of wolves charged at us, and I hopped in.
I've got a tip for you. Instead of just hitting, jump into the air and hit them as you're coming down. You'll do even more damage than normal.
I gave it a try and she was right. I tried it on as many wolves as I could, and together we defeated them all, no problem. Later we were taking a break when I had a question to ask her. So, how come you train so hard? What makes you want to fight so much?
That's a good question. I wasn't always like this, but one day I met an old mouse woman in the middle of nowhere. She told me this story about a mouse who could grow in size and was really strong. I had been fighting mobs just before then and had grown in size a little myself. That was when I realized I had to be the one in the legend. I had to be the mouse of myth.
Really? I think I met the same mouse. I heard the exact same story. I couldn't believe that I might be the mouse of myth though.
Well, that makes sense though, because you're not. I knew without a doubt the legend was about me, and so I've dedicated myself to training in order to fulfill my destiny. You really thought you were the mouse of myth? That's cute. Come on, I'll race you back to the base.
Bella took off, but I couldn't help feeling a little disappointed. I mean, she was really talented, so it did make sense, but I was really starting to believe I might be the Mouse of Myth. We'd just have to see how everything played out. On days 44 to 49, I decided to get some more work done on the statue. I had collected a decent amount of materials for my last raid, so I got quite a bit done. I was even able to do the tail, which I thought turned out pretty good. I was taking a moment to look at how things had gone so far when the voles came running out.
Zozo, come quick. There's a human at the gate, and he's asking for you.
A human? You guys keep an eye out from above. This could mean trouble. I ran over to the gates, and sure enough, there was a human on the other side. But this human was dressed like a mailman. What do you want, human?
Don't you worry, little rat. I'm not here to cause you any trouble, yet. I'm here with a message from all of us humans.
What could you thugs have to say to me?
We wrote it all down, but watch out. We know about your little base out here. We've seen you and your friends training too. We could destroy all of you if we wanted to, but we'll let it slide on one condition.
Yeah? And what's that?
Stop messing with our farms and stealing from us. Otherwise, you and all your little rodents can say goodbye.
Okay, I'll agree to that on one condition. You let my mouse family and all other animals go.
They didn't tell me you had a sense of humor, but seriously, knock it off or we'll knock you out.
The human turned and walked off. Who do these humans think they are? It's time to teach them a real lesson. On days 50 to 53, Bella and I snuck up to the sheep farm I had been visiting, but this time I saw they had built a huge wall around it. Looks like we inspired them to up their security, but I think I know how to beat that. Bella pulled out her shovel.
Shovel?
Shovel. Bella and I got right to work building a tunnel. I had been here enough times to know just where I needed to go to pop out under the sheep pen. We tunneled our way through and popped up right underneath them.
Holy sheep, where did you two come from?
Whoa, I didn't know you guys could talk. Sorry for dyeing you different colors and stealing your wool.
Are you serious? You're the only one who has been cutting our wool, and it's hot out here. You're doing us a favor.
Oh, well that's great to hear. You guys wouldn't happen to want to live at my base, would you?
We thought you'd never ask. The humans are the worst.
We all jumped into the tunnel and ran back out from under the wall. This was going to make the humans so mad. It was perfect. Back at the base, I got right to work building the sheep a nice farmhouse to live in. They didn't even have a roof over their heads before. This was going to be much better. Now we just needed to sit back and see how the humans would react. On days 54 to 57, I was down in the mines gathering some more materials. The humans would probably want to attack me at some point, so I needed to make some upgrades. Once I had collected everything I needed in the mines, I headed upstairs and went over to the crafting table. Using the obsidian I had gotten from the arena, I managed to put together an enchanting table. Time to really upgrade my gear. I went into the library and cleared out a space for the enchanting table. I surrounded the room with bookshelves and placed the table at the center of the room. Then I went through all of my gear and gave them different enchantments to make them stronger. I'm gonna be one tough mouse to beat now. I then went outside and got to work on the next part of the statue. This time it was all about the details, starting with a torch in its left hand. Then I got to work on a sword for the right hand. This was my favorite part of the build for sure. This statue is looking great. On days 58 to 62, I decided to make some more improvements to the base, starting with the bridge. I took down some of what I had done before, then began adding in some new railings and overhangs. As a final touch, I added in some hanging lanterns. Speaking of lanterns, I thought they looked quite a bit nicer than torches, so I went around the base and replaced all the torches with lanterns. I also added a doorbell. The least any invading human can do is ring the bell first. I then headed inside and cleared out a wall and added a window. Inside, I put some cushions and bookshelves to make a sitting room. The voles were really getting into their books, so I thought they'd enjoy the space. Later that evening, I was lounging in the sitting room with Bella.
I've just gotta tell you, Zozo, you're a really great friend. To me, the voles, everyone you meet. And plus, this base looks amazing.
Thanks, Bella. That means a lot coming from you. On days 63 to 66, I heard someone ringing the doorbell and went out to take a look. Perched outside was the crane.
Good morning, sir. It would seem your next challenger is ready. He'll be even tougher than before, but the crowd has been begging to see you in action again. I think you really made an impression on them.
Okay, great. I'll be there. Later on, I was back at the arena. The gate opened and I stepped into the ring. The crowd was still in darkness, but they sounded excited to see me. Across the arena, I saw a honey badger had stepped in to face me. We squared off, and as soon as the bell was rung, we leapt into action. The crane was right. This honey badger was way stronger than my last fight, and his claws were really hurting. Sorry, but I've got a family to fight for. I thought about everything Bella had told me about and tried to put it into action. Once I started landing the more powerful blows, I could tell it was only a matter of time. Soon, the badger was defeated. The crowd went wild. I did it! Like before, emeralds started to drop from the ceiling, followed by some lapis, netherite ingots, and health potions. There was also a mythical potion, which said it could only be used by a mythical hero. Huh, I wonder what this is about. It's supposed to taste like bananas too. I bet a monkey of legend would be into this. Just then, I noticed there were two small honey badgers crying on the other side of one of the gates. Hey, that wasn't your dad, was it?
No, our real dad was taken away by humans long ago, but that badger you just fought had agreed to take us in. He just needed to win the fight to get the resources to take care of us.
Oh wow, I'm so sorry. I had no idea he was also fighting for her family.
It's okay, he knew the risks. We know that you're just trying to rescue your family from the humans too. We're just tired of them ruining all of our lives.
You know what? Why don't you two come live in my base with me? There's all kinds of animals there who would love to be your family.
Wow, that would be amazing.
The two little badgers followed me back to our base. They were excited to finally have a place to call home. I went ahead and dug out a room for them to stay too. Who knows how long these two little guys had been looking for a home. On days 67 to 70, I headed out of the base. Things were really starting to come along. Where is everyone? I walked out and saw the voles were outside harvesting some wheat, but Bella was out there giving them commands. What is she doing? I headed down to talk to her. Hey, what are you doing? Telling everyone what to do.
Oh hey Zozo, I figured that since I was the Mouse of Myth, I should probably be the one calling the shots around here.
I don't really know why you keep saying you're the Mouse of Myth. There's not really any proof. For all you know, it's me.
Oh yeah? Well, if you were the Mouse of Myth, you'd already have the Frost Slayer sword.
The what?
Yeah, see? You don't even know what it is. Part of the legend is that the Mouse of Myth is able to get it from the Great Northern Tundra.
Well, you don't have it either. In fact, I'm going to get it right now.
Oh yeah? Not if I get it first.
Bella and I took off for the Great Northern Tundra. I would show her. We soon arrived, and boy was it cold. We were both so worried about getting there first, we ran right into a pack of polar bears. Uh-oh, we both fought hard to stay alive, but it was clear we couldn't fight them off fighting on our own. We changed our strategy and saw that by working together, we were able to take them all out. Ah, Bella, what are we doing? We're going to get ourselves into some serious trouble if we don't work together.
You're right. We're being really hasty. How about this? We both work together to get the sword. Once we get there, we can just see who the sword chooses. It's not really up to us who the Mouse of Myth is, anyway.
Exactly. All right, let's go get that sword. On day 71 to 74, Bella and I continued deeper into the tundra. As we traveled through the ice spikes, we soon came across a dungeon. This must be the place. No matter what happens, we'll still be friends. Deal?
Deal.
Bella and I ran down the stairs and into the dungeon. It's full of water. How are we going to get through? Just then, we noticed some levers at the top of the stairs.
These must control the platforms down there. Here, you go down and I'll work these levers.
I ran down by the water as Bella started flipping switches. After hitting the first one, a platform came out of the wall. I jumped over to it. Bella continued hitting the switches and more platforms came out of the wall. I had some close calls jumping between them, but eventually I made it to the next passageway. Hang on a second, there's a lever in here. Let me hit it and see what it does. I flipped the switch and a shortcut opened up for Bella. She hopped down.
Nice hopping. Let's see what else is in here.
We kept going down the hallway when suddenly a bunch of poison snowballs came flying out of the wall, hitting us. Ouch, those really hurt. There was a small passageway, so we ducked through there to heal up.
Zozo, I have to be honest with you.
What is it?
I know I'm really confident all the time, but the truth is, I'm not sure if I'm actually the Mouse of Myth. The old mouse woman had just told me a story so specific, I felt like it had to be me.
Yeah, it was the same thing for me. But you know what we haven't considered yet?
What's that?
Maybe she was just making the whole thing up to trick mice like us to take on the humans.
You know what? You're probably right. As if we didn't have enough reason to want to fight them. I guess we'll find out soon enough anyway.
I agreed. That's when I noticed something odd about the box we were next to. Hey, is there something in this? We looked inside and saw there was a fancy new helmet inside. My diamond helmet was still in good shape, so I let Bella take it. We decided to keep pushing on and ran out into the snowballs. We took some hits, but made it through. We soon entered a big room that was full of bad guys. We sprang into action, fighting them off. Some of them cast magic spells that dropped explosive ice blocks on us. They were really tough, but nothing could break the power of our friendship. We quickly cleared the room. I think this might be the last room up ahead. Let's finish this together. On day 75 to 78, we stepped into a large room where a snow troll was standing in the center of the room. But look what he was standing in front of. The Frost Slayer, I can see it.
Let's get that troll out of our way.
Bella and I sprinted in, swinging our weapons as hard as we could. This guy was unbelievably strong. His blows did a lot of damage, and no matter how hard we hit him, it seemed like he wasn't even hurt. This guy is crazy. I don't know if we can beat him. Our health was dropping fast too. Maybe neither of us was the Mouse of Myth, and it was all going to end here. But just then, I had an idea. Bella, follow my lead. Hey, Dum-Dum, over here. We took off running, and he followed us over by one of the support pillars. He swung his stone column at me, but I jumped out of the way, causing him to hit the support pillar. There was a crack, and suddenly, the whole pillar fell over, smashing the troll.
Zozo, that was brilliant. Go on, you can grab the sword first.
I stepped up and took a hold of the sword. Suddenly, nothing happened. It was just a normal sword. There's nothing special about this sword. Here, I tossed the sword over to Bella, who picked it up.
You're right. This is just like holding any other sword. That legend must not be true. Otherwise, only one of us could have held this.
True, or maybe it's just about anyone. No one is born the Mouse of Myth. You become it by trying. Suddenly, there was a rumbling sound, and the roof started to cave in. Without the support column, we were all in danger. We ran as fast as we could and made it out of the room just in time. On days 79 to 84, we had made it back to the base and settled back in for the night. The next day, I had a lot of work to do. I started by doubling the size of our farm so everyone would have plenty to eat. Then I got busy putting in a path around it. This was going to be much easier to navigate. Then I went over and put together an archery range for the squirrels. They had been really helpful when the zombies had attacked, so I wanted to give them an even better training ground. Nice shooting, guys. If humans show up here, they aren't going to know what hit them. The Volts had also mentioned to me how they were reading all about gardening and wanted to try their hand at maintaining a garden. So I put in a small garden for them to manage as well.
Yeah, we better get the pruners out. These roses are already looking a little wild. And keep a close eye on those poppies. I'd hate to see them fall to the weeds.
With so many animals around, the outdoors were starting to get a little untidy, so I made a small storage shack for us to stash all of our odds and ends. Part of these improvements was also getting a better space for us to improve our weapons and armor, so I built a smithy area for us to do everything we needed to do. I thought it turned out pretty nice. With the new smithy, I took some time to fix up all of my diamond gear, as Bella fired up the blast furnace to make improvements to her equipment too. Then I headed inside to the smithing table, where I used all of the netherite I had won in the arena to upgrade my diamond gear to netherite. Then I brought the new gear over to the enchanting table, where I enchanted all of my netherite equipment. I'm going to be one unstoppable mouse now! And finally, our last project was upgrading our walls, which the Voles offered to help with. At this point, our humble little rat base was becoming a full-on castle. We gave the walls major upgrades and even built a large tower. On days 85 to 89, the Vole came running into my room with a warning.
Zozo, the humans are outside the walls. Come quickly.
I hurried and ran to the walls and could see a small army of humans were preparing to charge, but the squirrels were in position and ready to fire. Hold steady, guys. Here they come. The humans began to charge as the squirrels unleashed their arrows. Their training had paid off, and they were deadly shots. Several humans fell as they ran toward the base. It's working! The humans had lost many of their soldiers and started to run away. Yeah, nice job, everyone. They aren't tough at all. What I didn't realize was that this was just a decoy. A powerful warrior had scaled the mountain behind us and jumped into our base. What was that? I turned and saw a warrior standing in the courtyard. He said nothing as he stared up at me. Charge! I leapt into action, swinging my sword. But if there was anything I had learned, it was that friends are stronger together. Bella came running out of the base, followed by the Voles. The squirrels started shooting arrows down as well. Even with our combined power, though, it was quite the fight. Keep going, everyone. We can defeat this guy. The warrior was strong and his armor was hard to crack. Eventually, we managed to knock him over the cliff as he landed in the water. We kept on him, and I swung my new Frostslayer sword with all my might. At long last, he was finally defeated. We did it. The humans will never take our land, and they certainly won't take our freedom. Suddenly, I felt strength coming into me, and I leveled up, gaining 8 more hearts. We will never be conquered. On days 90 to 94, I ran into Bella in the lobby, but she looked really sad. Bella, what's wrong? I thought you'd be excited after our successful fight.
I am excited about our win, but I'm just really down about this Mouse of Myth stuff. I mean, I dedicated my entire life believing I was fulfilling my destiny, but it's looking more like it was all a lie.
You know what? I think we should go talk to that old mouse woman. Even if it's all a lie, you can at least be at peace, knowing the truth. Bella agreed and we headed out. We soon arrived back at the old woman's house. I told Bella to stay back while I knocked on the door. As the old woman came out, she was excited to see me.
Oh, look who it is. Could it be our very own Mouse of Myth?
Cut it, lady. We came here to find out the truth.
We?
Just then, Bella jumped up, which caught the old woman by surprise.
We? Why did you tell both of us the same legend? Is there a Mouse of Myth or not? Oh, yes. No. Okay. The truth. The truth is that I made it all up.
Why would you do that? That lie nearly destroyed our friendship.
Oh, I'm sorry. I never would have wanted that. The humans have been messing with mice for decades, and no one ever seemed brave enough to stand up to them. I just thought if I made up a story, I might be able to inspire someone to actually do it. They took my family years ago, and I've always wanted revenge.
Well, I suppose there are worse things to lie about. We do want to teach them a lesson, and are actually strong enough to do something about it after all. Bella agreed, and we had a nice chat with the old woman about her family. She sounded lonely living out here, so I invited her to stay at the base with us. She agreed, but on one condition. We had to rebuild her house exactly the same. I took some time to take down her house so that we'd have all the right pieces. Then later, back at the base, I reconstructed it so it would be exactly how it was before. She was delighted to have a familiar but safe place to stay. On days 95 to 97, I walked out of the base to see the crane waiting for me.
Ah, good morning again, sir. I know you've got your hands full, but your next challenger is ready for you. The crowd has said that they wish to see you fight once more. I'm sure they will make it worth your while.
Well, one more round of upgrades before we fight the humans would be nice. Okay, I'll do it. The crane nodded before flying up and away. Later that day, I arrived back at the arena entrance, ready for my fight. I entered in and headed back into the arena. As the gate opened on the other side, I was shocked to see who it was. Bella, what are you doing here?
It's okay, Zozo. We don't have to fight to the death. I've been doing these fights too so that I can train. Come on, it'll be a fun training exercise. We can see who is actually the strongest.
Well, alright. I don't know if the crowd will like it, but obviously I don't want either of us to be eliminated.
Of course course not. Bring it on.
Bella and I charged at each other. We weren't planning on taking each other out, but neither of us were holding back. The crowd was going absolutely crazy. Bella, is this too much? Maybe we should stop.
No, listen to them. They're loving it. We've got to give them a good show if we want them to still pay out at the end.
It didn't feel right to me, but we kept fighting on. Bella was such an amazing fighter, but she had taught me all of her moves. I landed a really hard hit, and Bella backed off.
Oh, okay. I think we need to stop there. Nice hit, Zozo.
Yeah, of course. You really had me on the ropes. Once the crowd realized what was happening, they started to boo. I could hear the crane's voice coming from the stands.
Zozo, what are you waiting for? Finish her off.
What? No, she's my friend.
Fine, but people came here expecting a finale, and I'm going to give it to them.
Just then, the crane dropped in from the darkness, finishing off Bella. What have you done? The animals watching are going to support me against you.
You mean these animals?
I looked at the balcony and saw that the crowd had stepped closer, revealing themselves to be humans. I couldn't believe the crane had been working for them this whole time. I could feel my blood beginning to boil, and in my rage, I grew into a large, ferocious rat. You're gonna pay for that! I charged at the crane, hitting him again and again, defeating him in no time. I could hear the humans laughing as one of them shouted for the guards. The gate opened and a bunch of human guards came running in. Get out of my way! The guards thought they could stop my rampage, but I was way too angry. I swung my sword with all my might and quickly took them all out. I could tell the humans watching were starting to get nervous. Don't think that you're getting away either. With my new strength, I jumped from the arena into the balcony and started to attack. They didn't realize who they were messing with. I managed to take several of them out as they tried to run away. Enough is enough. I've got to end this. I jumped back into the arena and ran out of the building. On day 98, I had made it back to my base, and my rage had turned to sadness. I couldn't believe Bella was gone. As I looked at the statue, I wanted to do something nice to remember her. Atop the mouse statue, I took some time to add the same hat that Bella had worn when we first met. She had always said it was one of her favorites. That night, I was looking at the statue when suddenly Bella appeared in front of me.
Zozo, thank you for dedicating this statue to me. I want you to know that everything is okay.
But it was never supposed to be like this. We were supposed to take down the humans together.
I know, but the truth is, I don't think you need me. I spent a lot of time thinking about the Mouse of Myth. The old woman may have made it up, but in doing so, she also made it come true. You have become the Mouse of Myth, and I'm so proud to have been your friend.
I shed a tear and thanked her for everything she had taught me. I felt like it was finally time to fulfill my destiny. It was time to save my family and the world. On day 99, I met with all of my friends in our base. Okay guys, it's time. If any of you want to stay behind, you can. No one will hold it against you. No one said a word. They were ready to fight. Very well, get geared up. We attack at nightfall. Before leaving, I ran over to the chest and grabbed the mythical potion, as well as the health potions I had gotten earlier. The team regrouped in the lobby, and we headed out for the humans' base. On my way out, I paused to look at the mouse statue. I could feel Bella was with us. We soon reached the gates to the humans' town, but how are we going to get in?
Don't worry, guys. I know just what to do.
The Vole slipped through a small hole in the side of the guard tower, popping out inside of the base. He ran over to the lever and flipped it, letting us all in. Nice going! Let's get him! We stormed into the base, running into a couple of humans. All together, we took them out with ease. Off in the distance, I could see the farmer. This time, he was geared up to fight.
There they are, Bosco. Take them out. Bosco?
Bosco attacked his owner, taking him out. Then he ran over to us.
You've had me thinking more than I have in my whole life. These humans have been so mean to other animals, and I can't be part of it. I'm here to help.
With Bosco now on our team, we charged into the streets. There were several humans geared up to fight, but they weren't ready for us. We all unleashed our attacks, knocking them out of our way. Keep going, guys, we're doing great! We kept fighting through the streets and soon came upon a mansion in the middle of town. This had to be where my family was being kept. We charged the doors and quickly took out the guards. But how are we going to get in?
Hang on, folks. I'll get us in there somehow.
The Vole started sniffing around and soon found another hole on the side of the building. He crawled through, dropping into a library maze.
Good thing I got into reading. I just have to follow the titles back to A, and then I'll be back at the front.
Using the authors as his guide, the Vole wove through the maze until he noticed a hole.
Nice, a shortcut.
He popped out and flipped the switch, letting us all inside. Just then, there was a sound in the town, and we could see the whole army was coming for us.
Quick, Zozo, go. We can hold them off.
Yeah, man, your family needs you.
You guys are the best. I will see you soon. I ran into the basement as the rest of my friends stayed back. As I entered the basement, I could see it was filled with animals, including my mouse family. Remy, it's me. We've got to get you guys out of here.
Zozo, I can't believe it. Look how big and strong you are.
Just then, I heard the gate slam and hurried back up the stairs.
Well, 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 if it isn't the rat that got away, I should have captured you when I had the chance.
You are just the worst. No monologues. I jumped into action, swinging my sword. Where had all my friends gone? Did he hurt them? I didn't have too long to think about it though, as he was really starting to hurt me. My health was dropping, and so my only option was to run away and heal up.
What's wrong? Too afraid to fight?
I had just gotten my health restored when the human caught up to me.
I was going to keep you as a pet, but something like you is too powerful to be kept alive.
We kept fighting, but I was starting to lose hope. He was too strong. I hurried and ran up the stairs to the roof to heal some more, hiding around the corner.
Come out, little mousey. I just want to talk.
This human had been the cause of so many problems. He had destroyed and captured so many of my friends. He was going to pay. I took out the mythical potion. If I'm truly the Mouse of Myth, this will help me. I drank the potion down and felt a powerful surge of energy. I gained more hearts and felt even stronger than before. It had worked. It was time to end this.
What the? How can a little rat become so powerful? What is this?
This is what happens when you mess with a guy's friends, his family, his world. The human had backed up against the edge.
No, okay, surely we can work something out.
Nope, it's over. I lunged forward and knocked him off the roof, sending him falling to the ground below. He's gone, but where are my friends? On day 100, I heard a shout as all of my friends came running over the bridge. It turned out they had pushed the soldiers all the way back into the town and defeated them. I made my way back into the dungeon and finally released my family, along with all the other animals. We laughed and we cried. It had been too long. Back at the base, everyone celebrated. Even all the way from Mousy Heaven, I felt like I could hear Bella jumping for joy. Our fight was finally over. On day 1, I spawned in as a witch. I'm so small, but it looks like I'm a witch. I only have 4 hearts. I better be careful while I figure out where I am and what's going on. I looked around the forest where I spawned in. Hello? Any other witches around? Where are my witches at? But there was no one around, just the tall trees. I was so busy looking up at the tall trees, I didn't see a man appear from behind one. He was huge, and he looked angry.
I've got you now, evil witch. You won't attack my village.
Why is he calling me evil? I don't feel evil, but I am a witch, and usually witches are bad. I was confused, but I didn't have time to figure out my confusion. The man was rushing at me with a sword. I started darting between the trees, trying to get away from him. Maybe I could climb a tree and get away. I quickly made it higher than the man. I thought I was in the clear until I ran into a beehive. Bees swarmed out of the hive and flew right at me. Oh no, they think I'm attacking them. Bees, I don't want to hurt you. Don't attack me. They didn't listen. I had to escape before they stung me to death. I quickly looked around and realized the tree I was in was right next to a lake. Bees won't follow me into the water. I have to dive in. I dove into the water and the bees stayed out. They knew better than to try and follow me in. The man was still waiting on the shore though.
Evil witch, I see you in the water there. I don't have a boat with me, but I'm coming back with one and I'll get you.
The man was waving his sword at me from the edge of the lake. There was no way I could swim to shore, but I saw a tiny island in the middle of the lake. I have to get to that island. It's my only hope of safety. I swam to the island and crawled out of the water. I was exhausted. The island was quiet and I didn't see any creatures. I saw a tree with an opening into the trunk. I crawled in. What a rough first day. I have to get more powerful if I'm going to make it in this place. Wherever I am. I fell asleep immediately. On day 2, I woke up and crawled out of my tree hole. It's quiet here. Maybe I can take some time to figure out why that man called me an evil witch. I don't feel evil. I thought about it for a while. I realized it made sense that he called me evil because witches are always evil. So why do I feel good? Is it possible that I spawned as a good witch? It seemed crazy, but it also felt true. I felt better after figuring this out, but then I realized I had a big problem. All the good people are going to think I'm evil because I'm a witch, but I can't go to other witches for help because they'll know I'm good. What am I going to do? I felt hopeless for a moment, but that was a waste of time. First, I need a safe place to live. Second, I need to protect myself and prepare in case I have to fight.
Oh, I don't know if I can help you with the fighting part, but why don't you live right here?
I looked around, trying to figure out who was talking.
Look down, silly.
I looked down and saw a frog sitting on a rock on the edge of the lake.
Hi there. I can tell you that this island is a safe place to stay. You can live in that tree you slept in. The only thing is...
Before the frog could finish talking, I felt something land on my head. Ah, a spider is on my head!
No, don't attack it!
The frog's warning came too late. I had made the spider angry. It rushed at me to attack. How was I going to defend myself?
Grab the potion behind you.
I spun around and saw a small bottle on the ground. I had no idea what it was.
Throw it at the spider, quick!
Threw the potion at the spider and took it out. Thanks, buddy. I need to know a lot more about potions and what I can do as a witch, but right now, I need to rest.
Go ahead. I was going to tell you that the spider was the only thing to watch out for, but you got it. You should be safe, but I'll keep an eye out.
On day 3, I needed to learn more about potions, since they seemed like a pretty great weapon to use, especially for a witch. I walked back to the shore and found my frog friend. He was sitting on his lily pad. Thanks again for your help, buddy. Can you tell me more about potions?
I don't know much about potions. I'm just a frog.
Then how did you know I should grab one and throw it?
Because another witch used to live on this island, and I watched her a lot. She never noticed me, though. Look around. I think she left a lot of stuff here when she left.
I decided to explore the island and see if the frog was right. I walked towards the middle of the island, into the trees. In the middle of the trees, trees, I found a big magical-looking purple tree and what looked like a rundown house. I wonder if this is where the witch lived. I decided to go inside and explore some more. I walked in. Suddenly, a bat flew at my face. I was about to fight back when I realized it wasn't squeaking. It was talking.
Get out of my master's house. You don't belong here.
Sorry, I was just exploring and trying to figure out how to be a witch. I'm really new to this. My name is Zozo.
Oh my gosh, you're a witch too. Hi, Zozo. I didn't even realize. I thought you were that crazy guy coming back to destroy everything.
Oh yeah, that must be the same guy who attacked me as soon as I spawned. What's the deal with him?
He's a villager who lives on the other side of the lake. He's always been weird, but a few years ago his son disappeared and he became convinced that a witch took him. Now he's hunting down and hurting every supernatural creature he can find.
What's a supernatural creature?
It's basically any creature that has magical or weird powers. Witches, zombies, you get the idea.
But aren't all those creatures bad anyway?
No, that's just a myth. Most of them are bad, but there are some good ones too. I mean, look at you. I can tell you're not evil.
I wanted to keep talking to the bat about good and evil creatures, but it was getting late and I hadn't found any potions or anything else to defend myself. Hey Bat, thanks for the info, but it's getting late and I should get back to my shelter.
Why don't you just sleep here?
Well, the house is kind of falling apart. There's no roof, walls.
Yeah, but you'll be safe here. The witch who lived here before cast a spell on this spot.
Okay, sounds good to me. Tomorrow I can start rebuilding the house. On days 4 to 5, I found an old stone axe outside stuck in a tree. It was in bad shape, but it'd do. It broke when I was on the second tree, but I had gotten all the wood I needed. I worked on rebuilding the witch's house so that I would have a sturdier shelter and made good progress. Then I realized I hadn't eaten anything since I got here, and I was running out of energy. Hey Bat, do you have a name?
The witch always called me Batty.
Okay, Batty, do you know where I can find food around here?
Oh, I forgot to tell you. The witch always had to leave the island to find enough food. She had a boat, but she took it with her when she left.
Alright, I guess I'll have to swim across to find food.
Here, take a couple of potions with you. The witch left some behind, and you might need them until you learn how to make your own.
I wasn't worried because I already knew I was a strong swimmer. I walked back to the shore and got ready to swim.
Are you going to swim across the lake?
My frog friend was back. Yep, that's the plan. I need to find food and Batty told me there's none here for me.
Batty is right, but are you sure swimming across is a good idea? Crazy Man is out there, and he said he would come back with a boat.
The frog had a good point, but I really didn't have a choice. I had to find food fast, and building a boat would take too much time. I jumped into the lake and started swimming. On days 6 to 8, I was swimming across the lake. It was a long distance, but I had to find food.
I told you I would be back, evil witch. I'll get you now.
Oh no, the crazy guy is back, and he has a boat. The crazy guy was coming right at me, and his boat was fast. I knew I couldn't let him get close enough to use his sword on me. I haven't had a chance to craft any weapons yet, but I have to defend myself. What are these potions Batty gave me? I started treading water so I could get the potions out of my pocket. I pulled out one bottle. What does this say? Potion of harming. Sounds like what I need. I was so focused on the potions that I completely forgot I had stopped moving. But the crazy guy hadn't stopped. He was coming right at me.
You foolish witch. You're no match for me. Take that.
How could I have been so silly? I let the crazy guy get too close, and he hit me with his sword. Ouch, that hurt. He had really brought down my health, and I didn't have that much health to spare. Okay, here goes nothing. Watch out, crazy guy. It's potion time. I threw the potion right in his face.
Ah, the evil witch has used her terrible magic on me, but your silly potion is no match for my sword.
I wasn't going to last much longer if I didn't do something fast. I frantically grabbed another bottle out of my pocket. Exploding potion. I guess I know what this does. I threw the potion at the back of the boat, and the end just blew up. The boat started sinking. The crazy guy jumped out of his boat, but I didn't wait around to see what happened. I swam as fast as I could to shore. When I reached the shore, I was exhausted. I turned around and saw the crazy guy bobbing in the water, moving so slowly towards the shore. Does this guy even know how to swim? Doesn't look like it, which is good to keep in mind.
You can run now, evil witch, but you know I'll find you again, and next time, you won't be so lucky.
I ran into the forest. I was so tired, but my hunger bar was getting really low. I had to eat something now or I wouldn't be able to keep going. I wasn't looking where I was going, and I ran right into a tree with some apples. It's not much, but this should be enough food to keep me going until I find more. I ate the apples and felt better, but I was so tired. I decided to hide out for the night and keep searching for food in the morning. On days 9 to 10, I left the forest and walked into some fields. Are those farms? There must be food on farms. I ran toward the first farm I saw. The fields were full of vegetables. I grabbed as many carrots and potatoes as I could fit in my pockets.
Hey, who are you and why are you stealing my crops?
I looked up to see the farmer on his front porch, and he looked angry.
Hey, aren't you that evil witch my neighbor told me about? Get off my farm.
He grabbed a crossbow and started shooting arrows at me. Okay, I can take a hint. I'm getting out of here. I wasn't fast enough, and one of his arrows hit me. Oh no, I'm almost out of hearts. I realized there was one more potion for Batty that I hadn't used yet. I pulled it out of my pocket and read the label. Potion of healing. Sounds like what I need. I gulped down the potion and suddenly felt a ton of energy jolt through my body. I looked down at myself. I was bigger. I don't know what's in that potion, but it gave me 10 hearts, and I turned into a bigger witch. I feel so much stronger bigger and faster. I was so fast that I was able to dodge the rest of the arrows the farmer was shooting at me.
I better not see you back on my farm, witch, and I'm gonna tell my neighbor I saw you. He's coming for you.
I kept running into the fields. On days 11 to 12, I was still running through the fields. I had so much energy. I saw mountains in the distance. How far had I gone? I better not get too far from the lake. I need to get back to base soon. As I got closer to the mountains, I decided it was time to turn around. I had grabbed enough food from the farmer to last a while. Then I noticed a little hut at the bottom of the mountain. Did someone live there? Someone came out of the hut. It was another witch. Aren't witches usually bad? I better run again.
Wait, come back. I want to help you.
I didn't know if I should believe her, but I felt strong enough to find out. If she was lying to me, I could run or fight.
Won't you come inside? You're the first good witch I've seen in so long, other than myself.
You're a good witch too?
Yes, come inside and I can explain everything.
I walked behind her into her hut. Inside, I saw shelves full of bottles, a large table, a huge cauldron with smoke coming out of it, and a door leading to another room.
It's so amazing to meet another good witch. It's been so long I worried I was the only one left. You see, good witches are incredibly rare. So much so that people don't even know or believe we exist. That means most people hunt us down and hurt us before ever finding out we're good and want to use our magic to help them.
Well, that's a bummer, but at least I know I wasn't crazy for thinking I was a good witch.
You are good, I can tell. I want to teach you everything I know to help you survive.
The witch started to tell me about being a good witch. She told me about all the different types of potions I could brew and the materials I needed to brew them. She also explained about the different types of weapons I could build to defend myself and how to get food. Suddenly, we heard the sound of yelling in the distance.
Did someone follow you here? No one has ever come this close to my hideout until now.
Oh no, I stole some crops from a farmer and he got angry. He said his neighbor was hunting me. I think he was talking about this crazy guy who keeps trying to hurt me. They must have seen where I was heading.
The man hunting you isn't some crazy guy. He used to be a wonderful person. He was a successful trader, friendly to everyone. He had a son who came with him on all his trading missions. He was teaching his son the business. I knew him. You see, I didn't always live here. I used to live on a beautiful island with my bat friends.
Wait, you're the witch who used to live on the island? That's where my base is. Batty has been helping me.
Oh, I'm so glad my old home is helping someone. Batty is a good friend. I loved living there, but I was chased away. One day, the trader's son disappeared.
I know. He thinks a witch stole his son and now he's hunting all supernatural creatures. I've heard the story. I need to get out of here so your hideout stays a secret. The witch tossed out an item that looked like a bag for me and I grabbed it before running out the door.
But wait, you don't know the whole story.
I have to get out of here before they find you.
Come back when you can. I haven't told you the most important thing.
I took off running across the field and just hoped the farmer and the trader wouldn't follow me. On days 13 to 15, I kept running across the fields towards the forest. I knew I had to get back to base so I could start brewing potions and making weapons. As I was running, I realized there were little holes all around me. What is up with these holes? I better be careful so I don't step in one. A rabbit popped out of one of the holes and then another one. Pretty soon, the field was full of rabbits. Oh, aren't they so cute? I wish I could stop and pet them, but... What are you doing? The rabbits were jumping up and biting me. Aren't you rabbits supposed to be nice? What are you all doing? Stop biting me! I really didn't want to hurt the rabbits because something didn't seem right, but I also couldn't let them keep biting me. Maybe there's something in this witch bag that can help me without hurting them. I pulled out a bottle. Potion of slowness. Sounds good. Sorry, rabbits, but something is wrong with you, and I don't know what it is. I threw the potion and ran. The rabbits were too slow to follow me. I wonder if this is what the witch was trying to tell me, that the animals are acting strangely. I reached the edge of the forest and ran in. Suddenly, a squirrel jumped on me and started biting me. What is going on with all these animals? Why are they attacking me? By that point, I had been bitten so many times that I was losing health. I saw more squirrels running through the trees after me, but I had reached the lake. I dove into the lake and the squirrels didn't follow me. I swam across the lake and made it back to base. On days 16 to 19, I had planned to start making potions and weapons, but I had forgotten that my house wasn't built. I guess my weapons will have to wait. I need to build my house for protection, especially with all these animals behaving so strangely. I might not be as safe here as I thought.
Hey, Zozo, you're back. What you doing?
Oh, hi, Batty. I need to build up my house, but there's hardly any wood or stone around here. Any suggestions on where to find materials?
Sure, go that way and you should find everything you need to get started.
I made a wooden pickaxe before I started heading in the direction Batty was pointing. It was part of the island I hadn't explored yet. Batty was right. There was an abandoned lumber mill, so I started grabbing as much wood as I could find. But I also needed to find stone. Batty said there would be everything I needed, so there must be stone somewhere. I came out of the other side of the trees and realized I had reached the lake again, but I hadn't explored this beach. Wow, there's tons of stone here. Batty was right. Most of the stone was closer to the water, so I walked down to start collecting it. A drowned came out of the water and towards me. I didn't have any weapons or anything with me, but I felt so much bigger and stronger. When the drowned got close, I just started punching. Take that! I'm sick of being attacked. Go away! The drowned backed off and went back into the water. I grabbed all of my materials and went back to the house. Now I was ready to get started making things. On days 20 to 22, it was time to cook up some potions and make some better tools and weapons. Let's see what good stuff she gave me. I used the bag item the witch had given me and saw that it filled my inventory with cobblestones, a blaze rod, glass bottles, and lots of things that looked like dust, streams, and more. There was also a small book. Good witch, here's what you need to get started brewing potions. First, you need to build your brewing stand. That's what the cobblestones and blaze rod are for. Once you've built that, take a glass bottle and some of the nether wart. Combine them and you'll have an awkward potion. The book had more pages, but I was excited to get started. I followed her instructions. Cool, a brewing stand. Alright, let's cook up some awkward potions. I got a little too excited and made a bunch of bottles. Once you have an awkward potion, you can take the different ingredients in my bag and add them to it. That's how you make different types of potions. I spent hours grabbing ingredients and combining them into potions. When I was almost out of glass bottles, I decided to take a break.
Wow, looks like you made a ton of potions. Good job, but you should probably also make a weapon.
Why? Look at all these great potions I have now.
Yeah, but what happens if you're attacked and run out of potions? You should have a weapon just in case, like a sword or an axe.
Alright, I guess I need to go back out for more materials to make a sword. I decided to go back to the beach where I found all the stone. Maybe there would be other materials there too. I walked over to the beach and started digging, but then I heard a noise. I looked up and there were 3 more drowns coming at me. Ugh, these guys again? And there's more of them. At least this time I remembered to bring some potions with me. Those drowns moved fast, and before I could grab a potion, they started attacking me. I finally found my potion and threw it, and they went away. Hey, looks like one of those weirdos dropped something. What is this thing? I picked up what looked like a giant fork. It looked sharp, so I thought it could be a weapon. I decided to stop searching and bring it back to Batty.
Whoa, Zozo, you found a trident. Did a drowned drop it? Those are so rare. Cool.
I decided to take my new weapon and walk down to the other beach to see if my frog friend was around. When I got there, I heard a strange noise coming from above me. I looked up.
You may have destroyed my boat, but I'm back and ready to destroy you, evil witch. Just try throwing your potions up here.
It was the crazy trader again, and this time he was wearing a crazy outfit that looked like armor, flying right above me, getting ready to swoop down with his sword. The way he was moving around, I knew it would be hard to hit him with a potion.
Throw your trident!
That sounded like my frog friend.
How did you get a trident, evil witch? Do you even know what to do with it?
I didn't have time to look around. I just aimed and threw the trident as hard as I could. My trident was a direct hit, and as it dropped back down, I caught it.
Ouch, that hurt. Hey, you dented my armor. How did you get so strong?
I threw my trident again, and pieces of his armor started falling.
No, you're destroying my armor. How could I have known you had a trident?
I knew that with one more hit I could take him down, but he knew it too.
You may have won this battle, witch, but I'll still win the war.
He flew away, and I felt confident I could beat him next time. On days 23 to 26, I went back to the base and decided to go inside and check on Batty.
What happened? You look like you were in a fight.
Yeah, that crazy guy came back again. This time he was flying and he had armor, but I fought him off with my trident.
That's a relief. You should probably prepare in case he comes back.
He was right. I needed to make this place more secure. My house was nice, but I needed something bigger and stronger. I decided to build a fortress around my house. Batty had helped me out by bringing a huge pile of wood. I started building up the walls, working as fast as I could. Eventually, the walls rose up around my house, and it was starting to look like a fortress. But there was something else missing too. This island needed some decoration. I've got it. I'll build a nice big statue. That'll liven the place up. I got to work on the statue. I didn't have much in the way of materials, but I at least made a good start. I know it's not much to look at yet, but do you have any guesses what it will be? Suddenly, Batty flew up to me.
Hey, you know you didn't finish going through the witch bag. You should see what else is in there.
I reached into the bag and pulled out what looked like a diary. It had a lock on it, but the lock fell open when I touched it. I guess it was a witch thing. I opened the diary and read the first page. The Good Witch Diary, top secret. But if you are liking the video, make sure you search for other videos. Just search for Zozo and see the other great adventures Zozo has been on. On days 27 to 31, I wanted to make sure we had enough food. In a perfect world, I could get some animals, but my base was on an island, and I had no idea how I could get animals there. Well, the easiest way to get food here is probably to farm some vegetables. Just then, Batty swooped in, and he had other bats with him.
Hey, Zozo! Meet my family. Now that we have a fortress, I decided it was safe to go get them. They've been hiding ever since that crazy guy made the first witch leave. They're excited to help us out.
That's great, Batty. I was actually just thinking about planting some crops. Could your family go out and find me some seeds?
Sure thing. We'll be back.
Once the bats flew off, I decided to explore the part of the island I still hadn't visited to see if there was a good place to farm. After a couple minutes, I found a clearing in the trees that got a lot of sun. It looked like the perfect place to plant seeds, except that I noticed something strange in the shadows. Is that slime? Gross. As I looked closer, I realized there were slimes all in the shadows, and they were jumping closer to me. I heard a loud splat. Gross, a slime attacked me, and also, that hurt. I had no idea if potions would work against slimes, so before wasting any, I decided to go back to the fortress and see what Batty knew about slimes when he got back. On days 32 to 35, Batty and his family came back with lots of seeds. Thanks, Batty and family, these seeds are awesome, but we have a problem. I found the perfect spot for a farm, but it's filled with slimes, and one of them attacked me. How can I get rid of them?
Oh man, I was afraid of that. I forgot to tell you that there's a little swamp on the side of the island, and I've heard rumors about slime sightings, but I never saw one, so I thought maybe we were safe.
Great, that swamp must be right next to the spot I want to put my farm. Is there a potion or something I can use to get rid of them?
You can defeat slimes and they'll drop slime balls, but actually maybe it's a good thing they're here. You can use slime balls to make all kinds of useful stuff.
When I heard that, I decided to go back with my trident that instant. After all, I didn't want the slimes to disappear, and I wanted those slime balls. When I got to the swamp, I saw the slimes were still there. They were different sizes. One was huge, a couple were medium, and there were a few little ones. What are you, like a slime family? I didn't wait for an answer. Can slimes even talk? I immediately threw my trident at the big slime. When it hit the slime, 2 medium slimes appeared. Wait, what? I thought I was going to get rid of you. Now I just have more slimes to deal with. I kept attacking the medium slimes, and they turned into smaller slimes. This was turning out to be a much bigger project than I planned. Finally, I was left with nothing but slime balls, so I collected all of them. I also spotted some materials that I knew would be perfect for my statue, so I grabbed some of those too before going back to my witchy fortress. Thanks a lot, Batty. You could have warned me that hurting slimes makes more slimes.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Batty, we need to work on your memory. Seems like you forget a lot of things. Every single one of his bat family members agreed with me, rolling their eyes at Batty. On days 36 to 39, it was time to farm. Now that Batty's whole family was back, we needed some serious food. I went back to the clearing to plant some seeds. Hello, any more slimes out there? I didn't see a single green slime, so I decided it was safe to start planting.
Hi there.
I spun around and saw a little bat.
I'm Batty's little sister. I wanted to come talk to you away from Batty because I don't want to hurt his feelings, but his bad memory is becoming a real problem.
Yeah, I'm starting to notice that.
But he's forgetting some really important things. Like when we flew around collecting seeds, we saw and heard a lot. The crazy trader has been hunting down a lot more supernatural creatures, including a lot who are actually good.
Since when are so many creatures good?
They just are, but it's hard to tell because the evil ones give everyone a bad reputation. But it's starting to get really serious. His crazy brain is telling him that even regular creatures are evil, even bats. Pretty soon, no one will be safe.
Wow, you weren't kidding. Batty's memory is really bad.
We need you to take down the crazy trader before he can do any more damage. Can you do it?
I thought about how much stronger I had gotten. I think I can. I'll do it. But first, I need to grow this food so I have enough energy to fight. I kept planting until all of the seeds were planted. Then I went back to the fortress where I did some more work on the statue before calling it a night. On days 40 to 43, Batty and his family came back from the big forest and told us about animals acting strangely.
Zozo, you won't believe it. Normally when we fly through the trees, the squirrels and rabbits say hello to us. Today they all tried to attack us. We had to fly high above them to stay away. What is going on?
The bats were describing the same weird things I had noticed before, but I had forgotten all about them in the other chaos. Maybe I should go investigate in case there's something serious going on. I decided to swim over to the forest and take another look. I walked down to the lake and dove in. As soon as I walked onto the beach, something didn't feel right. A bunch of crabs dug out from the sand, surrounding me. I don't think I can take on this many. Suddenly, a potion landed on some of them, clearing away. I turned around and saw Batty and his family. They swooped in and started fighting the crabs while Batty himself approached me.
We'll keep fighting off the crabs so you can get to the forest. Just keep going.
Batty went back to join his family as I ran as fast as I could into the forest. On days 44 to 49, I explored the forest looking for animals. I didn't want to be attacked, but I needed to figure out what was going on, especially if Batty and his family were now in danger too. I searched through the trees, but couldn't find a single animal. This was even more confusing. The forest is always filled with animals. Where did they all go? I kept walking until I reached the fields and still didn't see a single animal. This was so suspicious. Eventually, I turned around and went back to the lake. This time, there were no crabs anywhere. I swam across easily. When I reached the island, I saw my frog friend. Hey buddy, long time no see. How's it going? My frog friend didn't answer me. In fact, he didn't move at all. Hey, are you okay? What's going on? I walked closer to get a better look. The frog turned to look at me and his eyes were bright red.
Stop investigating the animals, witch. They're under my control. And if you interfere with my plans, I'll take you down.
The frog was under some kind of spell, and he was on my island. The danger was getting too close to home, and I was so worried about my frog friend. Before I could do anything else, he jumped into the water and swam away. I could only hope he would be safe. I went back to the fortress to talk to Batty. This was really serious. On days 50 to 53, Batty suggested that I should keep reading the witch diary to see if it could tell us anything about what was going on. I turned to the second page. Before you turn any more pages, I just want to say that I hope you're subscribing to this channel and enjoying more videos. videos. Okay, the witch was really into subscriptions. Moving on, I got to page 3. I'm keeping this diary after the trader made me run from my home. I need to write down the true story in case I can never tell anyone in person. Everyone believes that the trader went crazy after a witch stole his son. This is not the truth. Before he went crazy, he traveled far into the mountains and met an old wizard who cast a spell on him. The wizard wanted to keep his son as an apprentice, so he made the trader go crazy, believing a witch had stolen his son. The wizard is the true enemy. Destroy him and break his spell. Okay, this was getting really crazy, but it also made sense. I wondered if the wizard was also controlling the animals, but I realized I was too hungry to keep reading. I had to go see if my crops were ready. On days 54 to 57, I went back to my farm. There were so many vegetables. I gathered as many as I could carry to bring home. When I got back, Batty was surprised at how much food I had. Batty, things are getting really scary out there. I want to make sure I have enough food in case we need to hide out, and I want to take care of you and your family. I also wanted to build up our defenses. I decided to build a tower so that I could see everything around us and see if danger was coming. I also decided to build a potion launcher in case we needed to defend inside the walls. Once it was built, I needed to see if it worked. I flipped the switch and fired off some potions. Wow, those went really far. I think this will work perfectly. I had some time, so I also decided to work on the statue. It's really coming along nicely. Can you tell what it is now? On days 58 to 62, I woke up to the sound of screeching. It was Batty and his family, sounding the alarm.
The trader is coming! The trader is coming!
Oh no, now that I knew why he was crazy, I didn't want to hurt him either. I ran up to the tower and saw the trader flying towards me. However this guy was flying, I wanted to learn how to do it. Hey man, stop attacking me! I don't want to hurt you. I know the wizard cast a spell on you. The trader swooped towards me, and I noticed for the first time his red, glowing eyes, just like my frog friend.
I'm not here to attack you this time, at least not right this second.
Huh? What did he mean by that? Suddenly, he pulled out a bottle and threw it at me. I can't see anything. What was that potion you threw at me?
Haha, a blindness potion. Two can play at the potion game, witch, and now you can't see what I'm doing next.
He was right. I couldn't see anything. I had to get back downstairs to get some milk, which Batty had told me would give me my vision back. I stumbled down the stairs and drank some milk, but it took me so long, I was worried about what the trader did while I was blind. I was so exhausted from the ordeal, I decided to get some sleep. On days 63 to 66, I woke up and went back to the witch diary. I had stopped reading before, but now I knew I had to keep going and figure out what was going on with the animals and how to defeat the wizard. I opened the diary where I stopped reading before. Before I keep telling the sad story, I really hope that you're enjoying the video so far. If you like it, why don't you subscribe to our channel for more? I wasn't even going to try to understand that one. A warning for you, the wizard has been growing stronger every year. Soon, he'll be too powerful to defeat. You will know that his power is becoming too strong when he takes control of all good creatures in this land. Even the nicest animals will turn on you. This is a sign that you must defeat the wizard now. If you wait, it will be too late. My heart sank. Now I knew why the animals were acting crazy, and it meant that the wizard was growing too powerful to stop. On days 67 to 70, I knew I had to find the wizard and stop him before he took over the world. Unfortunately, I had no idea where he was. I didn't even know where the trader was hiding. I started gathering supplies when suddenly I heard a familiar voice behind me.
What are you doing?
I turned around. Hi, Batty, where have you been? I haven't seen you since the trader was here. I looked at Batty and gasped. His eyes were glowing red. Oh no, Batty, are you under the wizard's control too?
The wizard is my master now.
Thanks to the trader who cast the wizard spell on me. He sent me here to tell you should give up now, because you will never find the wizard. He's hidden where no one will ever find him.
Batty flew away. I was so sad. My closest friend was under an evil spell.
Psst, Zozo, over here.
Batty's sister flew into the room.
I followed the trader when he took Batty, and I know where he is hiding. Maybe if you go to his base, you can find out where the wizard is hiding. He's in a bunker underneath the farm that you first stole vegetables from.
So that's why the trader came back, to kidnap Batty and turn him into a messenger. And no wonder the trader kept coming. He was so close. Before I left, I made sure I still had the witch diary on me. I hadn't finished reading it yet, and it might have more important information. On day 71 to 74, I made my way back to the farm where I first stole vegetables. I didn't want to run into the farmer again, so before I actually entered his land, I had to make a plan. Batty's sister said the trader was hiding in a bunker under the farm. If the trader is hiding underground, he must have a secret entrance to get down there. I started walking around the farm looking for anything unusual. I spotted a huge rock that looked really out of place on a farm. Was this his secret entrance? Suddenly, a side of the rock slid open. It was a door. I was right. I looked around but didn't see the trader, so why was the door opening? Then I saw Batty flying towards the rock. He was going into the trader's base. Oh no, Batty, you really are under their control. The door slid closed. I waited a while to make sure nothing was happening, and then I snuck over to the rock. I didn't see any sign of a door. How do you open this door? I know there must be a way. I kept looking but couldn't figure out a way to open the door. I got frustrated and punched the door. Alarm started going off. Oh no, that was so stupid of me. I should have known they would have had defenses. I dove into some nearby plants and hid right before strange creatures started swarming around the door. They were birds, all of them with glowing red eyes. I stayed down while the birds flew around and they didn't see me. Then the door slid open.
Who's out there? No one? Birds! Pay closer attention next time. Whoever was at the door must have gotten away.
The trader closed the door again, and I knew I would have to find another way to his base. It was obvious. I would have to dig a tunnel to reach him. I was was close enough that I decided to start digging right there. I knew the base was under the house, so I kept digging in that direction. On days 75 to 78, I was digging a tunnel to reach the trader's base. I knew I was getting close to the house, and the base had to be close by. I dug and dug until I saw a wooden wall. I had reached the base. I stopped to organize my inventory before I broke through the wall with my axe.
How did you find me, evil witch?
Hey man, I had to find you because you stole my friend Batty, but I don't want to fight you. I know that you're under the spell of the evil wizard. This isn't really you.
What are you talking about, witch? There is no wizard. I am going to destroy all creatures responsible for taking my son away from me.
He came rushing at me with his giant sword. I was scared, but I knew how much bigger and stronger I was since our first fight and all the special potions I had brewed. He swung a sword at me and I fought back, throwing potions, drinking healing potions, and stabbing at him with my trident.
Evil witch, you will not stop me.
I really wish this guy would stop calling me evil witch. He spun around and punched a wall and ran down another tunnel. I went to run after him, but he threw another blindness potion at me. So annoying. I put down my bag. Fortunately, I brought milk, so I drank it quickly, but not fast enough to see where he went. There was a fork where two tunnels went in different directions. I ate some of my food before I looked down both tunnels. To the right, I saw a red glow. It was his eyes. I took off running down the right tunnel, eating some more to make sure I was at full health. Soon, I reached another room. There, the trader had grabbed a giant shield in addition to his sword. This was it. I was going to have to throw everything at him and hope I could defeat him. I threw every potion I had, hitting him with one right after the other. I hadn't thought about what might happen if all the potions mixed. The trader had been knocked to the ground, and suddenly there was a black puff of smoke. When the smoke cleared, his eyes were normal.
What happened? Where am I?
Had my potion somehow broken the wizard's spell? You're in a bunker underground. You've been hunting down creatures because you thought a witch stole your son.
No, I remember everything. I know a witch didn't steal my son. It was the wizard. He took my son and cast a spell on me so that I would think a witch had done it.
He looked so sad.
I think the wizard's spell was the only thing keeping me going all this time. Without the spell, I'm dying.
No, let's go destroy the wizard and save your son.
It's too late, but please, go defeat the wizard for me.
With that, the trader disappeared. On days 79 to 84, I took one final look at the room we fought in, then went back through the tunnels of the trader's bunker. I stopped there to rest for a minute. While I was there, I decided to eat something and keep reading the witch diary. The end of this story is sad and shocking. I have been exploring the mountains where I now hide, and I discovered where the wizard lives. I snuck closer to his hideout, and there I saw something terrible. The wizard was not the wizard I knew from before. Instead, the wizard was the trader's son. He had become the wizard. Oh man, maybe it's a good thing the trader disappeared. He would be so upset to learn his son had turned into the wizard. It is hard to say, but you still must find the wizard and destroy him, no matter who he is. If his power is this strong, there is no way to make him good again. I drew a map to where the wizard is hiding in the mountains. It is buried under my house on the island. Find the map, find the wizard, and destroy him. I guessed it was time to go back to the base. On days 85 to 89, I went back to the island. It was so lonely without Frog and Batty, but it was probably also good they were gone. If they were under the wizard's spell, I couldn't safely dig up the map. I went back to the house and started digging into the floor. I saw a glowing light. I kept digging until I found a secret room under the house. The room glowed with potions I had never seen before. There was a folded paper on a table, and in the corner was the trader's sword. What was it doing here? I picked up the paper and noticed a map placed next to it. Take this map and find the wizard, use his sword, which I stole, and defeat him with it. Wow, so the witch had stolen the sword, but somehow the trader got it. When he disappeared, I guess the sword came back here. I picked it up. It was huge. Can I even swing this thing? It was too heavy for me, but that's when I spotted something. There was a chest on the table where the note was. I opened it up and saw several potions and rare items in there. The purple potion in the middle catching my eye. I picked it up. A power-up potion. I wonder what this does. The description said, drink me, as well as that it had been brewed at the peak of witching hour. That sounded amazing, so I decided to listen to the potion and give it a try. I drank the potion down and immediately felt it start to change something inside of me. I started to grow in size, gaining hearts, and felt much stronger. Strong enough to swing a sword? I tried it, and now I could swing the sword easily. So I grabbed the map, sword, and a few of the strange glowing potions. In the other corner of the room, I spotted something interesting. Is that what I think it is? That clearly looked like a witch's broom. I think I found my way of reaching the wizard now. I took out my pickaxe and dug through the collapsed door, entering a cave which led me back out. On days 90 to 94, I used the map to figure out where the wizard was hiding. Sure enough, he was in the mountains near where I had met the other witch. I needed to prepare for this battle. I looked at the glowing potions. One was a potion of invisibility, which sounded pretty useful. Another said potion of disintegration. What was that? Its label read, do not drink me. I didn't want to use a potion that I didn't understand, so I went back to the diary. I flipped to the back of the book where the witch had made a list of all the potions and their uses. Looks like this is one of the strongest potions out there. I better use it carefully. I grabbed the bag and a bite to eat as I left my house. But before I went to confront the wizard, there was one more thing to do. Finish my statue. Batty and his family weren't around to help me this time, but I still managed to finish it. There, I think it looks pretty good, but what do you think? With everything prepared, I placed down the broom in the courtyard and climbed on, soaring up into the air and over the tree line. I flew across the lake, over the forest, over a pumpkin grove, and over the fields. Then I saw the mountains getting closer. I saw the witch's hut, but I went past it. I didn't have any time to spare. I flew and flew up the mountainside until everything on the ground was barely visible. Looking at the edge of a steep cliff, I saw it, a great black castle. That must be where the wizard lives. I'm getting so close. Maybe I should take this invisibility potion so he doesn't see me coming. I drank the potion and turned invisible. Feeling safer, I flew up to his castle. The gate was wide open. Wow, this guy must feel pretty safe up here in the clouds to just leave his gate open. I peeked inside. On days 95 to 98, I snuck inside the wizard's castle. Even though I was invisible, I knew I had to be quiet and careful or he would realize I was there. The castle was huge. There were so many hallways and stairs, I didn't know where to start. I had to find the wizard though, so I started walking down the darkest, scariest looking hallway. I figured that was my best shot. As I walked down the hall, I started hearing whispering voices. It was hard to understand what they were saying, but one thing I did hear.
You've reached the wizard's lair, and the final battle approaches. Only the strongest warrior dares to fight the wizard. If you've enjoyed this journey, prove it by liking this video and subscribing to our channel.
On day 99, I kept following the voices until I reached a solid wall, blocking the rest of the hallway. Had I reached a dead end? Suddenly, I heard a voice calling out.
Zozo? Zozo, where are you?
It was Batty's sister again. I didn't know how she had followed me or escaped evil spells, but I was so happy to see her. Hey, I'm over here. I turned off my invisibility so that she could see me.
Oh, there you are, Zozo. I came to tell you it's not a dead end. Don't worry. I've been following Batty, and I know how to get in. This wall is a door. Punch the bottom right brick, and you can open it.
I walked towards the wall and punched a brick on the side. The wall lifted upwards, revealing a new hallway. Thanks, but now you should really get out of here. Things are about to get really crazy.
Good luck, Zozo. I'll see you back at base.
I went down the hallway, which ended with a staircase. At the top of the stairs, there was a big open room. Right next to the window was a huge throne, and in the throne sat the wizard.
So you found me, but you still have to defeat me, and you never will.
The wizard stood up and raised his hands to cast a spell. This was the moment to throw my potion of disintegration. It exploded around him, but didn't do anything.
You thought you could use a potion against me? You silly witch. I am invincible to all magic except my own.
What did that mean? How could he not be invincible to his own magic? Then I realized something. I had his sword. I pulled out the sword and it started glowing. It was a magical sword, and it was the wizard's sword. Did this mean I could destroy him with it?
Where did you get that sword? That was my master's sword that he gave me when I became the wizard, but another witch stole it from me. How do you have it?
Doesn't matter how I got it, buddy. What matters is that I'm going to use it to destroy you. Before I could attack him though, I felt some of the sword's power start to enter me. I grew to be even bigger with even more hearts, and now I had a cool magical effect surrounding me. I ran towards the wizard, but as soon as I got close to him, he teleported behind me. That's not good. I charged at him again, only for him to teleport away, but I could tell he was getting tired. He summoned ice spheres that circled around him as I rushed at him again. He didn't have time to teleport away, but he snared me instead, landing more firebolts on me before teleporting away again.
No, how are you still standing? My spell should have taken you down.
I don't know, dude, but take this! Before he could do anything else, I swung the sword as hard as I could and hit the wizard. He screamed as his magic started to seep out of him. I backed away right before he vanished in a white explosion. I had defeated the wizard. Time to get out of here! I rode my broom all the way back to the base, drinking healing potions to recover on the way. As I flew over the forest, I wondered what I would find. As soon as I passed over the forest, I heard cheering. All the rabbits and squirrels had come out to welcome me home, and not a single one of them attacked me. I was so relieved and excited to get back to base. I glided across the lake and saw the crabs celebrating my return. I got to the island, and right there in front of me were Frog, Batty, and Batty's entire family. All their eyes were normal, and they were cheering.
You did it, Zozo! You defeated the wizard!
Batty, it's so good to see you again. I'm so happy you're free of the evil spell. Now I'm going to go inside, eat a nice big meal, and go to sleep. If another evil wizard comes back, you know where I'll be.